Welcome to Novel Love Hearing. Get ready for heart-pounding action, thrilling adventures with fresh and unique elements, a touch of romance, and a dash of harem. Everything you're craving is right here. We're excited to have you join us on this journey. So come along to Novel Love Hearing, we're waiting for you. As a small favor, please consider sharing Novel Love Hearing with your friends, family, in YouTube comments, on Discord, Reddit, or anywhere else you hang out online. Happy listening, and enjoy the ride. Kenmu had no interest in fighting these metal robots. He began his invasion directly. The ship's eye immediately sounded an alarm, and red lights flashed throughout the command room. Warning, system under attack. The universal language echoed. Please enter the password within 30 seconds, or the self-destruct sequence will initiate. 30. 29. 28. The computational power of the nests was drawn upon, and under Kenmu's coordination, it surged into the ship's eye, swiftly overcoming the ship's defenses. By the time Kenmu reached the silver door outside the ship's command room, the ship's eye spoke in universal language. Welcome, Master. The door automatically opened, and Kenmu entered the ship's command room. Under the attack of the swarm's will, the ship's eye had been conquered, and Kenmu had gained the highest authority. The command room was brightly lit. A military officer sat in the central seat, with 3 black uniformed guards standing behind him. As Kenmu entered the command room, a gentle breeze stirred, and the military officer, like dust, disintegrated into powder. Decades of time were enough to turn a body to dust, and a gentle breeze was all it took to scatter it. The black uniforms of the 3 guards behind the officer also disintegrated, revealing their metallic bodies. Silverium guards? Kenmu raised an eyebrow. These were valuable. Silverium guards, made primarily of silverium metal, contained an intelligent system. They appeared like real people, and because their bodies were made of silverium, which flowed like water, even a strong punch would easily dissipate the impact force. They were excellent bodyguards in the universe and were quite expensive. However, after countless years, the Silverium guards had long since lost their energy and were immobile. Are there any damages to the ship? Can it directly enter space? Ignoring the Silverium guards, Kenmu commanded the ship's eye. Checking. After a brief wait, the ship's eye spoke. Check complete. The main body of the ship is fault-free, with minor damages. With sufficient resources it can self-repair. Energy is lacking, it can enter space after energy replenishment. The ship's eye listed a repair inventory, none of which were precious materials and could be found on Earth. Excellent. A smile appeared on Kenmu's face. The auxiliary computer on his arm connected to the ship, and through the ship, he simultaneously dialed the communications of Jia Yi, Hong, and Lei Shen. Thus 3 screens lit up. I've entered the ship in Ruin 12. It's a fully functional spaceship, and we can pilot it directly into space. I need a group of absolutely reliable personnel, including the best diplomats, economists, sociologists, etc. Earth is about to enter the space age. The 3 who had just connected to the communication showed expressions of joy. Even Hong, who was usually calm, couldn't help but smile. Actively entering space versus being discovered by the universe was a significant difference. As for going into space alone, Kenmu had no such intention. This kind of endeavor required collective effort. The best talents on Earth should engage with the universe, combining current resources to calculate the optimal approach. Babata only cared about the inheritance of Yunmo and Luofeng, and naturally wouldn't consider Earth's development or future. Kenmu was different. As an Earthling, he had to consider these things. Otherwise, why would he spend so much effort unifying Earth? Understood. We will begin selecting personnel immediately. Chapter 96, Mars Base. In the skies above a secret military base in the capital of the United Government, formerly Kyoto Base City, a black, saucer-shaped spaceship with a diameter of 100 meters suddenly appeared. None of the detection equipment in the military base, not even the equipment found in the ruins, could detect the whereabouts of this spaceship. Jia Yi marveled as he, Hong, and Lei Shen gazed eagerly at the black spaceship in the sky. Hong, calming down, reflected on Kenmu's progress. He had felt it most acutely. The first time they fought on Misty Island, Kenmu had only slightly surpassed him. However, in the following months of exchanges, Kenmu's strength had grown rapidly, making it increasingly difficult for Hong to keep up. Is this the method Kenmu mentioned for entering the universe? I thought it would take a long time to reach there, but here we are. Lei Shen, who had been busy for the United Government for most of the year, also became serious. The black spaceship slowly descended onto the tarmac, and the hatch opened, revealing Kenmu. Using the energy extraction methods from the inheritance, Kenmu had the nest synthesize some energy blocks and place them in the spaceship, allowing the Black Dragon Mountain spaceship to return to normal operation. Have you arranged for the top mechanical and energy experts on Earth as I asked? Kenmu asked upon meeting them. The United Government had now integrated all of Earth's resources, including various top scientific talents. During Kinmu's cultivation, Earth's martial artists and technology had developed rapidly. As long as there were sufficient military merits, the supply of spirits of nature was unlimited. As a result, the number of Earth's war gods had exceeded 50,000, and the number of planetary-level warriors had surpassed 200. In terms of technology, the unification of all forces and the circulation of data obtained from the ruins had led to various technological exchanges, resulting in a technological explosion. With Kinmu's approval, to facilitate Earth's future contact with the universe, parts of the ruins on Earth had gradually been made public, and even virtual spaces had begun to spread. The Second World Virtual Space, built on the intelligence system of the Palace of War Gods, had been promoted on Earth. However, due to production and price factors, the virtual helmets were still quite expensive and had not been fully popularized among the public. "We have prepared over 100 top experts as you requested," Jia Yi said solemnly. "Good. After I hacked into the spaceship's eye, I discovered a big city on Mars that once housed 3 million people. Although there is no life there after a million years, the Steel City is still functioning normally. It's just that the city's ability to block detection has prevented us from discovering it until now. We will first take the spaceship to Mars and bring that city under our control. Then our experts can enter and absorb the technology there. The technology in that city is enough to bring Earth into the interstellar age. This time, it's a drill for us to enter the universe. Next time, it will be the real deal." Kinmu did not beat around the bush and explain directly. These three were now the highest-ranking members of the United Government and had provided Kinmu with a lot of help along the way. Kinmu would not hesitate to help them now that he had the ability. For Earthlings, entering the universe was a tremendous opportunity. Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi exchanged glances, their eyes filled with excitement. A city on Mars that once housed 3 million people and had been operating for over a million years. 3 million people. What a city that must be. Let's go and take a look. Lei Shen became excited. Although there were many ruins on Earth, most of them were wreckage of various spaceships, and complete bases were rare, let alone such a vast ruin. Not just Lei Shen, but even Jia Yi and Hong, their eyes were filled with anticipation. "Alright, let's go. There are probably many dangers in that base, but they shouldn't be a problem for us." Kinmu nodded. His purpose was this, so he wouldn't refuse. Before entering the universe, touring the solar system was also part of Kinmu's plan. He intended to fill the solar system with nests to hatch Zerg and collect resources, then expand outward from the solar system. Mars was the first step in this plan. After arranging everything, the three followed Kinmu into the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spaceship, accompanied by a team of over 100 elite personnel. These people would be stationed there after the steel base was secured. "This spaceship is far more powerful than Hong's intelligent fighter jet," Lei Shen said as he touched and examined the spaceship. In terms of knowledge, Lei Shen was among the top on Earth. "Of course, this is a spaceship that can't travel through the universe, not a jet that flies within Earth." Kinmu laughed. "We have entered space. This spaceship can simulate the external scenery. Let's show you the Earth we live on." Open the external scenery simulation at 100%. The speed of the spaceship was incredibly fast. After just a brief chat in the control room, they had already left Earth. "External scenery simulation?" Lei Shen asked, puzzled. But in the next moment, he understood what the external scenery simulation meant. Under Kinmu's intentional control, the control panels, seats, floor, and other parts of the control room began to slowly fade and disappear. The four of them felt as if they were standing in the void, with an unobstructed view of the infinite and vast universe. They all turned around simultaneously and saw a huge blue planet in the distance. "It's so beautiful." For a moment, they were all in awe. The first time entering space and seeing Earth with their own eyes was a profound experience. Even Hong, with his calm demeanor, felt a tremor in his heart. Even though Kinmu had already piloted the spaceship into space once before visiting the military base, he was still deeply moved. This was an instinctive reaction, a profound emotional impact from seeing the planet that had nurtured them for the first time. As the blue planet continued to shrink, they gradually came back to their senses. Hong's face returned to its usual calm, as if he had gained some insight. In terms of understanding, Hong was undoubtedly top-notch. External scenery simulation at 10%. Kinmu gave the command, and the surrounding starry sky became blurred and illusory. The control panels, seats, floor, and other parts of the control room gradually became solid again. This is a 100% external scenery simulation function available only on B-class or higher spaceships, capable of fully simulating the starry sky. "How was it?" Kinmu asked with a smile. "Extremely beautiful. Seeing Earth for the first time felt like a profound emotional impact, strengthening my mental state." Hong praised without hesitation. A B-class spaceship? What class is this spaceship? Jia Yi couldn't help but ask. It's a C-class spaceship, and it's very powerful even among C-class spaceships. It's a well-known spaceship in the universe. Even universe-level people would find it difficult to destroy this spaceship. The laser cannons equipped on it are of B6 level, capable of easily killing a star-level stage 6 individual. Jia Yi and the others gasped in awe. Such a spaceship alone could conquer the entire Earth. The strongest on Earth were currently only planetary level. There was no hope of damaging this spaceship. Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi were among the strongest on Earth, and through some data from the ruins, they had a basic understanding of common knowledge in the universe. Spaceships, laser cannons, and other equipment had a universal grading system, where A-class corresponded to planetary level. B-class corresponded to star level. C-class corresponded to universe level. D-class to domain lord level. E-class to sector lord level. And F-class to undying level. With this spaceship, our safety in entering the universe is greatly assured. Hong praised. Indeed, but we need to plan carefully. Our strength is still too weak. Flying such a spaceship is like a child holding gold in a busy market, attracting those with ill intentions. How we enter the universe needs careful planning. Of course, we need to plan carefully. The first time entering the universe, no amount of caution is too much. From the data we have, there are slaves in the universe. Those below planetary level aren't even considered citizens, and the laws don't protect them. As they chatted, although their words were serious, their moods were quite good. While chatting, the spaceship continued to fly automatically. Soon, the spaceship's sigh reminded them that they were about to reach Mars. Through the spaceship's external scenery system, they saw a red planet appearing ahead. Mars was finally receiving its first visitors from Earth after 1,000,000 years. The spaceship entered the planet and hovered in the air. The hatch opened, and 4 humans wrapped in cloud vine armor flew out of the spaceship. Looking down, they saw a vast expanse of sandy terrain below, with huge pyramids standing tall. With their keen eyesight, they could clearly see that although the exteriors of the pyramids were decayed, they were still functioning. Beneath the 9 pyramids was an enormous steel city that stretched as far as the eye could see, with various buildings in disrepair, indicating that no one was left alive. My God! This city is so huge. And the 9 pyramids are actually still operating. Let's start exploring the city immediately. Chapter 97, Control. According to the data, this base is a mining base, and there should be some security measures in place. Let the robots go ahead and scout. We'll quickly move into the base's control room, trying not to damage the 9 pyramids that have been operating for 1,000,000 years. Those 9 energy towers can support a population of 3 million and have been self-operating for 1,000,000 years without damage. We don't have the technology to repair them. Kenmu directed 6 robots to fly out of the Black Dragon Mountain spaceship. 3 of them were maintenance robots from the Black Dragon Mountain, and the other 3 were Silverium guards. These robots had average attack power but strong defense, especially the Silverium guards, which were extremely difficult to deal with in terms of defense. Mars has very rich deposits of black iron, which is classified as A8 in the universe for its hardness and is very popular. With the vast mineral resources on Mars, there might be a small amount of B8 grade black iron spirit and a very rare C8 grade black iron essence. This is good news for us, as it means we'll have some resources of our own once we enter the universe. As they flew, Kenmu explained to the others. This information was based on Kenmu's memory of the original timeline, and he could only highlight some key points since many details were unclear. Their cloud vine armor had been cultivated to planetary levels 7 and 8, which was not a fast improvement speed for plant-based life forms as long as there were sufficient resources. Jia Yi was relatively weaker, but with the protection of the cloud vine, he wouldn't be in much danger. Understood. Jia Yi and the others responded solemnly. They had explored many ruins on Earth and had more experience than Kenmu in this regard. As they explored, they soon found a huge naturally collapsed cave with a diameter of several hundred meters on the surface ruins. After the robots entered to explore, they discovered a thick metal door at the bottom of the cave. Be careful, there might be defense systems behind this door. Let the robots scout ahead. The 3 maintenance robots immediately went forward, placing their arms on the door and using brute force to push it open. In terms of strength, even Kenmu couldn't match these maintenance robots that repaired spaceships. The metal door, sealed for who knows how many years, was forcibly pushed open, sending up a large cloud of dust. Swish. 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 As expected, the moment the door opened, a large number of lasers enveloped the entire door, blasting the 3 robots away. The attack power isn't strong. Our cloud vine armor can withstand it. If there are no other defense measures, we can just push through. Hong estimated the strength of the attack and found that although there were many lasers, their attack power wasn't very strong. After preparing, the robots charged in one after another and successfully entered the city. Let's go, there's no other danger. We're in. After enduring a wave of attacks, the 4 of them successfully entered the Steel City. The underground city was pitch black with no light. The 3 maintenance robots lit up, casting a bright light. This city is almost entirely made of metal. It seems the mineral resources here are indeed abundant. Looking at the city's layout, it was similar to the base cities on Earth, densely packed to accommodate as many people as possible in a small area. First, we need to find the control center of this underground city and locate the main control eye. A steel city that has been self-operating for 1,000,000 years must have a main control eye. Ken Mu said. Although the underground steel city was large, they didn't split up. In such unknown ruins, it was foolish to separate and explore when their strength wasn't great. Following the dense energy network in the city, Ken Mu and the others quickly found a relatively important node, endured a wave of attacks, and successfully entered it. I'm going to start hacking into the city's eye system. You all guard the area. The control center had been sounding an alarm in universal language since Ken Mu and the others entered, but they ignored it. Don't worry, go ahead and do it. Hong said calmly, his domain ready to activate at a moment's notice to cover everyone. Fighting side by side was the best way to build camaraderie. Although Ken Mu had a good relationship with the others, they hadn't had such experiences before. Ken Mu didn't say much and sat cross-legged, calling upon the vast computational power of the swarm in his mind to begin the invasion. Even though Ken Mu was millions of kilometers away from the swarm on Earth, he could easily access its vast computational power through the Soul Link. System under invasion. The lights in the entire control room began to flash wildly, casting flickering shadows on them. This base's eye system wasn't very powerful, not even as strong as the eye on the Black Dragon Mountain spaceship. After all, it was just a mining base of the Silver Blue Empire. Although it was large, they wouldn't bother with a high-quality eye system. As a base that housed millions of people, unlike a spaceship, it didn't have a self-destruct system. Because it was large enough and had good server hardware, it took Ken Mu a long time to successfully hack into it. After 15 minutes, the 9 energy towers of the entire underground steel city suddenly emitted a humming sound. A huge sphere above the center of the steel city emitted a dazzling light, illuminating the entire city as if it were daytime. Success, I've taken control of this base and activated the lighting and self-repair systems. Ken Mu's face showed delight. Although it took a lot of effort, he had succeeded. In the original timeline, Ken Mu was curious when he saw Wofei enter this steel city. Why didn't Babada, with its powerful intelligence, directly hack into the city's control system? Instead, Wofei had to manually cut off the energy supply network of the energy towers. With that time, hacking into the city's control system would have been much more convenient. The locations of black iron resources would have been clear at a glance, without needing to search for them. Success? Jia Yi walked to the control room, and various monitors showed different areas. Energy towers nearby automatically open warehouses, and numerous maintenance robots walked out, entering the city streets to start repairs. Success, all systems in the city have been activated. Soon, it will be suitable for ordinary people to live here, and we can bring in our team from the spaceship. I've given you all the highest authority. You can explore freely now. Except for a few areas the eye system can't control, most parts of the city are no longer dangerous. Ken Mu said with a smile. Good, I've already called them over. Once we fully control the city, our researchers can come. Jia Yi's face showed joy. This strong man who had worried about China all his life had never been so happy. Chapter 98, an open and honest conversation. After taking control of the main eye of the steel base, the underground city held no more secrets. This was a world made of black iron. Almost everything in the warehouses and streets was composed of black iron. But that was all there was: black iron. The lack of food and living supplies was the main reason the miners who lived here 1,000,000 years ago perished. For the United Government, this was an invaluable treasure trove. Although the humans who lived here 1,000,000 years ago had perished, all their technology had been preserved. The basic production lines were also well maintained due to sufficient energy and the daily maintenance of the robots. As long as the personnel were in place and trained according to the main eye's data, it wouldn't be too difficult to get the mines operational. However, Ken Mu had already handed this over to Jia Yi, trusting that the new United Government would handle it well after cleaning up. At this moment, Ken Mu, along with Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi, arrived at the deepest level of the mine. Under their gaze, an insect egg continuously developed and eventually transformed into a huge mother nest. One by one, Zerg units emerged from the eggs, beginning to patrol the mine or dig for minerals. I believe you are all curious about the origin of my ability to cultivate monsters. Seeing the shocked expressions of the others, Kinmu smiled. I had guessed before. Satellites have captured images of the area around Ruin 31. This should be technology obtained from the ruins, right? Jia Yi regained his composure. In reality, this was something that was understood without being spoken. Kinmu didn't mention it, and he didn't ask. There was a mutual understanding between them. On the battlefield, monster corpses were dragged into underground caves, and Zerg warriors emerged. Monster cultivation technology? It might fool ordinary people, but not those at the top of the earth. Not just Jia Yi, but also Hong and Lei Shen. No one was a fool. The abnormal situations on Earth weren't only noticed by Babata. The leaders of the originally most powerful factions on Earth would have noticed, especially after the global war began and a large-scale nests were deployed. How could they not have noticed? At this moment, Kinmu took the initiative to reveal this ability. These monsters are called bug race. The ones currently mining minerals are called mining bug, which are best at digging various metal ores. Kinmu explained to the others. As you guessed, the appearance of these bugs indeed comes from Ruin 31. Ruin 31, one of the 3 forbidden zones on Earth, was originally a bug queen's mother nest. By a stroke of luck, I obtained part of the inheritance and finally took control of that mother nest. Kinmu's words were truthful, but he selectively omitted some details. Seeing the confusion on their faces, it was clear they had no concept of the bug race. There were no records of them in Earth's ruins, and low-level nations like the Silver Blue Empire didn't encounter them. The bug race are one of the 6 most powerful peak races in the universe, alongside humans. Kinmu's tone became serious. This race is planetary level in its infancy and can reach sector lord level naturally. With sufficient resources, they can naturally reach such strength. They can also hatch various units, making them one of the most powerful races in the universe. I was lucky to obtain part of the inheritance, which gave me my current strength. Hearing Kinmu's words, the expressions of Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi could no longer be described as shocked. Jia Yi's breathing became heavy. What does planetary level mean? On Earth, planetary level is considered beyond the level of war gods, a level of strength reserved for parliament members. Before Kinmu appeared, out of Earth's 7 billion people, there were only 50 or so parliament members. And these beings are born with that level of strength. Ruin 31 is a mother nest. Do you know what Ruin 1 is? Kinmu's expression became somewhat peculiar. What is it? Lei Shen asked curiously. Hong and Jia Yi also listened intently. Ruin 1 was one of the 3 great forbidden zones among Earth's ruins, the earliest discovered ancient civilization site on Earth. It was a silver-white pyramid, 1,200 meters tall, suspended in the waters of the North Atlantic near the Bermuda region. Just by being suspended there, the surrounding magnetic field was completely distorted, destroying any materials or experts that came close. That is an automaton spaceship. One of the 6 peak races in the universe, the automaton race, which excels in technology. You should know that even the lowest-level automaton spaceships in the universe are C-class, and the one in Ruin 1 is far more powerful than our Black Dragon Mountain spaceship, definitely exceeding C-class. But our strength is still too weak. We can't even enter the automaton race spaceship, otherwise, there would definitely be many valuable things inside. Kinmu sighed. The eyes of Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi lit up. Just a small Earth has so many valuable things. Our Earth is not simple. So, once we enter the universe, we must not expose any information about Earth. If we do, countless strong beings will rush here, and becoming a slave planet would be the best outcome. Kinmu spoke gravely. In the original timeline, Kinmu had been curious about why Hong and Lei Shen weren't interested in Ruin 1 or Ruin 31. In the virtual universe, if you want to investigate, you can always find some clues. At one point, Lei Shen had also obtained the World Master inheritance. Couldn't he recognize the automaton race spaceship and the mother nest? Of course, it's also possible that they didn't want to compete with Luo Feng, as he had helped them a lot. Kinmu chose differently. It was better to tell them in advance and let them be prepared, making them more cautious when entering the universe. Otherwise, inadvertently revealing information could bring fatal threats to Earth. The bug and the automaton race. On such a small Earth, there are 2 of the 6 peak races in the universe. Hong's expression also became serious, clearly realizing the severity of the situation. This is why I want to unify the world quickly and enter the universe as soon as possible. Once the outside world discovers Earth's situation, it will be a big problem. Only by entering the universe can we rapidly become stronger and have the power to protect ourselves. With Earth's resources, it's difficult to break through to the star level. I'm leaving the mother nest here to breed Zerg, so that the swarm can spread out. Not just on Mars, but also on other planets in the solar system, spreading outward. While exploring resources, they will also become Earth's first line of defense. Kenmu said. The development of the Zerg is different from that of solitary creatures like the Golden Horn Beast. The Zerg require vast resources and extensive territories. If he wants to build the kind of Zerg swarm he envisions, then the swarm will need war. Only through war can the Zerg swarm evolve and grow rapidly. Unless he chooses not to develop the Zerg, they will inevitably be exposed to the eyes of Earth's humans. This is something that cannot be hidden. Once they enter the stars, even if he doesn't say anything, they will investigate secretly. This is not about trust, but human nature. Moreover, he has no intention of hiding these things. If he was weak, he would hide them, but now that he is strong, there is no need to hide anymore. By telling them these things, he believes that with the character of Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi, they will not leak this information. On the contrary, for the safety of Earth, they will help me keep this secret. Jia Yi's expression became serious. We need to review the personnel entering the universe again. We must ensure absolute loyalty and reliability. There can be no mistakes. This is a matter of life and death for the entire Earth, and there can be no negligence. Absolutely, we must review it carefully. Hong and I will personally verify it. Hong and Lei Shen exchanged glances. Seeing how seriously they took the matter, Kenmu dropped another bombshell. But don't be too tense. There is a reason why our Earth has been able to develop safely until today. Kenmu's serious expression softened into a smile. From the information obtained from the ruins, we know that there is life beyond our Earth in the universe. But why have no one ever set foot on Earth in a million years? The reason is simple. Our Earth was once the territory of a powerful being. That being used a secret method to conceal the spatial coordinates of Earth and the surrounding 1,000 light years, making it impossible for ordinary beings to enter. And if we want to leave, without the coordinates, it will be difficult for us to do so. However, that powerful being perished tens of thousands of years ago. Otherwise, our Earth might still be that being's backyard. Seeing Kenmu's smile, the serious atmosphere during their conversation lightened up. Is this knowledge you obtained from the Zerg inheritance? It seems you have a way to leave. No wonder no one have entered Earth, they simply couldn't. It's good that they can't enter. The tension that had built up in their hearts instantly eased. These things need to be clearly explained to them before they enter the universe to avoid unnecessary trouble. After all, at this point, they have not yet joined the Yunmo. I do have a way, but it will take some time. I'll keep you in suspense for now. Kenmu's face was full of smiles. Probably in about a month, and if we're lucky. Barring any accidents, the Golden Horned Beast is also about to arrive. It's almost time to make contact with Babata. Chapter 99, The Arrival of the Golden Horned Beast. After laying out the situation with Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi at the Mars Steel Base, the three of them gained a clearer understanding of the universe and the uniqueness of Earth. After exploring the Steel City for a while and eliminating the dangers, the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spaceship had already transported numerous scientific research talents in machinery, energy, and other fields from Earth to the Mars base. Without mentioning the excitement of those researchers, Kenmu returned to the spaceship, sent Hong, Lei Shen, and the others back to Earth, and then spent a few days deploying mother nests on various planets and asteroid belts in the solar system. For the mother nests, once they reach the planetary level, surviving in space is a simple matter. The various units hatched are mainly worker Zergs, searching for minerals and resources on different planets. At the same time, the Zerg swarm spread across various planets, collecting energy and transforming the environment to make it suitable for Zerg survival. Returning to Earth, it was already the end of July. After temporarily lending the spaceship to the United Government, Kenmu resumed his cultivation life. Among the 3 secret techniques he chose, Heart of the Swarm had already been mastered. Kenmu tried to cultivate space mastery for a while but found it impossible to get started, so he focused on Primordial Zerg Cannon. Primordial Zerg Cannon is the oldest and most fundamental of the many Zerg modulation techniques, but it is not simple. On the contrary, it is an extremely vast and complex technique, encompassing a wide range of knowledge. It contains specific methods, but more importantly, it provides a way of thinking and a rigorous research approach. From the beginning, Kenmu was engrossed in the knowledge, which was exactly what he had been pursuing. With the foundation of his previous research, Kenmu's gene research level skyrocketed at an astonishing speed. So that's how it is. A glimmer of light appeared in Kenmu's previously confused eyes. He had previously gathered the top talents from across the country to research gene evolution potions and had achieved some results. In terms of enhancing genes and bloodlines, Kenmu's approach was to study the offspring of strong individuals, combining their excellent genes to create gene evolution potions. With the knowledge from Primordial Zerg Cannon, Kenmu found that his approach was correct, But there were many issues in terms of details and operations. In addition to problems with details and operations, the materials he used for research were also too poor. The strongest individuals on Earth, Hong and Lei Shen, were only at the planetary level, and the offspring of planetary-level individuals were only at the apprentice level, with very few research samples. However, with the knowledge from primordial Zerg canon and the many gene data from the inheritance, these problems were easily solved. Back on Earth, around a hidden underground mother nest, numerous human bodies that were 9/10 similar to Kenmu were continuously hatched and then sent into digestive organs. The research human bodies initially had severe defects, either excessive mutations or internal organ pathologies, but as Kenmu's research ideas were confirmed, the defects became fewer and fewer. Success. Kenmu's eyes suddenly lit up, and his expression became excited. In the mother nest, a human body almost identical to Kenmu appeared. His body had no mutations, and his internal organs were perfect, even better than Kenmu's own body. By drawing on many excellent genes, especially the genes of the Bug Queen, his gene structure became more reasonable. His pure physical strength, speed, and neural reaction speed surpassed Kenmu. In terms of sensing and absorbing cosmic energy, his body was more than twice as strong as his own. Also, the perception of the laws of fire is much more clear. In terms of overall quality and potential, it has at least doubled compared to the original body. A wild smile appeared on Kenmu's face, as he finally succeeded. The research is only preliminarily successful. With my current planetary level 7 body, the potential has doubled. I don't know if it's the strength of the inheritance or the poor potential of Earth humans. Kenmu thought to himself. With the inheritance and his previous research, achieving such results in just over 10 days was astonishing. Without the Zerg, Kenmu's body potential was actually very poor. Doubling it did not mean doubling the life gene, but it could elevate an ordinary person to the level of a genius among Earth humans. Doubling the overall quality and potential is just the beginning. As long as the research continues, it won't take much time to cause a qualitative change and achieve a multiple increase in life gene. My current strength has reached the planetary level, manifesting as a doubling of overall quality and potential. If applied to ordinary people, what effect would it have? Could it reach the apprentice level? Kenmu was excited. If ordinary Earth humans could reach the apprentice level after using it, it would be amazing. It is known that Earth human bloodlines are of the 9th grade, and adults are considered inferior. In the cosmic bloodlines, the 7th and 8th grades are considered ones who reach the apprentice level when reaching adulthood. So, with the results of his research made into gene potions, it would be enough to attract the pursuit of most humans born with 9th and 10th grade bloodlines in the universe. This is a potential increase, not just a simple increase in strength. If you want to do it, it's easy now. The Zerg currently store a large number of Earth human genes, and it is easy to prove the results of the experiment. Around the mother nest, Zerg eggs quickly hatched, and human-like creatures crawled out of the eggs. When they were hatched, a worker Zerg came forward and injected a bloodline evolution potion just synthesized by the mother nest into the human body. Just provide energy and let it absorb, see if it can enhance strength and to what extent. On the ground, the creep spread, channeling energy into the human body. The strength is at the primary warlord level, which is apprentice level 4. Before hatching, their strength was that of ordinary humans, but after injecting the potion and providing sufficient energy for natural growth, they can reach apprentice level 4. The experimental results made Kenmu happy, as the potion's effect had met expectations and could indeed enhance the bloodline, although it could only raise the 9th grade bloodline to the 8th grade. This can already be considered a bloodline enhancement potion, albeit the least effective one. Bloodline enhancement potions are also graded, but even the lowest grade is a treasure. Making a bloodline enhancement potion requires about 100 milliliters of gene potion, which for the Zerg is equivalent to the cost of hatching a planetary level Zerg. This cost is not high for a bloodline enhancement potion. If sold in the universe, it would definitely be sought after by many humans born with 9th and 10th grade bloodlines. Although it consumed the energy to make a planetary level Zerg to produce a bloodline enhancement potion and required absorbing energy to create an apprentice level 4 human, which seems uneconomical, it is actually not the case. Bloodline evolution potions cannot directly enhance strength but can make the user's future cultivation faster and easier. Injecting a bloodline evolution potion is equivalent to a one-time improvement of the user's foundation, far more than a simple increase in strength. How much would this be worth in the universe? Kenmu was excited, originally worried about financial issues when entering the universe, but with this potion, the problem was basically solved. This is just the beginning, and as Kenmu's research deepens, the potion's effect will become better, and its value will increase. Kenmu was excited and fully immersed in his research. While Kenmu was engrossed in his research, In the vast universe, a golden light rapidly flew from the cosmic stars toward Earth. Earth, Hawaiian Islands, a golden light directly cut through the atmosphere and fell into the sea. Strangely, the descent did not cause any ripples. Not only was there no change on the sea's surface, but no satellite, surveillance equipment, or even the Zerg on Earth detected the golden light. Deep under the sea. When the golden light disappeared, only an oval black egg with a diameter of about 12 meters was left. There were strange golden patterns on the black eggshell. The golden horned beast that Kenmu had been waiting for a long time finally arrived. Chapter 100, The Golden Horned Beast Fleet. Before the arrival of the golden horned beast, Kenmu had already deployed a large number of Zerg around the Hawaiian Islands. Almost half of the creatures within hundreds of kilometers near the Hawaiian Islands were disguised Zerg. The Zerg did not detect the golden horned beast accompanying the golden light, but soon the oval black giant egg was discovered by marine creatures. A fish-like monster swam to the giant egg, observed it for a while, and instinctively opened its sharp-toothed mouth to bite down. Crack! The fish-like monster's teeth shattered, but the black giant egg remained motionless on the seabed, its shell still dark with mysterious golden patterns. The terrifying bite of the previous fish-like monster left no trace. The fish-like monster with shattered teeth did not panic like ordinary fish but waited for a while. More fish-like monsters swam over, seemingly sensing the extraordinary nature of the black giant egg. Even some king-level monsters appeared, tightly surrounding the 12-meter-long oval black egg. A black giant egg suddenly appeared near the Hawaiian Islands. Kenmu, who was immersed in his research, was immediately startled awake. Golden horned beast? Haha, it's finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Kenmu laughed heartily. The golden horned beast was a crucial part of Kenmu's plan. He had been worried that the golden horned beast would discover the Zerg that had spread across the earth. To make Earth's environment appear suitable for the golden horned beast's growth, Kenmu refrained from clearing the ocean monsters. He did not deal with the 2 ocean emperor-level monsters to attract the golden horned beast. Quick! Gather the Zerg, we can't let this golden horned beast's egg escape. Kenmu was excited and rushed out of the research base, started flying towards the Hawaiian waters. In theory, the golden horned beast should not be able to move in its egg form, but who knows if it would sense danger and hatch prematurely to escape. Kenmu's worry was not unfounded. As more and more monsters gathered around the golden horned beast, with more than 10 king-level monsters and countless others still coming, the originally stable black giant egg seemed to sense something. A weak force radiated from the egg, spreading in all directions. Within the radiation range, millions of monsters were gathering. Sensing the convergence of so many monsters, the black giant egg, which was supposed to hatch in over a year, suddenly trembled slightly. Crack, crack, crack! Sensing danger, the black giant egg began to shake violently, the shaking becoming more intense. Crack, crack, crack! With a crisp sound, a crack appeared on the surface of the black giant egg. As the shaking intensified, more cracks appeared until bang! The entire black giant egg broke open. A dark, slimy unknown creature emerged from the eggshell. Then came several bang, bang, bang sounds, and a dark, slimy, winged reptilian creature emerged from the cracked eggshell. Sensing the threat, the golden horned beast actually hatched prematurely. Under the gaze of countless monsters, the golden horned beast began to eat the eggshell. The surrounding monsters did not disturb it, as if deliberately giving it time to eat the eggshell. As it continued to eat the eggshell, the golden horned beast grew larger and stronger, fully revealing its form. Its entire body was black, covered with black scales, with strong limbs, a pair of scaly wings on its massive black body, and a tail that swayed slowly like a dragon's tail. The most striking feature was the single horn on its head, pointing proudly towards the sky. As the golden horned beast ate the eggshell in front of millions of Zerg, a stream of light passed over the Hawaiian waters and stopped above the area where the golden horned beast was located. Still eating the eggshell. Go ahead. Release your full potential, I don't want an incomplete golden horned beast. Above the ocean, Kenmu smiled and did not rush to dive into the ocean to capture the golden horned beast. A newly hatched golden horned beast, with a strength of only planetary level, trying to escape from the encirclement of millions of Zerg controlled by Kenmu himself? That's just a dream. As it continued to eat the eggshell, the golden horned beast grew larger. When all the eggshell was eaten, it had grown to 16 meters in length, and all the slime on its body had been absorbed, making its form clear. The mysterious golden patterns on its sharp horn, head, neck, and back scales seemed to spread from the horn to the entire body. It was as if a golden pattern extended from the horn to the whole body. Its body exuded an innate, suffocating pressure. If ordinary monsters faced such pressure, they would likely submit immediately. Unfortunately, it was discovered by the Zerg, whose strength surpassed it. No matter how strong its pressure was, the surrounding Zerg were indifferent, as if they had found something new and interesting. Under such scrutiny, the golden-horned beast's dark golden pupils suddenly brightened, turning golden. The mysterious golden patterns on its horn, neck, back, and even the scales all over its body lit up. Especially the horn, the golden pattern shone brightly. Under this light, the surrounding seawater and even the seabed rocks began to tremble. After eating the eggshell and activating its bloodline, the golden-horned beast roared towards the sky, as if demonstrating its might to the millions of monsters in front of it. As a famous golden-horned beast in the universe, when had it ever encountered such treatment? Hatching in front of millions of monsters and eating the eggshell. It felt its dignity was insulted and was about to show its might to these monsters when a figure descended from the sky above the sea, stepping on a strange disc. Finally finished eating, and your bloodline is activated. Kenmu had been waiting impatiently for a long time. Before the golden-horned beast could show its might, Kenmu directly activated the heart of the swarm technique, drawing the mental energy of the strongest 100,000 Zerg units. Integrating his own mental energy, he formed an invisible soul spike and shot it into the golden-horned beast's mind. Roar! The golden-horned beast had just let out a roar when its stark golden eyes rolled back, and it fainted. A giant snake-like king-level monster swam over, wrapped its body around the golden-horned beast, and followed Kenmu's figure, dragging the golden-horned beast into a Zerg mother nest. Zerg. Start analyzing the golden-horned beast's genes. Do not make it into a Zerg. This golden-horned beast still has great use. In Kenmu's excited expression, the Zerg, which had already spread throughout the solar system, began to fully analyze the golden-horned beast's genes. As the analysis began, the mother nest started operating frantically, with a vast amount of information rippling through the Zerg will. Its memories were read, and its genetic information was deciphered. As expected, the genes of the golden-horned beast can be analyzed. Kenmu's eyes brightened. As the analysis deepened, the inherited memories from the golden-horned beast's bloodline were read, and a live structure diagram gradually became complete. The analysis progress is so slow. Even with 90% of the Zerg's computing power, it will take at least a week to complete the analysis. Kenmu was somewhat shocked. No wonder it's the golden-horned beast. After all, the Zerg, which have already spread throughout the solar system, have more than 10 planetary-level mother nests, and hundreds of subplanetary-level mother nests. Their analytical capabilities are incomparable. It's okay, the stronger the better. The stronger my clan Zerg swarm will be. Kenmu was excited. A week later, a Zerg egg near the mother nest where the golden-horned beast was located began to mutate, transforming into a giant egg. The egg grew larger and larger, its diameter exceeding 16 meters. A Zerg creature almost identical to the golden-horned beast emerged from the egg, roaring towards the sky. Just hatched, and the golden-horned beast's strength has already reached planetary level 6. But the energy consumption is astonishing, tens of thousands of times more than that of the same level flame titan beetle. Kenmu was shocked. Just this one golden-horned beast had consumed all the stored energy of the entire Zerg swarm. Not just energy, but more than half of the various metal resources collected by the Zerg were also consumed. These were all the resources collected by the Zerg on Earth, Mars, and even throughout the solar system. Consumed so much energy, I hope this golden-horned beast doesn't disappoint me. After completing the analysis and obtaining the complete life structure diagram and the inheritance from the golden-horned beast's bloodline, Kenmu immediately started the incubation. He hadn't expected that incubating a golden-horned beast would require such exaggerated resources, almost depleting a year's worth of accumulation by the Zerg swarm. Let me see what's so special about this golden-horned beast. It's one of the 12 peak bloodlines and has an internal world at the planetary level. Although it consumed a vast amount of resources, Kenmu felt a sense of joy in his heart. As his consciousness descended into the golden-horned beast's body, he immediately felt a powerful force, even stronger than his own body. 3 innate secret techniques, the cultivation technique Swallow, the combat technique Enhance, and the technique Clone are all the same as a normal golden-horned beast, and it also has an internal world. Haha, my plan for the Golden Horn Fleet can be realized. Kenmu was filled with excitement and anticipation. He knew that this golden-horned beast was not just a powerful individual but a crucial part of his future plans. The internal world and the 3 innate secret techniques of the golden-horned beast gave it unparalleled advantages in battle. Next, we will mass-produce golden-horned beasts and form an invincible fleet. Kenmu began to plan his future development direction. He believed that with the golden-horned beast's powerful genes and innate secret techniques, his Zerg fleet would be unstoppable in the universe. However, the resource consumption for incubating golden-horned beasts is too great. We must find more resource planets to support such a grand plan. Kenmu realized that to achieve his grand goal, he needed sufficient resources. He started thinking about how to find more resource planets in the universe to ensure the smooth development of the Golden Horn Fleet. Let's formulate a plan and obtain resources as soon as possible. The future of the Golden Horn Fleet depends on our actions. He knew that the road ahead was full of challenges and opportunities. But with sufficient strength and resources, he believed he could achieve his grand vision. Golden Horn Fleet, invincible in the universe. Kenmu silently vowed in his heart. He would spare no effort to build an invincible Zerg fleet and conquer the stars. Chapter 101, The Golden Horned Beast and the Yunmo Inheritance. The advantage of the Golden Horned Beast lies in its core and its inner world. To possess an inner world at the planetary level, it's simply perfect for the swarm. It's practically a natural-born mothership for the Zerg. Its inner world can accommodate numerous nests. A single Golden Horned Beast is akin to an entire Zerg fleet. I could even modify its genes to allow its inner world to naturally nurture a massive nest. As Kenmu's consciousness withdrew from the inner world of the Golden Horned Beast, his expression was one of exhilaration. Cosmic beasts were capable of traversing the universe with their physical bodies alone. Their massive forms, extraordinary talents, and rapid growth potential, coupled with their inner worlds, made them the pinnacle of existence in every aspect. Aside from their immense resource consumption, they had virtually no flaws. After directing the swarm to allocate some metal resources for the Zerg Golden Horned Beast to consume and grow, Kenmu took the original Golden Horned Beast to a newly established military base in the former City 003. This particular Golden Horned Beast had not been infected or controlled by the Zerg. Kenmu had deliberately kept it intact, merely knocking it unconscious, analyzing its life structure, and extracting its inherited memories. He planned to use its body to strike a deal with Babata in exchange for the Yunmo inheritance. Yes, the deal was with Babata, not Luofeng. At this point, Luofeng was still too weak, and Babata had not yet recognized him as its master. It merely saw him as a potential inheritor. The Yunmo inheritance was still firmly in Babata's hands. Although Kenmu had access to the Zerg and Golden Horned Beast inheritances, neither contained human cultivation methods. Moreover, Kenmu needed the coordinates of Earth's dark universe and various other planets in the cosmos. Without them, it would take thousands of years to fly out of the region enveloped by Huai and Bo's secret techniques. In the military base, the 16-meter-long Golden Horned Beast was placed in a one-way transparent room. Kenmu then dialed Luofeng's communication channel. Luofeng's progress had been rapid. He was now a level 2 planetary warrior and a level 4 planetary spirit master, placing him among the second tier of high-ranking officials in the United Government, just below Kenmu, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi. Luofeng, it's Kenmu. There's something important I need to discuss with you. Come to the base. Once the call connected, Kenmu got straight to the point and sent his coordinates. Understood. I'll be there right away. Luofeng, who had been training in the base city, didn't dare delay when he saw it was Kenmu calling. Ever since obtaining the Yunmo inheritance and hearing Babata's warnings, Luofeng had been on edge, though he didn't fully believe Kenmu had been compromised. While Earth had indeed experienced a full-scale war, it had been against the monsters. Now, with the terrestrial monsters largely driven out and the United Government ruling the planet, Earth had entered an era of rapid development. Leaving his villa in Yangzhou City, Luofeng walked through bustling streets filled with people. Everyone seemed busy, yet their faces radiated smiles, a stark contrast to the oppressive atmosphere during the monster infestations. Children played on the sidewalks, their laughter filling the air with vitality. On the billboards lining the streets, a prominent slogan caught Luofeng's eye: "The second world is now live." With just a virtual helmet, you can live a second life. Under the United Government's promotion, virtual spaces had become a global phenomenon, no longer limited to elite circles. When Luofeng first became a war god, the Palace of War Gods still existed, though its presence had waned. Now, it had been officially disbanded and integrated into the United Government. If one wanted to communicate with other warriors, they could simply enter the second world. The current state of Earth is largely shaped by Kenmu. The entire planet is thriving. How could someone like him destroy Earth? It's impossible. Luofeng communicated with Babata in his mind. Perhaps I misjudged him. But Kenmu is peculiar. I can't quite figure him out. Babata's tone was less tense now. I wonder what Kenmu wants to discuss. Something important? A special mission? As Luofeng left the streets, he soared into the sky, pondering. Kenmu had met with Luofeng a few times before, but those meetings were always about military assignments, never personal matters. With his speed, it didn't take long for Luofeng to reach the military base in City 003. There, a military personnel led him to a control room where Kenmu was waiting. Kenmu, it's been a while. Luofeng quickened his pace and greeted Kenmu with a smile. It has. I called you here today because I wanted to talk not just with you, but also with Babata. At Kenmu's words, Luofeng's mind went blank. It felt as though his deepest secret had been exposed, and a chill ran through his body. In his consciousness, Babata panicked, letting out a shrill cry. Haha, no need to be nervous. I'm not going to eat you. After observing for so long, haven't you reached any conclusions? Kenmu's smile carried a hint of mischief. It was rare to see the future city lord Luo so rattled. Seeing Kenmu's expression, Luo Feng, who had nearly fled, relaxed slightly. Kenmu, you know about Babata? Luo Feng's face was a mix of disbelief. According to Babata, the Yunmo ship had been buried underground for 50,000 years, and he was the first to enter it. How could Kenmu possibly know? Of course I do. Is that so strange? Did you think the Yunmo inheritance was Earth's only secret? While Babata was monitoring the planet, do you think nothing else was monitoring Babata? Kenmu chuckled. The Earth, transformed by the mountain-sitting guest, had influenced the evolution of life within its sphere for thousands of light years. Even if Earth were shattered, its remnants would eventually reform over time. In its long history, Earth had been destroyed 12 times, yet it always reconstituted itself. It had birthed lords and even undyings, though its name had changed over the ages. Earth was merely its current designation. Compared to its ancient history, Hueco was but a recent arrival. So, there are even stronger inheritances on Earth? And Babata has been monitored all this time? Luo Feng's expression stiffened, a bitter smile forming on his face. He had thought he was operating in the shadows, only to realize that Kenmu had been in control all along. Impossible. How could I have been monitored? On Luo Feng's shoulder, a small black-robed figure Babata gesticulated wildly, its voice filled with indignation. Seeing Babata finally reveal itself, Kenmu smiled. Why not? I went to Misty Island to find you before, but you hid and refused to meet me. You've been hiding in the Yunmo ship, thousands of meters below Misty Island, for 50,000 years. Did you think I didn't know? Kenmu's tone was light, almost teasing. You really do know. Babata's expression was a mix of shock and disbelief. Kenmu's knowledge of the Yunmo ship's exact location and its history left Babata with no choice but to accept the possibility that it had indeed been monitored. The feeling of being completely exposed filled Babata with dread. Was my mission to Misty Island also arranged by you, Kenmu? Luo Feng's smile turned bitter. He hadn't expected that his greatest opportunity had been orchestrated by Kenmu. Exactly. Aside from me, you have the highest brain width on Earth. You're also a prodigy of the United Government. Why would I let such a valuable inheritance fall into someone else's hands? Kenmu didn't deny it. So, after obtaining your inheritance, you took control of the Bug Queen in Ruin number 31. That had me worried for a long time. Luo Feng composed himself, his expression calm once more. Indeed, the Zerg Queen in Ruin number 31 is under my control. Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi are all aware of this. Kenmu nodded. I see. Luo Feng finally understood. Everything had been arranged by Kenmu. His earlier ignorance was simply due to his lack of strength and clearance. It seems you truly know everything. So, what do you want to discuss with me? Babata, having calmed down, asked. Do you know about the golden horned beast among the cosmic beasts? Kenmu didn't answer directly but instead posed a question. The golden horned beast? Yes, it's one of the strongest bloodlines among the cosmic beasts. It's one of the most powerful bloodlines in the universe. Babata replied. Correct, but that's not the full picture. Kenmu smiled. A newly hatched golden horned beast is already at the planetary level. After consuming its eggshell and a large amount of ordinary metal, it can reach the star level in just 1 year. Unlike ordinary life forms, they possess an inner world from birth and can grow simply by consuming metal. If fed ordinary metal, it would take 100 years to go from star level 1 to universe level 1, 1,000 years to reach domain lord level 1, and 10,000 years to become a sector lord. With special methods, this process can be accelerated. For instance, specific metal combinations can speed up the growth of its inner world, allowing for faster power progression. Such talent is among the rarest in the universe, even among billions of races. Babata's virtual form showed a hint of confusion. It knew the golden horned beast was powerful, but it wasn't familiar with the specifics. What puzzled it more was why Kenmu was sharing this information. The Yunmo inheritance includes a soul possession technique. If Luo Feng were to possess a golden horned beast, how far do you think he could go? Kenmu asked. Possess a golden horned beast? Impossible. Such a top-tier cosmic beast is far too rare. In all my travels across countless star systems with my master, I've only encountered 3 cosmic beasts, none of which were of golden horned beast's bloodline. Babata shook its head. Golden horned beasts were exceedingly rare. By now, Babata was almost numb to Kenmu's seemingly endless knowledge of the Yunmo inheritance. What if I could provide Luo Feng with a juvenile golden horned beast, complete with its full inheritance. What would you offer in exchange? Kenmu's smile widened. Although Kenmu desired the Yunmo inheritance, he didn't want to be the one to propose the exchange. If Babata made the offer, the dynamics would shift in his favor. Seeing Kenmu's expression, Babata seemed to realize something. Its virtual form even mimicked heavy breathing, its eyes gleaming with excitement. Luo Feng, who had been listening intently, was equally stunned. A life form born at the planetary level, reaching star in a year, and capable of becoming a sector lord upon maturity? What kind of monstrous bloodline was this? Through his time with Babata, Luo Feng had gained a basic understanding of the universe, which only deepened his awe. With a wave of his hand, Kenmu opened a side door in the control room, revealing a 16-meter-long golden horned beast to Luo Feng and Babata. This is a juvenile golden horned beast, complete with its full inheritance. Its inherited memories contain an endless wealth of knowledge, including 18 special techniques and 3,199 ordinary techniques. Once possessed, Luo Feng wouldn't need to worry about cultivation methods. If he succeeds, he'll at least become a sector lord, with a strong chance of reaching undying level. Your master may have been killed, but undyings can be revived. Once Luo Feng becomes an undying, he can accumulate enough merit within the human race to request a reversal technique and revive Hueco. Kenmu's words were like a siren's call, filled with irresistible temptation. As Hueco's intelligent life form, Babata's primary purpose was to ensure the Yunmo inheritance was passed on. Under normal circumstances, it would guard the inheritance with its life. But Kenmu's offer struck at its core. Becoming an undying and reviving Hueco, this was more important to Babata than the inheritance itself. To achieve this, it was willing to pay any price. A golden horn beast. A real golden horn beast, and a juvenile one at that. Babata's form floated closer, scrutinizing the beast. After a moment, it confirmed the creature's authenticity. I can't afford this. Babata's expression twisted in anguish. It had scoured its collections, but nothing it possessed could match the value of a living golden horned beast with a complete inheritance. For a moment, it even entertained the idea of urging Luo Feng to seize the beast by force. But it quickly dismissed the thought. Luo Feng was no match for Kenmu. I know you can't afford it. But you have something I need, the Yunmo inheritance. I want it to serve as Earth's foundation. In exchange, I'll give you this golden horn beast. Luo Feng is your inheritor, but he's also a member of the United Government. I'm willing to take a slight loss. Kenmu's smile was warm, but his words were calculated. You want the Yunmo inheritance? Impossible. Babata's response was instinctive. Fine. If you don't want to trade, forget I mentioned it. Kenmu's casual tone sent Babata into a panic. No. I'll trade. I misspoke earlier. Babata quickly backtracked. Good. Besides the inheritance, I have a few additional conditions. They're not difficult, just Earth-Stark universe coordinates, Muya crystals, and so on. Kenmu handed Luo Feng a list for Babata to review. No problem. Babata agreed without hesitation. Compared to the Yunmo inheritance, these were mere trifles. To revive Hueco, it would pay any price. Chapter 102, The Yunmo Inheritance. As Luo Feng departed with the golden horn beast, a faint smile played on Kenmu's lips. The Yunmo inheritance was now securely in his hands, and he had already informed Luo Feng about their impending contact with the wider universe. However, Luo Feng was destined to miss this initial opportunity. Possessing a golden horn beast, even a newly hatched one, was no simple feat. With the soul imprint, Luo Feng would undoubtedly succeed in the possession, but mastering the beast's body and organizing its inherited memories would take several months. After the possession, Luo Feng, true to his character and out of loyalty to his family and his identity as an earthling, would undoubtedly choose to nurture his original human body. This process would take at least 8 months, totaling nearly a year. This delay was part of Kenmu's plan. While he trusted Luo Feng, he had reservations about Babata. With a year's buffer, Kenmu would have ample time to establish a foothold in the universe. The swarm, now unchallenged, could freely propagate within a 1 light-year radius of Earth. In a year's time, Kenmu's strength would be unimaginable. As for Luo Feng foregoing the possession to join Kenmu in exploring the universe, that was impossible. Babata would never allow it. If such a scenario arose, it would only mean Babata had ulterior motives, and Kenmu would have no choice but to eliminate it. Once Luo Feng successfully possessed the golden horned beast, Babata would be irrevocably tied to him, eliminating any chance of betrayal. With the entire Yunmo inheritance at stake, the sunk cost was too great for Babata to risk. Its best course of action would be to wholeheartedly nurture Luo Feng, hoping he would eventually reach immortality. In fact, once the pinnacle battle commenced and Luo Feng joined the virtual universe company, Babata's role would diminish, and their positions would reverse. For Luo Feng, this transaction was a windfall. He had gained one of the universe's most powerful bloodlines and its complete inheritance without any personal cost, paving a smooth path to becoming a powerhouse. By possessing the golden horned beast early and gaining exposure to the universe ahead of time, Luo Feng might achieve even greater success in the pinnacle genius battle. Given Luo Feng's character, he would only feel gratitude toward Qin Mu, with no ulterior motives. This was the advantage of having a god's eye view. No one else would so readily hand over a golden horned beast and its inheritance. It was also why Qin Mu dared to be sincere with Luo Feng, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi. First, I'll study the Yunmo inheritance, then arrange for its dissemination. Qin Mu thought. He had no intention of monopolizing the inheritance. As he had told Luo Feng, it would serve as Earth's foundation. This knowledge wouldn't be limited to Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi but would be spread widely. Qin Mu believed that Earth held more than just a few geniuses. Those who had reached the planetary level without any inheritance were truly exceptional. With the Yunmo inheritance and the unique advantages of Earthling souls, humanity could firmly establish itself in the universe and strive for greater heights. A spatial ring on Qin Mu's finger shimmered, and the crescent moon disk materialized from the void. Qin Mu stepped onto it and flew toward the nearest planetary level nest. The spatial ring had been obtained from Babata. The list Qin Mu had given Babata included not only the ring but also 10,000 Muya crystals, Earth-Stark universe coordinates, star maps, technological data, and the highest authority over the bald crystal man in ruin number 9. The list was extensive, covering every possible resource Qin Mu could think of. Babata, eager for Luo Feng to begin the possession, had readily agreed without haggling. Upon returning to the planetary level nest, Qin Mu settled down to study the Yunmo inheritance. While not as vast as the bug or golden horned beast inheritances, it still required considerable time to fully comprehend. Unlike Luo Feng, who had Babata's guidance, Qin Mu relied on the swarm's assistance, which made the process much faster. The Yunmo inheritance encompassed both warrior and spirit master cultivation methods, with the latter being particularly significant. Hueco, the master of Yunmo, had been a powerful spirit master. In the universe, warriors and spirit masters were equally formidable, though spirit masters employed more varied and esoteric techniques. Warriors needed to focus on spirit and willpower to advance, while spirit masters had to strengthen their bodies and genetic energy. These elements were interconnected and mutually reinforcing. Indeed, the warrior techniques here far surpass those on Earth. The strongest methods on Earth only achieve a 7-fold amplitude, but in the Yunmo inheritance, the average for an apprentice level 9 is a 10-fold amplitude. The genetic energy cultivation methods are also far more profound. The spirit master inheritance includes the controller, illusionist, and miscellaneous. These are the essence of the Yunmo inheritance. Techniques like soul imprint, void tower, possession, and hexagram. These will be incredibly useful to me. As Qin Mu delved deeper, he marveled at the depth and breadth of the Yunmo inheritance. Techniques like soul imprint, though seemingly redundant given his Zerg assimilation abilities, actually enhanced his Zerg transformation. Void tower, while less useful for the swarm, still offered benefits for his human body. These techniques, challenging for most, were easily mastered by Qin Mu with the swarm's assistance. For most spirit masters, the miscellaneous chapter might be more important, but for me, the controller and illusionist hold greater value. With my Zerg Overlord soul talent, mastering the illusionist is effortless, and the controller benefits immensely from the nest's computational power. Studying both ensures I don't waste my potential. Even a preliminary study has significantly boosted my strength. A complete inheritance truly accelerates one's growth. With the Zerg, Golden Horn Beast, and Yunmo inheritances, Qin Mu's power was advancing rapidly every day. He had a clear path forward, free from uncertainty. It's time to contact Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi. With this inheritance, their strength will also grow swiftly. Qin Mu mused. In the original timeline, Hong and Lei Shen had also accessed this inheritance, which had greatly accelerated their progress in the universe. Their talents were exceptional. Hong eventually became a true god, and Lei Shen a cosmic sovereign. Jia Yi, though slightly less gifted, was still formidable. Unlike Hong and Lei Shen, who focused solely on cultivation, Jia Yi dedicated much of his energy to managing China, leaving less time for personal growth. By sharing the inheritance, they could learn from each other, further enhancing their strength. With several years to study the Yunmo inheritance, they might achieve even greater success in the upcoming Genius War. The difference between being nurtured by a major faction and struggling alone was immense. As the swarm's overlord, Qin Mu preferred collective wisdom and strength over solitary endeavors. Beyond Hong and Lei Shen, he had assembled a team of Earth's brightest minds to accompany him into the universe. They would serve as his advisors, gathering information and strategizing. Unlike slaves bought through coercion or brainwashing, Kenmu trusted his idealistic and loyal compatriots. I've secured the method to enter the universe and the cultivation inheritance. Come meet me. Kenmu contacted Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi simultaneously. During their previous meeting at the Mars base, he had hinted at these developments but had kept the details vague. Now, it was time to reveal everything. Chapter 103, Inheritance Arrangements. In a secluded training room within a military base, Kenmu sat across from Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi. The atmosphere was calm, yet charged with anticipation. Back at the Mars base, I mentioned that I had a way to obtain Earth-Stark universe coordinates and a powerful inheritance. Well, I've secured everything. Kenmu said with a smile, his tone light but filled with satisfaction. You've got it already? Jia Yi asked, his expression a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Hong and Lei Shen shared similar looks of surprise. Yes, it's no secret now. As I've told you before, Earth was once the territory of a powerful figure in the universe. His name was Hueco, the leader of the Yunmo sect. 50,000 years ago, this undying being was killed by his enemies. Before his death, he fled to Earth and left behind his inheritance. Kenmu explained, his voice carrying a hint of pride. The Yunmo sect? An undying being? The three men were visibly stunned. They had learned from Kenmu what it meant to be an undying, a being so powerful that even time could not erode their existence. The Yunmo inheritance is hidden beneath Misty Island. About 10,000 meters underground lies a spaceship, and within it resides the intelligent life form of Hueco. For 50,000 years, it has monitored Earth, waiting for a suitable inheritor. The various spirits of nature on Misty Island were cultivated by it to attract Earth's geniuses and screen potential candidates. Kenmu continued. I've visited Misty Island multiple times, hoping to obtain the inheritance. Unfortunately, the intelligent life form, Babada, didn't choose me. It even went to great lengths to hide itself, making it impossible for me to locate it. Fortunately, it eventually chose Luofeng as its inheritor and left the buried Yunmo ship. As the inheritor, Luofeng is bound by the rules of the inheritance and cannot reveal the existence of the Yunmo. All of this was within my expectations, but Babada's surveillance capabilities were too formidable for me to act rashly. It wasn't until recently, when a space beast, the Golden Horn Beast, descended upon Earth, that I saw an opportunity. I captured the beast and used it to strike a deal with Babada, securing the entire Yunmo inheritance. As Kenmu finished speaking, the room fell silent. The sheer magnitude of the information left the three men momentarily speechless. 50,000 years. It took 50,000 years to find an inheritor. Hong murmured, his voice tinged with awe. No wonder Luofeng's strength has grown so rapidly. It all makes sense now. Lei Shen added, his eyes narrowing in thought. The Golden Horned Beast? What kind of creature is that? Jia Yi asked, his curiosity piqued. Kenmu went on to explain the nature of space beasts and the Golden Horned Beast in particular. He detailed how the Golden Horned Beast, if properly nurtured, could grow to the level of a sector lord, and how its possession could grant Luofeng unparalleled power. Possession? By taking over a Golden Horned Beast, one could reach the sector lord level with enough resources? Such a creature exists in the universe? Hong exclaimed, his voice filled with both admiration and disbelief. It's fortunate that you discovered the Golden Horned Beast early. Otherwise, it could have brought calamity to Earth. Jia Yi said, his tone laced with relief. We must establish defenses beyond Earth, even within the solar system, as soon as possible. This time, we were lucky that Kenmu found it in time. What if next time it's something even more dangerous? Lei Shen interjected, his expression serious. Earlier, you mentioned that Earth's dark universe coordinates were hidden. How did the Golden Horned Beast find its way here? Has the spatial secret technique failed? If so, Earth could be in grave danger. Lei Shen continued. The technique likely hasn't failed completely, but after 50,000 years, it's not surprising that some issues have arisen. We must make contact with the universe as soon as possible. If a powerful being from the universe were to arrive, we'd be in trouble. Kenmu replied, shaking his head. Let's not dwell on that for now. I've already sent the inheritance to your communication devices. Take a look. Kenmu said, changing the subject. The three men nodded and activated their auxiliary computers, which had become standard equipment after the technological advancements following their visit to the Mars base. Virtual helmets were also being mass-produced and would soon be available globally. Good heavens, this is how force amplitude works. Lei Shen muttered, his eyes wide with realization. My 9-stage Thunderblade pales in comparison. So, this is it. Hong's eyes sparkled as he immersed himself in the ancient texts. I understand now, I understand. Jia Yi was equally engrossed. Seeing the three men absorbed in the inheritance, Kenmu didn't disturb them. Instead, he began his own study of the techniques. He had only skimmed through them earlier, but now he delved deeper. After some time, faint traces of electricity began to flicker in the training room. Lei Shen, who had been sitting cross-legged in meditation, remained calm, but the air around him crackled with energy. Soon, the entire room was filled with a swirling field of lightning. So, this is what a domain is. Hong has mentioned it many times, but I could never grasp it. After reading the Yunmo inheritance, it suddenly clicked. Lei Shen said, his voice steady. His talent had always been exceptional, and he had been on the verge of comprehending a domain. In the original timeline, it was the pressure of the golden horned beast's rampage that pushed him to break through. But now, with the Yunmo inheritance, he had achieved this breakthrough much earlier. Congratulations. Hong said sincerely, his voice filled with genuine admiration. Congratulations. Jia Yi added, though he couldn't fully comprehend the concept of a domain, he knew it was a formidable power. Hong's dominance on Earth had been largely due to his mastery of a domain. The credit goes to the profound mysteries of the Yunmo inheritance. Without it, I wouldn't have achieved this so quickly. Lei Shen said, his gaze shifting to Qin Mu. Though he didn't voice his gratitude, his eyes conveyed his deep appreciation. Such a priceless inheritance, given freely and without reservation, was an immense favor. Words alone couldn't express his gratitude, and he vowed to remember this debt. The same sentiment was shared by Hong and Jia Yi. They, too, felt the weight of Qin Mu's generosity. Congratulations. You can study the inheritance in more detail after you return. I've only just obtained it myself, so we can discuss and explore it together. Qin Mu said with a smile, noticing the gratitude in Lei Shen's eyes. But the reason I called you here today isn't just about the inheritance. It's also about our plans to enter the universe. Even with the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spaceship, a round trip to the universe will take about a month. You've just received the inheritance, and there's a lot to arrange. The same goes for the top talents we've selected to accompany us. They'll need to improve their strength as well. In the universe, those below the planetary level aren't considered citizens. They have no legal protection and can be killed or enslaved at will. They can't even purchase spaceship tickets. Qin Mu explained, his tone growing more serious. These are treasures I obtained from Babata called Muya crystals. When consumed by a warded level fighter, they can quickly elevate them to the planetary level. Have the selected talents first reach the warded level using spirits of nature, then use these crystals to reach the planetary level. Only then can they apply for citizenship. In the universe, intelligence alone isn't enough, strength is essential. I'll give you some of these crystals for your own cultivation as well. As he spoke, Qin Mu retrieved a batch of translucent, milky white crystals from his spatial ring. They emitted a faint, enticing aroma. Muya crystals are treasures in the universe, suitable for humans, beasts, plant life forms, and many other life forms. Even domain lords, sector lords, and the undying purchase them. Aside from using them for your own cultivation, you can also feed them to your cloud vine. However, I don't have many, so we'll need to see if we can acquire more once we enter the universe. You'll need to improve your strength as quickly as possible. Planetary level is still too weak in the universe. With this inheritance and the Muya crystals, we'll all experience a rapid growth phase. Once we've strengthened ourselves further, we'll enter the universe together. Seeing that Qin Mu had even prepared cultivation resources for them, Hong felt a deep sense of gratitude. He was thankful that Earth had someone like Qin Mu. None of the three men declined Qin Mu's arrangements. At this point, words of thanks would have felt hollow. The best way to repay Qin Mu's generosity was to grow stronger as quickly as possible. Not just you, but I also need to improve my strength. So, let's set our departure for 3 months from now. By then, I should have broken through to the star level. The universe is a dangerous place, after all. After finalizing their cultivation plans, Qin Mu turned to Jia Yi. The Yunmo inheritance will serve as Earth's foundation. As long as the conditions are met, it should be shared with the people. Some of the basic knowledge can be widely disseminated. In addition to these cultivation resources, I've also obtained a complete set of technological data from Babata, ranging from communication devices to spaceships. I've already uploaded it to the virtual space. Arrange for our researchers to study and absorb this knowledge. It will take some time. Qin Mu continued, I've also gained control of Ruin number 9 from Babata. This ruin is actually a monitoring base left by Yunmo sect on Earth. It has been observing the entire planet, and its intelligent system knows a great deal about Earth's history. We can use its data to conduct another thorough cleansing of Earth. As we prepare to enter the universe, it can help us identify any deeply hidden threats. I'll have it monitor everyone on Earth to ensure stability. Of course, it will only have surveillance authority. Enforcement will still be our responsibility. After meticulously arranging every detail, Kenmu finally relaxed. Ruin number 9 was a significant site on Earth, and Kenmu had always remembered the bald crystal man within it. Rather than letting it remain idle, he decided to put it to work for the benefit of humanity. The ruin also housed a production line for Black God suits, which could be mass-produced with the right resources. These suits were incredibly useful for planetary-level fighters. Kenmu had done everything he could think of for Earth. With these resources, Earth's talents wouldn't be inferior to those of ordinary factions in the universe. From here on out, it would be up to humanity to strive and grow in the cosmos. Kenmu wouldn't act as a caretaker, he believed in letting Earth forge its own path. Understood. I'll make the necessary arrangements. Jia Yi said solemnly. Kenmu had already done so much for Earth, and humanity would not forget his contributions. Then it's settled. We depart in 3 months. Chapter 104, Departure Within the Bug Queen's Nest. Kenmu was making final preparations for their journey into the universe. The Bug Queen's Nest, now under his control, allowed him to hatch various Zerg units. As they prepared to venture into the universe, Kenmu needed to ensure they were fully equipped. This Bug Queen's Nest, capable of producing planetary and star-level Zerg units with ease, could even hatch star-level 9 Zerg units without much difficulty. However, producing universe-level Zerg units was more challenging, limited to specific breeds like the Flame Tank Zerg, Shadow Blade Zerg, and Hunter Mantis Zerg. For domain lords and sector lords, a deeper understanding of laws and specialized breeding methods were required. These 3 Zerg breeds, while powerful, were not ideal for bodyguard duty due to their massive size and energy consumption. Even with the swarm's current numbers in the solar system reaching hundreds of billions, the resource expenditure would be unsustainable. Therefore, Kenmu decided to hatch 10 star-level 9 Zerg warriors to serve as their protectors in the universe. These warriors, though low-level by the nest standards, were more than sufficient for their needs. The Zerg warriors Kenmu chose were the Fire Eye Zerg, humanoid in appearance and standing 3 meters tall. They had 3 eyes on their heads, granting them exceptional perception. Their ability to shoot scorching beams from their eyes and their formidable close combat skills made them ideal bodyguards. With 3 Silverium guards in the open and 10 Fire Eye Zerg in the shadows, we should be well protected. Kenmu thought to himself. In addition to bodyguards, they needed sufficient funds for their journey. Earth's currency was worthless in the universe, but remnants of cosmic currency had been found in various ruins across Earth and the Mars base. After thorough searches, they had amassed 2,031 Ganwu coins, 32 million Black Dragon coins, and just under 1 million Silver Blue coins. These currencies, preserved in hidden vaults and treasure troves, were the remnants of Earth's ancient connections to the universe. Beyond currency, they had also gathered valuable artifacts, including rare spirit weapons, with an estimated value exceeding 50 billion Black Dragon coins. Among these treasures was a second-tier spirit weapon shaped like an axe, recovered from the former United States vaults. These assets, along with a stockpile of 100,000 spirits of nature, would serve as their financial foundation in the universe. Spirits of nature were highly sought after in the universe, and their unique properties made them valuable commodities. Selling them could net tens of billions of Black Dragon coins, providing a steady income stream. However, Kenmu decided to hold off on selling the bloodline evolution agents, as they were too valuable and closely monitored by the Virtual Universe Company. With their finances and protection secured, Kenmu focused on his cultivation. Over the next 3 months, he immersed himself in the study of the Swarm Heart, Primordial Insect Canon, and the Yunmo Inheritance. These texts were the foundation of his power, and he needed to master them before venturing into the universe. A portion of his consciousness remained connected to the swarm, particularly the Golden Horn Beast, which had grown significantly after consuming vast quantities of metal. The beast's rapid growth was fueled by the swarm's relentless mining efforts across the solar system, providing it with high-grade metals like B8 grade black iron spirit and the even rarer C8 grade black iron essence. As the golden horned beast absorbed these metals, its inner world expanded, creating a vast metallic continent surrounded by golden mist. This space, now over 5 kilometers in length, width, and height, was perfect for housing Zerg units. The beast's unique physiology, optimized for cosmic travel and embodying the laws of gold, provided Kenmu with invaluable insights into gold-based laws. He felt that he was on the verge of comprehending the gold domain. Meanwhile, on Earth, the United Government had gathered its brightest minds, selecting 50 individuals to undergo rigorous training. These individuals, after consuming spirits of nature and Muya crystals, had reached the planetary level and were undergoing specialized preparation for their journey. Hong and Lei Shen had entered seclusion, focusing entirely on their cultivation with the aid of Muya crystals. Their strength grew at an astonishing rate. Jia Yi, who had reached planetary level 3 during the war, also saw significant improvements with the new resources and inheritance. As the world outside buzzed with excitement over the discovery of alien technology and the construction of a spaceship, the swarm continued to expand across the solar system, surpassing 1 trillion units. This growth propelled Kenmu's strength to star level 1 as a spirit master. 10 days before their scheduled departure, Kenmu initiated the evolution of the planetary level nest into a star level nest. 3 days later, the transformation was complete, allowing for the mass production of star level Zerg warriors. This evolution also boosted Kenmu's strength, elevating his warrior level to star level 1 and his spirit level to star level 3. Finally, the day of departure arrived. On January 1, 2058, Kenmu, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi boarded the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft, embarking on their journey into the vast universe. Chapter 105, Kaiyu Along, Dragon Star. Inside the control room of the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft, Hong, Lei Shen, Jia Yi, and the others had just completed a round of intense cultivation. Their spirits were high, filled with anticipation for their first contact with the universe. Even Kenmu, who was usually calm and composed, couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. Kenmu was clad in a black battle armor formed by the Cloud Vine. At the center of the armor's chest was a transparent crystal sphere about 20 centimeters in diameter, covered in intricate golden patterns. It was the source of the golden horned beast's power within the swarm. Inside the core, a vast, starry expanse stretched out, with a glowing sphere at its center resembling a star. This sphere represented the golden horned beast's star-level strength. After 3 months of consuming precious metals, the beast had reached star level 1. The core's vast space seemed to connect to another world, the inner world of the golden horned beast. This inner world was a pure metallic continent, roughly 10 kilometers in length and width, surrounded by endless golden mist. At the center of this metallic land stood a 500-meter-tall pyramid-shaped nest, a star-level Zerg nest. Nearby, the golden horned beast, now over 200 meters long, lay sprawled, devouring mountains of metal. As the golden horned beast consumed the metal, it also studied 2 powerful techniques, deity of the world and absolute space. These techniques were particularly suited to the golden horned beast and complemented the swarm's abilities. Scattered across the metallic continent, hundreds of towering Zerg warriors lay dormant on the nest's fungus carpet. These warriors, over 30 meters tall, were encased in thick, fiery red armor. Their heads were protected by helmet-like structures, and their chests bore menacing spikes. These were the Flame Tank Zerg, known for their immense strength and defense. Each of them was at star level 1. Beside the Flame Tank Zerg were 10 smaller, 3-meter-tall Fire Eye Zerg. Despite their smaller size, their aura was far more intimidating, as each of them was at star level 9. To conceal their identities, they were clad in full-body black Cloud Vine armor, revealing only their 3 blood-red eyes. These Fire Eye Zerg, resembling humans in appearance, would serve as Kenmu's hidden trump cards, only to be deployed in dire situations. On the surface, Kenmu had 3 Silverium guards for protection, and his own strength as a star level 3 spirit master was more than sufficient for most situations. Your strength has reached the star level? Hong, clad in black with his signature calm demeanor, was the first to sense Kenmu's powerful aura. Yes, it was expected. Kenmu replied with a smile. From mid-July 2057 to the end of December, the nest had evolved from planetary to star level, and Kenmu's strength had naturally followed suit. Not only had Kenmu reached star level, but Lei Shen had also broken through to star level. With the Unmo inheritance and an abundance of Nuya crystals, Lei Shen's strength had surged dramatically. Hong, too, was on the verge of reaching star level, his power having exploded in a short period. Compared to the original timeline, where they had to fight the golden horned beast and suffer soul damage, their current progress was far more impressive. Jia Yi, though not as strong as Hong and Lei Shen, had also made significant progress, reaching planetary level 7. Overall, the group's strength had undergone a qualitative transformation in just 3 months. In addition to Kenmu, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi, the expedition included 50 of Earth's top talents in economics, politics, diplomacy, and commerce. These individuals, fiercely loyal to Earth, had been forcibly elevated to planetary level 1 using resources, granting them the minimum qualification for cosmic citizenship. Led by Jia Yi, they represented Earth's first elite team to venture into the universe. Finally, we're heading into the universe. I can't help but feel excited. Lei Shen, still sporting his signature bald head and white robe, rubbed his hands together eagerly. Of course, we're going to Kaiyu Along Star, a planet far more prosperous and powerful than the capital of the Silver Blue Empire. It's a place that makes Earth seem insignificant in comparison. How could we not be excited? Jia Yi added, his voice tinged with nervousness. Kaiyu Long Star has a history of 3 million years. Whether in terms of cultural heritage or sheer power, it far surpasses Earth. Hong chimed in, his usual calm demeanor giving way to excitement. This is our first contact with the universe. As long as we can integrate successfully, it will be a victory. Kinmu said, trying to ease the group's tension. As they spoke, the spacecraft Sai announced, the spacecraft is about to reach light speed and enter the dark universe. Please prepare accordingly. Lei Shen was astonished. We're already at light speed? I didn't feel a thing. Kinmu laughed. This is a grade C spacecraft, a luxury model at that. It's designed to make the journey as smooth as possible. The eye began a countdown. 10 seconds to light speed. 10, 9, 8, 7. As the countdown reached 0, the spacecraft's surroundings blurred and darkened. In the vastness of space, the black spacecraft seemed to ripple and then vanish. Is this the dark universe? Hong asked, looking around at the pitch-black surroundings. The external simulation had automatically shut down. I've never entered the dark universe before, but according to the spacecraft's eye, we're now traveling at 1.2 times the speed of light. Kinmu replied. Simulate the dark universe's scenery. Kinmu instructed the eye. The control room screens lit up, displaying a breathtaking view of the dark universe. It was a vast, empty space filled with countless glowing points of light, like a sea of fireflies. The beauty of the scene left everyone in awe. According to the spacecraft's data, the dark universe corresponds to our original universe. But the ratio is 1,008,100. That means traveling at light speed in the dark universe for 1 year equates to traveling 1,008,100 light years in the original universe. Kinmu explained, sharing the information with the group. 1,008,100 light years. The universe is truly unimaginably vast. Someone murmured, their voice filled with wonder. Estimated time of arrival at Kaiyu Long Star is approximately 10 days. During this time, you can familiarize yourselves with cosmic knowledge or continue cultivating. By the way, how's everyone's language proficiency? It would be awkward if we couldn't communicate once we arrive. Kinmu said with a smile. Of course, we've all learned it. Lei Shen replied in fluent cosmic language. The group, being top talents, had no trouble mastering the universal language in a few months. In fact, the United Government had already begun incorporating this language into elementary school curricula as part of their preparations for integrating with universe. As the spacecraft continued its journey through the dark universe, the initial excitement gradually gave way to routine. The group dispersed to focus on cultivation or study cosmic knowledge. 9 days later, the spacecraft's eye announced, 30 minutes until transition. Arrival at Kaiyu Long Star imminent. The group gathered in the control room, their anticipation palpable. The spacecraft gradually decelerated from 1.2 times the speed of light until it came to a complete stop. A slight vibration shook the spacecraft for about 10 seconds before everything settled. Transition successful. Returning to the original universe. As the spacecraft re-entered the original universe, the external simulation automatically activated. In the distance, a vibrant planet with 2 satellites came into view, its surface shimmering with colorful light. Kaiyu Long Star. We're here. Chapter 106, Virtual Universe. We are about to arrive at our destination, Kaiyu Long Star. Let's proceed according to plan. Kinmu said to a tall, thin, middle-aged man dressed like a butler, wearing black-rimmed glasses. The man, named Li Xingdao, was one of the leaders of the 50-member Earth delegation, second only to Jia Yi. Understood. Li Xingdao replied solemnly. Although his strength was only at planetary level 2, Li Xingdao was a genius in administration, economics, diplomacy, and even scientific research. While Jia Yi was the nominal leader of the Earth delegation, Li Xingdao was the one handling the practical operations. Over the past few days, Kinmu had familiarized himself with all the members of the Earth delegation, particularly those with expertise in scientific research. Besides being a warrior and a spirit master, Kinmu was also a top-tier researcher in biology. The plan was simple: they would pose as members of a wealthy family, using the luxurious Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft and the Silverium guards to create an impressive facade. The Earth delegation would act as attendants, handling various tasks. To avoid any slip-ups, the delegation had undergone specialized training based on the information provided by Babata. As they spoke, the Black Dragon spacecraft accelerated toward Kaiyu Long Star. Through the external simulation, they could clearly see the planet approaching. The atmosphere of Kaiyu Long Star was unique, with colorful gas clouds flowing visibly, making the planet appear stunningly beautiful from a distance. Beep. We have received the docking signal. The spacecraft's eye announced. The spacecraft will follow the signal and dock at Zone C of the planet's spaceport. Following the signal, the spacecraft slowly descended toward a massive silver city below. The spaceport was vast, filled with countless ships of various sizes, from small ones measuring tens of meters to massive ones spanning over 10 kilometers. "Is this Kaiyu Longstar?" someone murmured in awe, feeling as though they had stepped into a science fiction movie. The sky was filled with ships taking off and landing, with over 100 ships descending alongside the Black Dragon spacecraft. Despite the large number of ships, the process was orderly and efficient. As they had learned from the information provided by Babada, the ruler of Kaiyu Longstar was a domain lord. Unless a sector lord or higher arrived, even domain lords would show respect by following the docking signals. The Black Dragon spacecraft slowly descended into Zone C of the spaceport. The spaceport was divided into sections based on the class of the ships, with Zone C reserved for Class C ships and battleships. The strict hierarchy was evident even in something as mundane as docking. The hatch opened. "The gravitational pull here is about 3 times that of Earth," Kinmu noted as he stepped out of the spacecraft, feeling the difference in gravity. Behind him, Hong, Lei Shen, Jia Yi, and the others followed. Li Xingtao stayed close to Kinmu, playing the role of a dutiful attendant. As the spacecraft docked and the hatch opened, a green-skinned, 2.5-meter-tall man with 2 curved horns on his head flew over. He wore a gray uniform and spoke fluent universal language. "Respected sir, welcome to Kaiyu Longstar. The docking fee for your Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft is 600 Black Dragon coins per year. For periods less than a year, the fee is still 600 Black Dragon coins. Here is your docking card," the man said politely, handing over a silver, semi-transparent card with a C emblem. Without needing Kinmu to speak, Li Xingtao stepped forward, accepted the card, and handed over a Ganwu coin. "Keep the change," Li Xingtao said in fluent universal language. "Thank you, sir," the green-skinned man said, his eyes lighting up with gratitude as he respectfully stepped back. As he watched Kinmu and his entourage fly into the sky, the man couldn't help but feel envious not of Kinmu, but of Li Xingtao. Despite being only at planetary level 2, Li Xingtao had the privilege of casually using Ganwu coins, a luxury the green-skinned man, a planetary level 9 warrior, could only dream of. In the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, 1 Ganwu coin could be exchanged for 1,000 Black Dragon coins, but the reverse was not possible. On the black market, it would take nearly 2,000 Black Dragon coins to obtain a single Ganwu coin. Ganwu coins were a symbol of status on Kaiyu Longstar. Moreover, the green-skinned man had noticed the 3 Silverium guards accompanying Kinmu. These were high-tech robots, perfect for bodyguards, capable of protecting hundreds of people when enlarged. The rest of the entourage appeared to be servants, further reinforcing the image of Kinmu as a scion of a powerful family. As the group flew through the sky, they marveled at the breathtaking scenery. The sky resembled a thin layer of purple gauze, while the distant horizon turned blue. The beauty of the planet left them in awe. Due to the presence of 50 attendants with strengths ranging from planetary level 1 to 2, their progress was slow, allowing Kinmu to leisurely admire the numerous castles they passed, each measuring 9.8 kilometers in length and width. These castles were considered luxury properties on Kaiyu Longstar. After flying for over 10 minutes, they passed through an area densely packed with smaller castles. According to the information they had, these 1-kilometer-long estates were the cheapest residential properties on Kaiyu Longstar, each costing over 10 billion Black Dragon coins. Their entire fortune might not even be enough to purchase one of these estates. Although the information they had was from 50,000 years ago, the universe changed very slowly. For empires and organizations that had existed for billions of years, 50,000 years was but a blink of an eye. After nearly half an hour of flying, they finally arrived at their destination, Kaiyu Long City. This massive city, with a history of 3 million years, spanned nearly 6,000 kilometers in length and width. The city's walls were pitch black, stretching endlessly into the horizon. The walls stood 120 meters tall, with intricate dragon carvings adding another few hundred meters to their height. The city's ancient, majestic aura was overwhelming. Entering the city through a massive gate nearly a kilometer wide, the group found themselves in a bustling metropolis. The city was a dazzling mix of architectural styles, with a diverse array of humanoid races walking the streets. The weakest among them were at the planetary level, while star-level individuals were a common sight. Despite their awe, the group remained composed, careful not to appear out of place. They were like country folk stepping into a grand city for the first time. Upon entering Kaiyu Long City, Kinmu's auxiliary computer automatically received a communication code. He quickly contacted the planet's service number to locate the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's administrative building on Kaiyu Longstar. Obtaining citizenship was their top priority. After receiving the address, the group flew another 200 kilometers to reach the administrative building, a grand structure featuring a massive black dragon coiled around a mountain. Obtaining citizenship was a smooth process. Not only did Qin Mu, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi successfully acquire Black Dragon Mountain citizenship, but all 50 members of the Earth delegation also became citizens of the Empire. With their new citizenship, the next step was to open accounts in the Virtual Universe Network. This was one of their primary objectives. By accessing the Virtual Universe Network, Earth would be able to connect with all human civilizations and races in the cosmos, marking a crucial step in integrating with the universe. After successfully opening their accounts, the group didn't rush to handle other matters. Instead, they checked into a luxurious hotel and immediately logged into the Virtual Universe Network. In the hotel room, connecting to the virtual universe, a deep, resonant voice echoed in Qin Mu's consciousness as his vision faded into darkness. When his vision cleared, Qin Mu found himself standing in an ancient city. The streets were paved with large, neatly cut stones, and the people walking by were of various races, heights, and appearances. Most wore simple gray clothing, and each person had a small sprite sitting on their shoulder. Suddenly, Qin Mu appeared in the middle of the bustling street, dressed in plain gray clothes with a tiny sprite perched on his shoulder. "So, this is the virtual universe?" Qin Mu muttered, looking around. "First, I need to contact Hong, Lei Shen, Jia Yi, and Li Xingdao." In the virtual universe, the entry point was random, and the group had been scattered across different locations. However, they had added each other as friends during the account setup process. Although they were all on the Black Dragon Mountain Island, a region on the edge of the Ganwu continent in the virtual universe, the distances between them were vast. Despite being called an island, Black Dragon Mountain Island was larger than any planet in the real universe. In the virtual universe, they could communicate remotely or pay to teleport and meet in person. This virtual space was a hub for the elite of the cosmos, even more vibrant and bustling than the real world. Here, one could engage in financial transactions, martial arts training, shopping, gaming, dining, and learning virtually anything imaginable. As long as you had the money. Let's proceed according to plan. First, gather basic intelligence. Some of our information is outdated, Qin Mu said after pulling everyone into a group chat. Understood. The intelligence team is already on it, Li Xingdao replied. In the virtual universe, communication was secure, and there was no need for secrecy. The virtual universe company prided itself on not monitoring or leaking any user's information. Chapter 107, Unleashing Potential. 3 days later, after spending 3 days immersed in the virtual universe, the group gathered in a virtual conference room. It was safer to discuss matters in the virtual universe than in the hotel. In the conference room, Qin Mu, Hong, Lei Shen, Jia Yi, and the 50 elite members led by Li Xingdao were all present. Gentlemen, let me first report on the intelligence we've gathered over the past 3 days and the progress we've made. Li Xingdao began. Our initial goal of coming to Kaiyu Longstar has been achieved. We have successfully obtained Black Dragon Mountain Empire citizenship, accessed the virtual universe, and gained a preliminary understanding of it. Next, our main objective is to purchase Earth, ensuring its safety and preventing any possibility of enslavement. Based on the intelligence we've collected, there are 2 options for purchasing Earth. The first option is to buy the planet outright. According to Black Dragon Mountain Empire law, the discoverer of an unclaimed planet has the right of first purchase. The cost is relatively low, ranging from a minimum of 300 billion Black Dragon coins to a maximum of 3 trillion Black Dragon coins, depending on the planet's classification. The second option is to co-manage the planet with the Empire. This requires a payment of between 100 billion and 1 trillion Black Dragon coins. Under this arrangement, the Empire will not interfere with the planet's internal management. They will only collect import and export tariffs, leaving everything else to us. Although the first option requires more money, we lean towards it to ensure complete control over Earth. To secure the purchase, we need to prepare at least 3 trillion Black Dragon coins. However, Earth is currently covered by the Yunmo's spatial secret technique, preventing any entry into the dark universe within 1,000 light years. Even if we had the money, we couldn't purchase Earth immediately, as it would expose our possession of the Yunmo inheritance and attract the attention of powerful beings. Li Xingdao paused, then continued, So, our plan is to first accumulate enough funds to be ready to purchase Earth at any moment if necessary. To ensure we can buy Earth, we need to infiltrate the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's administrative office. A simple investigation revealed that corruption in the Empire's offices is rampant. With enough money, this shouldn't be difficult. Li Xingdao adjusted his glasses confidently. Buy Earth? Trillions of Black Dragon coins? Where would we get that kind of money? Even if we sold everything we have, we'd only have a few 100 billion Black Dragon coins. Lei Shen interjected, frowning. Hong also looked troubled. Trillions of Black Dragon coins seemed like an astronomical figure for Earth, which was essentially starting from scratch. Seeing their worried expressions, Li Xingdao smiled. While he might not be a fighter, his expertise in economics and wealth generation far surpassed that of Hong and Lei Shen. Gentlemen, you're mistaken. Although Earth's liquid assets are limited, we are not poor. Li Xingdao shook his head. Earth possesses the entire Yunmo inheritance, which includes not only various martial arts techniques but also a wealth of technology. We have taken control of the former ruin number 9 on Earth. Although it was just a monitoring base, it contains a small production line for auxiliary computers and a production line for Black God suits. On Mars, we have a large base capable of supporting 3 million people, complete with production lines for various industrial products. Besides technology and production lines, Mars also has a black iron ore deposit exceeding 9 billion tons. Moreover, we've discovered mineral deposits on other planets in the solar system, mostly A-grade metals. These are our assets. We have the technology, the resources, and the production equipment to quickly monetize these technologies. This is our wealth. Seeing that Hong and Lei Shen were still puzzled, Li Xingdao continued, using the resources and technology we've acquired, we've already produced a batch of products, including various models of communication devices. For example, the consciousness sensing helmet, which sells for 10 black dragon coins each, costs us only 0.1 black dragon coins to produce. We have an existing production line on the Mars base. With orders, we can easily produce millions annually and scale up production as needed. Seeing that everyone seemed to understand, Li Xingdao added, in fact, over the past few days in the virtual universe, our business team has already made contact with several merchants. Many orders are ready to be signed as soon as we give the green light. At this point, even Ken Mu was surprised. They had already secured orders? These Earth elites were truly exceptional. Our products aren't limited to consciousness sensing helmets and auxiliary computers. We also have A-grade laser guns, Black God suits, healing potions, and more ranging from everyday items to military equipment. Even in the universe, the most profitable industries are arms trade, energy, and communication devices. With our technology, making money isn't difficult. Among the orders we're considering, one client wants to purchase 10 million consciousness sensing helmets at 6 black dragon coins each. Another is interested in 100,000 Black God suits at 60,000 black dragon coins each. For healing potions, a client is willing to buy 1 billion doses at 1 black dragon coin for 10 doses. We also have potential orders for A9 grade laser guns, which we expect to sell for no less than 50,000 black dragon coins each. These orders alone are worth nearly 1 trillion black dragon coins. With a virtual universe company guaranteeing the contracts, security is assured. By now, Hong and Lei Shen were utterly stunned. In just 3 days, they had secured orders worth nearly 1 trillion black dragon coins. While they were unparalleled in martial arts, their business acumen paled in comparison to Li Xingdao's. There's no need to be so surprised. We possess the complete inheritance of an undying being. With technology, resources, production equipment, a population of 7 billion, and a unified government, failing to achieve this would be a disgrace. In fact, this is just the beginning. We're still unfamiliar with the universe's rules, and our strength is too limited to venture into truly lucrative industries. Otherwise, earning trillions of black dragon coins would be easy. For example, we have the technology to produce B-grade laser cannons and B-grade force armor, which are worth hundreds or thousands of times more than A-grade equipment. But we dare not enter that market yet. Selling A-grade weapons is small-scale and unlikely to attract attention, but B-grade equipment would draw the interest of major players who could easily crush us. Additionally, the gene enhancement serum provided by Ken Mu is a top-tier product. Even in its diluted form, it could easily sell for 100,000 to 1 million black dragon coins per dose. But we're not ready to market it yet. Ken Mu smiled at this. The gene enhancement serum Li Xingdao mentioned was a diluted version of his bloodline evolution agent. Even in its weakened form, it could fetch a high price. Similarly, Ken Mu had other valuable items, such as cloud vine seeds, which could sell for tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of black dragon coins. But for now, their strength was too limited to risk large-scale sales. In essence, while Earth appeared poor, its potential was immense. With the right development, earning money wouldn't be difficult. Our plan is to first sell some luxury items we found in the ruins, which should net us around 30 billion black dragon coins. We'll use this as capital for trade. To ensure safety, we need to purchase powerful slaves for protection and cargo ships for transportation. As Li Xingdao detailed the plan, Ken Mu grew increasingly satisfied. Not only with Li Xingdao but also with the new, unified Earth. When Earth's forces were united, their potential was no less than that of any cosmic race. The stronger Earth became, the more it would benefit Ken Mu. Many of the technologies and resources they were leveraging had been provided by Ken Mu, and he stood to gain a significant share of the profits from these trades. Since you're so confident, go ahead and execute the plan, Qin Mu said, cutting off Li Xingdao's detailed report. Business matters were best left to the experts. I also have 100,000 spirits of nature here. You can use them in your operations. Additionally, here's a list of items I need to purchase. Hearing Qin Mu's approval, Hong and Lei Shen also spoke up. We also have some relics that can be sold. Li Xingtao's face lit up with joy. Although he was the leader of the elite team, the final decision-making authority still lay with Qin Mu. Understood. Rest assured, I will handle everything properly, Li Xingdao said, bowing respectfully. First, we'll establish a company and finalize the contracts for the orders we've secured. Then, we'll purchase the necessary raw materials. We'll also acquire the cultivation resources you need. In the universe, strength is paramount. We need all of you to become as powerful as possible. Earth will provide all the resources you require. Our intelligence team has also gathered information about a major event in 2066, the once every 5,000 years Pinnacle Genius Battle. That will be our opportunity to soar. Chapter 108, Early Preparations, a grand event for the entire universe? A genius battle held in the virtual universe? Lei Shen was puzzled. Over the past 3 days, he had gathered a lot of information, but he had no recollection of anything about a genius battle. This is intelligence we obtained from an information organization within the virtual universe. It's something many major factions are aware of. Li Xingdao explained with a serious expression. We don't have detailed information about the exact timing, but based on the last event, it should be around 2066. During our time in the virtual universe, we've all learned about the vastness of the cosmos and the countless races within it. The human race is one of the pinnacle races in the universe. The Pinnacle Genius Battle is designed to select and nurture the elite of humanity. This battle is open to all star-level humans across the numerous universe countries. As long as you're a star-level human, you can participate. In the virtual conference room, Hong, Lei Shen, and the others were shocked. A battle open to all star-level humans across the entire universe. After obtaining the Yunmo inheritance, they had came to understand just how vast the universe was. Within human territory alone, there were 1,008 universe countries. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire was just one of nearly 1,000 subordinate nations under the jurisdiction of the Ganwu Universe Nation. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire controlled over 8,000 galaxies and had more than 500 low-level vassal nations. In such a vast world, how many qualified geniuses would there be? How grand would such an event be? Instantly, everyone realized the gravity of the situation. This is a battle where countless star-level humans from billions of star systems across all universe countries compete under absolutely fair conditions. If a strong individual from Earth can achieve a certain ranking in this competition, even if it's just within the top 1,000 or 10,000 in the Ganwu Universe country or the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, we could gain unimaginable benefits. Li Xingdao didn't fully understand the strength and potential of Qin Mu, Hong, and Lei Shen. In his mind, they were unparalleled geniuses on Earth. But in the context of the entire human race in the universe, Earth was insignificant. Even with his confidence, he couldn't guarantee that Earth's warriors could achieve a ranking in the cosmic human competition. A battle among billions of geniuses from all universe countries? This is a grand event for the entire human race. Everyone in the virtual conference room was an elite from Earth. How could they not understand what this meant? If a strong individual from Earth could achieve a ranking in the genius battle, even if it was just within the top 1,000 or 10,000 in the Ganwu Universe country, the benefits would be immense. Not only would they receive rewards and training, but the sales of their products could skyrocket just by riding the wave of publicity. Even if they didn't become core members of the virtual universe company, achieving a ranking would ensure protection for Earth. As long as Earth's true secrets remained hidden, the inheritance of Huai and Bo, the master of Yunmo, wouldn't be a big deal in the grand scheme of the universe or even the Ganwu Universe country. After all, it was just the inheritance of a barely titled marquee-level expert. If someone without such an inheritance could achieve a ranking in the Cosmic Genius Battle, that would be truly abnormal. If we can rank within the top 1,000 in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, with proper preparation, earning tens of trillions or even hundreds of trillions of Black Dragon coins wouldn't be difficult. Li Xingdao said gravely. Hundreds of trillions of Black Dragon coins? Lei Shen swallowed hard, stunned by Li Xingdao's words. What an astronomical figure. Qin Mu, however, nodded in agreement. Li Xingdao is right. This is our opportunity. If we can achieve a ranking, earning that amount of money won't be difficult. In fact, it would be just a small sum. Black Dragon coins are only the official currency of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. One Ganwu coin is officially worth 1,000 Black Dragon coins, and one Universe coin is officially worth over 3,000 Ganwu coins. Even without considering black market premiums, one universe coin can be exchanged for over 3 million black dragon coins. 10 trillion black dragon coins would only be about 30,000 universe coins. According to the intelligence I've obtained, ranking within the top 1,000 in a genius battle not only allows you to become a core member of the virtual universe company but also grants a minimum reward of 10 mixed yuan units. 1 mixed yuan is equivalent to 1 trillion universe coins. Do you still think tens of trillions or hundreds of trillions of black dragon coins are a lot? In the universe, that amount is nothing. Hearing Qin Mu's words, even Hong and Lei Shen, who had little concept of money, fell silent. Put that way, it really is just a small sum. Lei Shen said with a bitter smile. But in the next moment, his eyes burned with determination. Not just for the rewards, but to witness the countless geniuses of the universe, he was determined to participate in this genius battle. It seems I need to work harder, or I won't even qualify to participate. Hong said, a rare hint of excitement on his calm face. Such a grand stage, with so many geniuses, how could he not want to experience it? Even Qin Mu felt a surge of excitement. Unlike the others, who knew nothing about the genius battle, he was well aware of the immense benefits of becoming a core member of the virtual universe company. To achieve a ranking in the genius battle, my current strength isn't enough. Qin Mu thought to himself. In the original timeline, when Luofeng participated in the genius battle, he was a star level 7 spirit master with an amplitude of 58. He had mastered 5th level of domain and had touched the threshold of the law of gold. He had also trained in the first level of the 9 divine armaments of the controller, the most suitable spirit weapon for controllers. Even with all that, in Babada's eyes, Luofeng would struggle to break into the top 1,000 of the Ganwu universe country. Compared to Luofeng at that time, Qin Mu's only advantage was his stronger amplitude. In all other aspects, he fell far short. Of course, Qin Mu had only been cultivating as the Zerg Overlord for a little over a year. With more than 8 years until the genius battle, he still had plenty of time to grow stronger. Seeing that everyone understood the significance, Li Xingtao spoke gravely to the 4 of them. So, no matter how you look at it, we will fully support you in advancing your cultivation. Hong, Lei Shen, and Qin Mu all smiled. Faced with such an opportunity, how could they let it slip? But Jia Yi shook his head. I know my own talent. On Earth, I might be considered decent, but in the universe, I'm far from exceptional. From now on, all of Earth's resources will be prioritized for the 3 of you. Whatever benefits your cultivation, Earth will do its utmost to provide. Among the 4, Jia Yi's talent was the weakest. On Earth, this gap might not have been so obvious, but in the universe, it was glaring. So, Jia Yi voluntarily gave up his share of resources. When Qin Mu had first appeared on Earth, Jia Yi had placed all his hopes on him. Now, facing Qin Mu's gaze, he smiled and said, I won't give up on cultivation, but my heart has always been with Earth, and it always will be. This is my choice. You don't need to feel burdened. Hearing Jia Yi's words, Qin Mu nodded slightly. Compared to the others, Jia Yi's talent was indeed lacking. But this was for the best. With Jia Yi overseeing Earth, Qin Mu could feel more at ease. As for cultivation resources, with Qin Mu around, would Jia Yi really lack for resources? As for Hong and Lei Shen, in the original timeline, neither had broken into the top 1,000 of the Ganwu universe country. Hong had come close, while Lei Shen had fallen short by a wider margin. But that was after they had fought the golden horned beast, burned their souls, and fallen into a 2-year coma. Thanks to Qin Mu's intervention, the golden horned beast had been captured as soon as it arrived on Earth, sparing them the need to risk their lives. Moreover, they had gained early access to the Yunmo's martial arts inheritance. With ample cultivation resources, they stood a good chance of entering the Ganwu secret realm. As for Luofeng, who was still on Earth possessing the golden horned beast, his strength would only grow stronger. This time, it was possible that all 4 of them, Qin Mu, Hong, Lei Shen, and Luofeng, might join the virtual universe company. The genius battle is still 8 years away. For now, we should focus on the present and improve our strength. Qin Mu said, seeing everyone's excitement. Hong, having calmed down, agreed. Qin Mu is right. Being grounded is the most important thing. We've only had the Yunmo inheritance for a few months, and our strength is still in a period of rapid growth. Right now, improving our strength is the priority. Agreed. Lei Shen said, the fire in his eyes gradually cooling. His mental cultivation might not be as strong as Hong's, but it was still formidable. Li Xingtao, seeing that everyone had settled down, continued to report on other matters. The scientific researchers also took turns, outlining the technologies and resources Earth needed. Let's end the meeting here. We'll proceed according to the plan. Some of us will exchange the relics we brought, while others will register the company. After that, We'll purchase some slaves and cultivation resources to boost our strength. In the universe, conflicts of interest are inevitable when engaging in trade. Without strength, we won't survive. After finalizing all the arrangements, Kenmu concluded the meeting. This initial contact with the universe had given Kenmu a pleasant surprise. Earth had adapted to the cosmic rules far quicker than expected, securing large orders in such a short time. But this would inevitably lead to friction and competition with other factions in the universe. As they grew, they would clash with major powers over orders and resources. This was an unavoidable part of any faction's growth. Assassinations, plundering, such tactics were all too common. In Earth's thousands of years of history, such events had occurred repeatedly. The same principles applied in the universe. Kenmu understood this, and so did Li Xingdao. Hesitation and timidity would only hinder growth in the universe. They had to fight for their place. Not everyone could be like Luo Feng, who had a teacher paving the way for him, ensuring he received abundant resources as long as he met the requirements. Nor could everyone join the Virtual Universe Company's core, where resources flowed freely, allowing them to focus solely on cultivation. Even after joining the Virtual Universe Company, Luo Feng had to compete fiercely. In the universe, competition was inevitable. On Earth, Kenmu had almost single-handedly controlled everything, accelerating the course of history and unifying the planet, allowing Earth's forces to be fully integrated. But in the universe, arriving a few years early had diminished much of his foresight advantage. The universe was filled with powerful beings. Even with the swarm's assistance, Kenmu needed time to develop. The swarm's growth also required resources. The flesh and genes of powerful creatures, cultivation treasures, spirit weapons, all of these required vast amounts of resources. The swarm had a golden horn beast, and accelerating its growth would require an enormous amount of special metals. Currently, the swarm only had one golden horned beast, but Kenmu planned to build entire Zerg armies around them. The more resources they had, the stronger the swarm would become, and the faster it would grow. And the stronger the swarm, the stronger Kenmu would be. No matter how many resources they had, the swarm would never have enough. Kenmu had to fight for more. After dismissing the others, Kenmu and Li Xingdao remained in the virtual conference room. "There's something I need you to investigate for me," Kenmu said to Li Xingdao. "I need to know how to join the Virtual Universe Company's departments specializing in monster cultivation and bloodline agents." The Virtual Universe Company was the most powerful and technologically advanced organization in the human universe. Since his time on Earth, Kenmu had been planning how to legitimize the swarm's presence in the universe before the genius battle. In the original timeline, there was a scene Kenmu remembered clearly. Luo Feng, Hong, and Lei Shen had spent a month in the Virtual Universe's killing field, fighting non-stop. Their talents quickly attracted the attention of Mingyu, an external executive of the Virtual Universe Company's Black Dragon Mountain branch. Mingyu had told them that occasional training in the killing field was fine, but to truly break through, they needed to venture out and engage in life and death battles. At that time, Babada had clearly stated that without the threat of death, Hong and Lei Shen would hit a ceiling in their power. Luo Feng, with his golden horn beast, didn't have such limitations. Spending time in the killing field was a waste of Hong and Lei Shen's time. Babada only cared about the task his master had given him to nurture Luo Feng. As for Hong and Lei Shen, they were of no concern. Besides life and death battles, there was another crucial factor: bloodline. They had learned what bloodline was and what bloodline evolution agents were. Bloodline was the foundation, allowing them to go further on the path of strength. For ordinary humans, the process of cultivation was like building a house. Bloodline was the foundation of that house. A poor bloodline meant a weak foundation. A weak foundation made it difficult to build a tall house. A strong bloodline meant a solid foundation, allowing them to easily build a 100-story skyscraper, reaching the domain lord level without encountering bottlenecks. Bloodline evolution agents were treasures that could modify bloodlines and enhance foundations. And where did bloodline evolution agents come from? The Virtual Universe Company. The Virtual Universe Company, with the most advanced technology in the human universe, had developed these serums. Having developed his own bloodline evolution agent through the swarm, Kenmu wasn't interested in purchasing serums. He wanted to join the department responsible for creating them. Relying on his own research was far less efficient than joining the Virtual Universe Company, which had already mastered the technology. If he could successfully join the Virtual Universe Company's departments specializing in monster cultivation or bloodline serums, he could legitimize the swarm's presence in the universe, just as he had done on Earth. At the same time, he could gain access to the knowledge of the most suitable evolutionary paths for humans in the universe. This would be of great significance to both him and the swarm. "I understand. I'll arrange for someone to handle this immediately." Li Xingdao's eyes gleamed with understanding. He instantly grasped Kenmu's intentions. He still had the gene enhancement agent Kenmu had given him. He was well aware of Ken Mu's talent in genetic research. If Ken Mu's plan succeeded, it would be of immense importance to Earth. If they could join the Virtual Universe Company before the Genius Battle and gain its protection, Earth's progress in the universe would be faster and more stable. Good. Get it done. Chapter 109, The Killing Field. 2 days later, Ken Mu and Li Xingtao met again in the virtual space. Chief Ken Mu, we've sold some of the relics we brought for a total of 48.9 billion Black Dragon coins. Some items, like the spirit weapons, we're holding on to for now unless we're in urgent need of funds. We've also finalized the trade company. Instead of registering a new one, we spent 1 billion Black Dragon coins to acquire an established but struggling company on Hyuga Long Star. This company has all the necessary qualifications, which will save us a lot of time. Li Xingtao reported respectfully. Good, you handle these matters as you see fit. Ken Mu nodded. He trusted Li Xingtao and had delegated authority to him in these areas. However, this reminded Ken Mu that he needed to find and assimilate individuals skilled in commerce and economics into the swarm. The elite talents from Earth were trustworthy now, but time could change people. Faced with temptations, even the most loyal might falter over decades or centuries. Human nature was not something to be tested lightly. This was why, even with absolute control over Earth, Ken Mu had used the Bald Crystal Man from Ruin Number 9 to monitor the entire planet. After setting up the company, we immediately signed contracts with our prospective clients and received the first installment of payments. Some of the smaller items we brought, like the Black God suits, have already been delivered. So far, we've received 183.6 billion Black Dragon coins in deposits and partial payments. However, about 30 billion of that is earmarked for purchasing cargo ships, industrial equipment, raw materials, and intelligence operations. The remaining 200 billion can be used for buying cultivation resources and slaves. Li Xingtao explained, pausing briefly before continuing. There's a potential risk with one of our clients who wants to purchase A-grade laser guns. Our intelligence team found that this client is from Cayenne Star and has been in contact with several other arms dealers. They're looking to buy 1 million A9-grade laser weapons initially, with potential follow-up orders, including B-grade weapons. The total transaction could reach 5 trillion Black Dragon coins. Competing for such a large order carries significant risks. This matter was beyond Li Xingtao's authority, and he didn't dare make a decision on his own. 5 trillion Black Dragon coins? Ken Mu frowned slightly. This was no small sum for Earth at this stage. With that amount, they could easily buy Earth itself. But with great profit came great risk. Did Earth have the strength to compete with other universe factions, especially arms dealers? After a moment of consideration, Ken Mu's expression relaxed. While 5 trillion Black Dragon coins sounded like a lot, it was only 50 billion Ganwu coins, not even enough to buy the cheapest universe-level slave. At most, this level of profit would attract the attention of factions with universe-level experts. With the resources at his disposal, Ken Mu could return to Earth and use the Bug Queen nest to hatch universe-level Zerg warriors. In other words, if things went south, he could handle the fallout. Moreover, such a transaction wouldn't be completed overnight. It would take time for any adversaries to act. The risk was manageable. Go ahead and proceed with confidence. Ken Mu said. Understood. Li Xingtao replied, visibly relieved. With Ken Mu's approval, he could move forward without hesitation. Also, regarding your request to investigate the Virtual Universe Company's departments specializing in monster cultivation and bloodline agents, we haven't found concrete information yet. The virtual universe is vast, but many intelligence sources are restricted by access levels. The information we've gathered so far is fragmented and unreliable. Our intelligence team is working on it, but it will take time and significant resources. Li Xingtao added. That's fine. For expenses under 10 billion Black Dragon coins, you have full authority. No need to consult me. Ken Mu said. It had only been 2 days, so it was natural that they hadn't found definitive answers yet. After discussing the intelligence with Li Xingtao, Ken Mu decided to take Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi out to purchase slaves and cultivation resources. While the Bug Queen's nest could hatch star-level and even universe-level Zerg warriors, Ken Mu still wanted to buy some slaves. Zerg warriors, while powerful, couldn't be openly displayed. Slaves, on the other hand, were a different matter. By purchasing slaves, Ken Mu could also use the swarm to analyze their genes and mass-produce similar warriors. He had a variety of Zerg genes but lacked human genes. Otherwise, Ken Mu wouldn't need to buy slaves at all. However, the current nest was only at star level 1, limiting it to hatching star-level Zerg warriors. More powerful warriors would require time to analyze and upgrade the nest. It's time to go out. Ken Mu thought. They had been staying in the hotel, with their consciousnesses immersed in the virtual universe. It was time to get moving. In the virtual universe, Ken Mu contacted Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi. We've received the funds. It's time to go shopping. After receiving Ken Mu's message, Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi quickly responded and logged off together in the real world. As soon as they met in the hotel, Lei Shen excitedly said to Ken Mu, I found an amazing place in the virtual universe. There's a place called the Killing Field where you can customize opponents based on your need, strength, race, domain, everything. It's just too expensive. On Earth, finding a worthy opponent was difficult for someone like Lei Shen. But in the Killing Field, he could fight anyone he wanted. The allure was irresistible. Hong also nodded. He had visited the Killing Field, but the cost was steep. For someone at planetary level 9 like him, a day in the Killing Field cost 1 million Black Dragon coins or 700 Ganwu coins. They had some money, but it wasn't enough for prolonged stays in the Killing Field. A day or two, however, was manageable. So, for the past 2 days, they had been immersed in the Killing Field, constantly fighting. The Killing Field? Ken Mu smiled. He had also visited it in the past 2 days. It was an extravagant training ground where users could submit any request to the virtual universe system. The Killing Field was designed for warriors and spirit masters. You could face any opponent you wanted one-on-one, group battles, even battles against domain lords. The Killing Field could accommodate it all. As the Overlord, Ken Mu had a strong killing instinct, fueled by the collective consciousness of the swarm. Violence and bloodlust were inherent to the swarm. But Ken Mu's willpower was formidable, allowing him to control these impulses. He could also release his killing intent by fighting Zerg warriors hatched by the swarm. Thus, he wasn't as obsessed with the Killing Field as others might be. It's indeed a great place. But have you noticed that besides choosing opponents, you can also set up a mirror match? You can create an opponent with the exact same physical attributes, spirit power, techniques, and weapons as you. The only difference is that this opponent has vast combat experience and is incredibly skilled. This is an excellent way to improve your skills. Ken Mu praised the Killing Field. The virtual universe was like a cheat code for humanity. Just this combat function alone had undoubtedly nurtured countless powerful warriors. You can do that? Lei Shen was shocked. Over the past 2 days, he had been busy fighting preset opponents and monsters, never realizing this feature existed. Hearing Ken Mu's explanation, he was eager to try it out immediately. Even Hong looked intrigued. Let's go buy our cultivation resources first. We can try the Killing Field when we get back. Since we've already opened accounts in the virtual universe, we can access it anytime, even from Earth. Ken Mu said with a laugh. But don't get too addicted to the Killing Field. It's just a simulation. While it's great for testing your skills, it can't replace the life and death experiences of real combat. Spending some time in the Killing Field is fine, but staying there long-term is a waste of time. A waste of time? Lei Shen was puzzled. Over the past 2 days, he felt his strength had improved significantly in the Killing Field. How could it be a waste? You know that the fastest way to evolve and improve is through life and death battles. Ken Mu explained. I understand that. Lei Shen said. Both he and Hong had risen to power during the Great Nirvana period, when they had faced countless life and death battles. That was when their strength had grown the fastest. But the Killing Field also involves life and death combat. Lei Shen argued. It's not the same. In real life and death situations, the body's every cell reacts instinctively, pushing you to your peak. In such a state, it's easier to achieve breakthroughs and evolve. But the Killing Field is just a simulation. It doesn't have the same effect. Otherwise, places like the huge Axe Arena wouldn't exist in the universe. The giant Axe Arena was a place where every fight was a life and death struggle, ending only when one party died. I see. Lei Shen and Hong nodded. They understood this principle, but without guidance, it might have taken them much longer to realize it. In summary, the Killing Field is a great place to hone your skills and combat abilities, but it can't replace real life and death experiences. Just don't get too addicted. Ken Mu said with a smile. Both Hong and Lei Shen were top-tier talents in cultivation. A little guidance was all they needed to grasp the concept. Let's go shopping. We have 200 billion Black Dragon coins to spend. You can all upgrade your weapons and cultivation resources. Chapter 110, The Dead Space Beast. 200 billion Black Dragon coins? Hearing Ken Mu's words, Hong and Lei Shen gasped in shock. Although they knew that Earth had begun trading with the universe, they hadn't expected such a large sum of money to be available in just a few days. They were aware of the orders but had assumed it would take a long time to receive payment. Are we really this rich now? Let's go. Let's go shopping. Lei Shen exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. Over the past few days, He had seen so many incredible items in the virtual universe company's stores but had been unable to afford them. Now that they had money, it was time to splurge. Let's visit the slave market first. Our current strength is insufficient, so we need to purchase some slaves to get through this period. Kenmu suggested. Alright, let's check it out. Before coming to the universe, I never imagined that slavery could be so openly practiced here. Lei Shen said. Slavery, an outdated system, had long been abolished on Earth. Yet, in the universe, it was thriving. Since arriving in Kaiulong City, they had seen many slaves. Wealthy and influential individuals often purchased slaves, who had no rights and could be beaten or killed at their owner's whims. Countless planetary level and star level beings were enslaved, and those below planetary level weren't even considered citizens. They were essentially walking slaves. The darkness behind this system was chilling. Let's go take a look. Kenmu said. The four of them, accompanied by 3 Silverium guards and 2 business-savvy individuals, left the hotel and headed for the slave market. The inclusion of the business experts was to ensure they got the best deals, as none of the 4 were skilled negotiators. While Earth now had some wealth, it was still wise to save where possible. As they walked, they discussed what they planned to buy. Treasure store? On the way, Kenmu noticed a shop not far away. The treasure store was a place he remembered vividly from the original timeline. It was where Luo Feng had sold his arc blade and obtained his first significant sum of money. Kenmu had even researched the store in the virtual universe, hoping to find some treasures. Should we check out the treasure store first? Kenmu suggested, pointing to the store in the distance. What's a treasure store? Lei Shen asked, having spent the past 2 days in the killing field and knowing nothing about it. I'm not entirely sure either. I came across it while researching in the virtual universe. It's said to sell all kinds of strange and rare treasures. The only commonality is that everything there is considered a treasure. Kenmu explained with a shrug. Treasures? Let's take a look. Hong said, intrigued. On Earth, his personal collection of treasures surpassed that of the 5 major nations. He was curious to see what cosmic treasures looked like. The group entered the treasure store, which was vast, comparable to a large square on Earth. The store was divided into sections: combat suits, tame beasts, spirit weapons, exotic fruits, robots, and more. Each section had numerous items, all accompanied by holographic projections and exorbitant price tags. There's so much here. Let's see if there's anything we want. You 3 are warriors, and your weapons aren't the best. This is a good opportunity to find something suitable. Kenmu said, smiling as Hong, Lei Shen, and Jia Yi began browsing. Alright, let's split up and meet back here later. Hong suggested. The treasure store was safe, so there was no need to worry about separating. Sure, let's regroup later. Kenmu agreed. After parting ways, Kenmu began exploring the store. Cloud vine seeds for 100 million black dragon coins? Seedlings for 100 billion? As Kenmu browsed, he came across something familiar and was shocked by the price. The swarm could easily cultivate cloud vines, and while he knew they were valuable, he hadn't realized just how expensive they were. I see now. Kenmu muttered after reading the information about cloud vines. It turned out that cloud vine seeds were difficult to cultivate into seedlings. However, once they became seedlings, reaching the universe level wasn't hard, especially if they consumed enough Muya crystals. Given the value of a universe level being, it was no wonder the seedlings were so expensive. For the swarm, cultivating seeds into seedlings is easy as long as there's enough energy. This is a huge profit margin. Kenmu thought, his eyes gleaming. Unfortunately, these are too valuable. Without sufficient strength and backing, selling more than 1 or 2 would attract trouble. Muya crystals. 10,000 black dragon coins each? Not too expensive. I'll buy some later. The 10,000 Muya crystals Kenmu had obtained from Babata were running out quickly. After distributing them to Earth, Hong, Lei Shen, and others, and using some himself, the supply was nearly exhausted. What had seemed like a large quantity was now insufficient. Moving to the fruit section, Kenmu found a variety of exotic fruits, each far more valuable than spirits of nature. Dragon scale stone flower 100 billion black dragon coins per flower. Consuming it causes dragon scales to grow on the skin, significantly boosting defense. A bit niche, but interesting. Earth Spirit Treasure Tree. Once fully grown, it can absorb cosmic energy, improving the environment and subtly enhancing the physique of those living nearby. Seeds cost 10 million black dragon coins, while seedlings are 1 billion. This is a great find. I'll take it. Azure Sea Spirit Fruit. Consuming it strengthens the soul. Each fruit costs 30 billion black dragon coins. After browsing dozens of exotic plants and fruits, Kenmu's heart raced. These were all incredible items. He could purchase them, have the swarm analyze them, and then resell them for massive profits. Unfortunately, while 200 billion black dragon coins seemed like a lot, it was nowhere near enough to buy everything he wanted. After noting down a few suitable plants, Kenmu headed to the tame beast section. Besides slaves, tamed beasts were the most likely way to enhance their strength. Kenmu had previously considered posing as a beast tamer. If he could find suitable beasts, the swarm could analyze and mass-produce them. Tamed beasts, like slaves, could be openly displayed in the universe. Space beasts. As soon as Kenmu entered the section, he was stunned. The store actually sold space beasts? Was this treasure store that impressive? Upon closer inspection, however, Kenmu realized these weren't top-tier space beasts like the golden horn beast. Instead, they were of the most common bloodline of fire attribute space beast called the blazing beast. Born at the planetary level, it could grow to the star level and reach the universe level at its peak, with a body exceeding 10,000 meters in length. While it couldn't compare to a golden horn beast, it was still a powerful creature. A juvenile blazing beast costs 30 trillion black dragon coins? Damn. That price, converted to universe coins, was around 1 billion, enough to buy a universe level 4 slave. It was no wonder, given that it was a space beast, even if it was of a common bloodline. Kenmu truly liked the blazing beast. If he could buy one, the swarm could hatch it and use it alongside the golden horned beast to form a complete Zerg fleet. However, the price was a deal breaker. Wait a minute. A live one costs 30 trillion, but a dead one is only 100 billion? There are dead ones too? A store employee, noticing Kenmu's interest in the blazing beast, approached. The employee was an elderly man, about 2.6 meters tall, with red and blue markings on his face. "Sir, how may I assist you?" the employee asked. "Why are there live and dead blazing beasts?" Kenmu inquired. The employee explained, this was due to the circumstances of their capture. A universe-level blazing beast was discovered by adventurers with 2 juveniles. Only 1 juvenile was captured alive. The universe-level blazing beast has already been sold. Currently, we have 2 juvenile blazing beasts, 1 alive and 1 dead. Space beasts are extremely proud. If they realize they can't win, they'll commit suicide, making them difficult to capture alive. Since live space beasts are rare, their prices are high. Dead ones, however, are much less valuable. Hearing this, Kenmu understood. Space beasts had immense potential, even those of common bloodlines. They could be used for possession. Live space beasts were naturally expensive, but dead ones were only useful as materials, making them much cheaper. "I'll take the dead space beast. I want to buy it as a collectible," Kenmu declared without hesitation. A dead one was perfect? A live one would have been far too expensive, but for the swarm, a dead body was just as good as a live one. "Excellent. Is there anything else you need?" the employee asked, beaming. Dead space beasts were hard to sell, as their value was mostly for collectors. "I'll keep looking. I'll settle the bill once my friends arrive," Kenmu said. After securing the blazing beast, Kenmu continued browsing the tamed beast section but found nothing else suitable. However, he was in high spirits after his unexpected find. A short while later, Kenmu received messages from Jia Yi, Hong, and Lei Shen. They had all found items they wanted. After regrouping, they realized their combined purchases would cost nearly 50 billion black dragon coins. Kenmu's purchases were the most expensive, including the dead blazing beast, seeds for the earth spirit treasure tree and other plants, and Muya crystals. He didn't need new weapons, as he already had the crescent moon disc. Hong and Lei Shen had each found a suitable third-tier warrior weapon, costing over 10 billion black dragon coins combined. Jia Yi had settled for a second-tier weapon. In addition, they had selected a batch of resources to accelerate planetary and star-level cultivation, totaling over 20 billion black dragon coins. These resources weren't for any one individual but for Kenmu, Hong, Lei Shen, Jia Yi, and other top talents on Earth. "Let's check out. We're buying so much, we should get a discount. You handle the negotiation," Kenmu said to the business expert accompanying them. "Understood." Chapter 111, Slaves. Mr. Kin. The elderly man from the treasure store smiled as he handed Kenmu a membership card. "This is our store's membership card, which entitles you to a 5% discount. We look forward to your next visit." "Thank you," Kenmu replied with a polite smile. Having spent billions of black dragon coins in the treasure store, the elderly man knew that Kenmu and his group were not short on funds. "Now that we've secured our cultivation resources, let's head to the slave market," Kenmu said. After arranging for the purchased items to be delivered to the Black Dragon Mountain X-81 spacecraft at the spaceport, the group set off again. The slave market was located close to the treasure store, so it didn't take long for them to arrive. The market was enormous, covering an area of over 300 square kilometers. On Earth, this would have been a massive city, but in Kyoulong City, it was just another district. Unlike the treasure store, the slave market was bustling with activity. Crowds of people were everywhere, browsing and purchasing slaves, while countless slaves were on display, waiting to be chosen. This was the largest slave market in over 100 surrounding galaxies. Come take a look. These Tuo people are strong and robust. Although they can't cultivate, each one is comparable to an apprentice level 9 warrior. They're perfect for menial labor, and each one only costs 20 black dragon coins. Shouted a 3-meter-tall, purple-skinned planetary level man with horns on his head. Sir, over here. My slaves are all top-tier beauties. Whatever type you're looking for, I have it. Called out a seductive fox-tailed woman. Behind her stood a group of stunningly beautiful women from various races, some with fair skin, others with furry tails, cat ears, or features resembling earthlings. Each one could be considered a peerless beauty on Earth. Further away, in a large square, a group of powerful slaves exuded their auras. Planetary level 7 or 8 warriors and spirit masters were everywhere. In the center stood a large group of star-level experts, each one stronger than Lei Shen, who had just reached the star level. The sight left Ken Mu's group stunned. Although they had anticipated this, the sheer scale and brutality of the slave market were still overwhelming. An apprentice level 9 warrior for just 20 black dragon coins? Jia Yi's voice trembled. On Earth, such individuals would be considered high-level war gods. How many warriors of that level did Earth even have? A planetary level 5 warrior for just 5,000 black dragon coins? Jia Yi was himself a planetary level 5 warrior. The second-tier weapon he had just bought for himself cost over 100 million black dragon coins. A single weapon was worth over 200,000 planetary level warriors. At this moment, he felt no excitement about his purchase, only an overwhelming sense of dread. If such powerful individuals could be enslaved so easily, what would happen to Earth if it were discovered by cosmic adventurers? Not only Jia Yi, but even Hong and Lei Shen, who had been excited earlier, fell silent. Hong was only a planetary level 9 warrior, and Lei Shen had just reached star level 1. In this slave market, slaves stronger than them were everywhere. How do they become slaves? Hong asked softly. A slave trader nearby overheard and replied with a smile, there are many reasons. For example, these Tuo people were discovered by adventurers on a primitive planet. The entire population was enslaved, and now their descendants are slaves too. As for those beautiful women, some were sold by their own planet's rulers, while others were captured and sold. Of course, some are strong warriors who lost in wars between factions and were enslaved. The possibilities are endless. Sir, would you like to buy a few? My slaves are of excellent quality. Hearing the trader's words, Hong felt a chill run down his spine. If Earth were discovered, would its people suffer the same fate? Would their descendants be enslaved forever? Another slave trader chimed in, among the countless human races, some weaker bloodlines, like the 9th or 10th tier, are naturally weak. Reaching the planetary level is incredibly difficult for them. It's normal for such races to be enslaved. The traders spoke casually, as if this were an everyday occurrence. But for Hong, Lei Shen, and the others, it was a shocking and horrifying revelation. 9th and 10th tier bloodlines are commonly enslaved? Earthlings were a 9th tier bloodline. The dark, brutal reality of the universe was laid bare before them, filling their hearts with dread. Earth must never be exposed. This thought echoed in everyone's minds. Even Ken Mu, though he hid it well, was deeply shaken. The universe's cruelty was far more brutal than he had imagined. Tell me about those star-level slaves. Ken Mu said with a calm smile, his demeanor unshaken. The 3 Silverium guards behind him added to his air of authority, making it clear that he was someone of significant background. Sir, please follow me. We can discuss this in detail in a private room. The slave trader's face lit up with joy. Star-level slaves were valuable, and customers who bought them were big spenders. Planetary level and lower slaves were cheap and often bought on the spot. In the short time Ken Mu's group had been talking, they had already seen several slaves being taken away. Many visitors casually bought slaves as if they were purchasing livestock. In the private room, you can use virtual projections to browse and select the slaves you want. The trader explained as he led them into a large building and into a conference room. Inside, virtual projections appeared before them, displaying detailed information about the slaves, their appearances, heights, strengths, races, and prices. Star Level 1, Warriors 1 million, Spirit Masters 3 million. Star Level 4, Warriors 20 million, Spirit Masters 60 million. Star Level 5, Warriors 80 million, Spirit Masters 240 million. Star Level 8, Warriors 2 billion, Spirit Masters 6 billion. Star Level 9, Warriors 5 billion, Spirit Masters 15 billion. Kinmu looked at the prices, which were standard and transparent. There was little variation between traders. With biochips implanted, these slaves would never rebel against their owners. Once the biochip was installed, they would be completely loyal unless they reached the domain lord level. We have 150 billion black dragon coins left to spend. We need to maximize our strength. Kinmu thought to himself. They couldn't spend all their funds on slaves, as the golden horned beast's metal consumption was also a significant expense. We need at least one star level 9 warrior to oversee our operations on Kaiyu Longstar. Our trade ships also need protection to avoid pirate attacks. In space, Spirit Masters have an advantage, so we need a star level 9 Spirit Master. Earth has the swarm, but having a star level 9 expert there would also help train our forces. After some calculations, Kinmu spoke. 1 star level 9 Spirit Master and 3 star level 9 warriors. 3 star level 8 Spirit Masters and 6 star level 8 warriors. 10 star level 5 Spirit Masters and warriors each. 1000 star level 1 Spirit Masters and warriors each. All these slaves must be from the Black Mang race. Kinmu didn't know much about slaves, but he remembered that Luofeng had purchased Black Mang slaves on Babata's recommendation. They were cost-effective and reliable. These slaves would also be analyzed by the swarm, allowing the Zerg to mass-produce them. Additionally, I need a batch of slaves skilled in medicine, mechanics, commerce, and other fields. Their strength doesn't matter, planetary level is fine. Consider these as complimentary gifts, as I need personnel to manage some of my businesses. Negotiate the price and give me a reasonable discount. Kinmu said to the slave trader's manager. The manager's face lit up with joy. This unexpected customer had just spent over 67 billion black dragon coins in one go. This was a major client. Of course. You'll get the best discount possible, 10% off. That's the maximum I can offer. Kinmu didn't respond, simply waving his hand to let his subordinates handle the negotiation. Bargaining wasn't something he needed to do personally. The manager quickly led Kinmu's team aside to discuss the details. This was a massive deal, and the commission he would earn was substantial. Before long, the manager returned, looking slightly defeated. Mr. Kin, your subordinates are indeed skilled. They have a deep understanding of the slave trade. No wonder you value them despite their low cultivation level. All the slaves you requested, plus 10,000 planetary level 9 spirit masters skilled in medicine, mechanics, commerce, and other fields, will cost you 60 billion black dragon coins. Kinmu simply smiled. The 10,000 planetary level 9 spirit masters sounded impressive, but in reality, they were only worth about 1 billion black dragon coins. Planetary level 9 spirit masters were cheap, costing only 100,000 black dragon coins each. Have the slaves delivered to the spaceport. My people will handle the transfer there. Kinmu said calmly. Chapter 112, the Ganwu Dojo. The slaves Kinmu purchased from the slave market wouldn't all be taken back to Earth. Some would remain on Kaiyu Longstar to work for Earth's trade company, while others skilled in manufacturing, medicine, and other technical fields would be brought back to Earth to contribute to its development. Li Xingtao and his team had already purchased a fleet of B-grade interstellar cargo ships, each over 10 kilometers long. A single ship could transport all the slaves back to Earth. Understood. Please rest assured, we are professionals. The manager said with a beaming smile. Large transactions like this, involving over 10,000 slaves, were typically handled at the spaceport. After drafting the contract and paying the deposit, Kinmu casually asked, "Do you have any universe-level slaves?" "Yes, we do." "Are you interested in universe-level slaves?" The manager's eyes lit up. Universe-level slaves were a huge deal. Even the lowest-tier universe-level slave started at 10 trillion black dragon coins. "Not right now. I was just asking. I can't afford them yet." Kinmu replied with a smile, showing no embarrassment. The manager, however, grew even more respectful. The fact that Kinmu even asked such a question indicated that he had the potential to make such a purchase in the future. In the manager's eyes, Kinmu was undoubtedly a core disciple of some superpower. "This is our guild's VIP card. Please keep it. You can contact us anytime for your needs. If you don't have time to visit the slave market, you can place orders in the virtual universe, and we'll deliver them promptly," the manager said, handing over a card. "Alright, that's it for now. We'll be going. There are other places we need to visit," Kinmu said, accepting the card and leading his group out of the slave market under the manager's respectful gaze. After leaving the slave market, the group fell into a somber silence. The experience had been a profound shock. Planetary level 9 spirit masters, who would be invincible on Earth, were being given away as freebies, 10,000 of them. Seeing the group's subdued mood, Kenmu didn't offer any comfort. This was a necessary part of their journey into the cosmos. If they couldn't handle this, how could they hope to establish themselves and rise in the universe? If visiting the treasure store had been about showing them the wonders of the universe, then the slave market was about exposing them to its darkest realities. Compared to other primitive planets, Earth's entry into the universe had been remarkably fortunate. With an undying inheritance, a hidden location, a unified government, and leaders who genuinely cared for their people, Earth had been given a head start. The group consisted of Earth's most talented individuals. Given time, they would adapt. Let's go. Our next destination is the Ganwu Dojo, Kenmu said. The group followed silently, lost in their thoughts. The Ganwu Dojo was a martial arts and spirit training institution under the Ganwu Universe country. It was a crucial channel for recruiting and training warriors and spirit masters. The Ganwu Universe country strictly prohibited any other martial arts schools or dojos from operating within its vast territory, which spanned over 100 million galaxies. The Ganwu Dojo was the only one allowed. Kenmu had some theories about why this was the case. The ruler of the Ganwu Universe country had died 3 times and had borrowed many treasures from friends each time. As a result, he owed the human race a massive amount of contribution points. Training geniuses was one way to repay this debt. It wasn't until Luo Feng lent him some treasure points that he was able to clear his debts. Before the genius battle began and they could join the virtual universe company, the Ganwu Dojo was an excellent place for them to learn and train. Here, as long as you had money, you could hire experts for one-on-one instruction. There were also free public classes available. The dojo imposed almost no restrictions on its students, and many people within the Ganwu Universe country joined. Although Earth's warriors had the Yunmo inheritance, having someone to guide them was different from self-study. As newcomers to the universe, Earth's fighters had many gaps in their knowledge. Guidance from experts would help them avoid unnecessary detours. Following the navigation system, the group arrived at a massive city. Yes, the Ganwu Dojo was essentially a city within a city. The Kaiyu Long Star branch was the largest and most advanced in nearly 100 surrounding galaxies, covering a diameter of 280 kilometers. Before coming here, I looked up information about this Ganwu Dojo. It's guarded by 3 universe-level experts. If you're willing to pay, you can even get one-on-one tutoring from them. Kenmu explained as they entered the dojo. At the main entrance, they saw 3 statues of human warriors, each wearing deep purple robes with a golden leaf embroidered on their sleeves. In the Ganwu Dojo, planetary-level students are ordinary members. Star-level students are elite members. Universe-level experts are masters, marked by 1 golden leaf. Domain lords have 2 golden leaves, and sector lords have 3. These 3 statues indicate that this dojo has 3 universe-level experts. Kenmu explained, seeing the group's spirits lift. This information was something Kenmu had researched in the virtual universe over the past 2 days, so he was well informed. At the entrance, countless students were coming and going. There were no guards, so Kenmu's group simply followed the crowd inside. Once inside, they saw a vast square where tens of thousands of students were engaged in one-on-one training. The atmosphere was electric and inspiring. The weakest students were at the planetary level, and there were many star-level students as well. All of them are warriors. Lei Shen's eyes lit up. As a martial arts enthusiast, Lei Shen found the Ganwu Dojo's vibrant and energetic environment far more appealing than the dark and oppressive slave market. On Earth, he and Hong had founded the Limit Dojo and Thunder Dojo, which were similar in concept to the Ganwu Dojo. The difference was that on Earth, they had been the teachers. Here, they were the students. Will we be training here in the future? Lei Shen asked. The group's mood had noticeably improved since arriving at the dojo. That's up to you. If you want to come, you can. Kenmu replied. He wouldn't dictate their paths. People like Hong and Lei Shen didn't need to be told what to do. This place looks promising. Hong said with a smile, observing the surroundings. Let's go register. Kenmu said. Following the signs, they arrived at an administrative building and paid 6,000 black dragon coins to register everyone. The tuition fees for the Ganwu Dojo weren't expensive, 800 black dragon coins for registration and 10 black dragon coins per year afterward. The real costs came from hiring experts for one-on-one training, which could be astronomical. Alright, let's head back. You can come here whenever you want. It's about time we return to Earth. Kenmu said. They had accomplished everything they needed to do. The next step was to purchase a planet near Earth to serve as a transit hub for receiving the metals, industrial machinery, and raw materials they had bought. Transit planets, often with harsh environments, were cheap to buy or rent. This trip had exceeded their expectations, and it was time to return to Earth for some rest and reorganization. The orders Earth had secured needed to be fulfilled, and the entire planet would be busy in the coming days. Breaching the contracts would have severe consequences. "Are you coming back with me, or are you staying here?" Kenmu asked Hong and Lei Shen after they left the dojo. "Later, we'll go to the spaceport to receive the slaves. Each of you can pick a star level 9 and a star level 8 warrior for protection during your universe adventures." After some consideration, Kenmu decided to assign the star level 9 slaves to Hong and Lei Shen first. The others on Earth were still far from reaching the star level, so having star level 8 or 9 warriors to guide them wouldn't make much difference. With a star level 9 and a star level 8 warrior each, Hong and Lei Shen's safety would be significantly enhanced. "We'll go back too. We haven't had the inheritance for long, and there's a lot we need to digest," Hong said after exchanging a glance with Lei Shen. "Right. There's no rush for adventures. Let's improve our strength and gain some experience first. With a virtual universe, being here or on Earth doesn't make much difference," Lei Shen added. "Alright, let's head back then," Kenmu said. Chapter 113, The Return Journey at the Spaceport. Inside a spacecraft belonging to the Slave Guild, over 10,000 slaves had completed their ownership transfer. Among them, Hong and Lei Shen each selected a star level 9 and a star level 8 warrior. Kenmu chose the remaining 2 star level 9 warriors and 1 from each of the other star levels. Although these 2 star level 9 warriors nominally belonged to Kenmu, he had them assimilated by the swarm to extract their genetic information. One was stationed at the headquarters of Earth's trade company, while the other would accompany the company's transport fleet in the future. Unlike the Black Mang race star level slaves, the 10,000 planetary level 9 spirit masters skilled in various fields came from over 100 different races, all at the planetary level 9. From these races, Kenmu selected 2 individuals from each as research samples. The remaining slaves were handed over to Jia Yi for unified management. For Kenmu, the slaves' combat strength wasn't particularly useful. Their primary value lay in their genetic information, especially those from 7th and 8th tier bloodlines, with a few from 6th tier bloodlines. These samples were invaluable for Kenmu's current research on bloodline evolution agents. Kenmu also instructed Li Xingtao to continue collecting slaves from different races in the universe. After the slave transfer was completed, the group returned to the Black Dragon spacecraft. Jia Yi led most of the slaves to Zone B of the spaceport, where they boarded a massive armed cargo ship. The rest followed Li Xingtao to Earth's trade company on Kaiyu Longstar. Li Xingtao and a portion of the team stayed behind on Kaiyu Longstar to continue securing orders, generating income, and gathering intelligence. The trade company on Kaiyu Longstar would serve as Earth's primary interface with the universe. Once everything was settled, the Black Dragon spacecraft applied for departure and, under the spaceport's guidance, took off. In the vastness of space, the Black Dragon spacecraft was followed by 3 armed cargo ships, each over 10 kilometers long, and 2 smaller warships. "This journey to the universe feels like a dream," Lei Shen remarked in the spacecraft's control room, his expression complex. "When we came, there were only about 50 of us. Now, we're returning with over 10,000 people and several massive spacecraft." Lei Shen felt somewhat useless during this trip, as if he had just been along for the ride. In contrast, the seemingly weaker Earth elites had played a significant role. "Haha, this trip was mainly about experiencing the universe," Kenmu said with a smile. Initially, Kenmu hadn't planned to accomplish much. The goal was simply to make contact with the universe and broaden their horizons. However, the Earth elites had exceeded expectations by securing orders worth trillions. With money to spend, they went on a shopping spree. While Kenmu's group focused on personal purchases, Li Xingtao and his team bought spacecraft, industrial machinery, and other equipment, much of it financed through loans. For example, the cargo ships and warships following them were all purchased on credit under the company's name. In terms of spending, Li Xingtao's team wasn't far behind Kenmu's group. This shopping frenzy had significantly boosted Earth's overall strength. "Let's head to Cold Moon Star to collect the supplies, and then we'll return to Earth," Kenmu said, feeling pleased with the mission's success. Cold Moon Star was a transit planet Kenmu had selected on the Virtual Universe Network. Located in the Milky Way, 12,800 light-years from Earth, Cold Moon Star was perpetually frozen, with temperatures dropping to around -150 degrees Celsius in some areas. Due to the extreme cold, the planet was uninhabited, featuring only a few massive warehouse bases, each spanning over 100 kilometers. It was a dedicated storage planet. In the universe, such uninhabited planets were common. Apart from the warehouses, Cold Moon Star had little else of value. Kenmu decided to purchase the entire planet for 100 million blue silver coins. Yes, blue silver coins. In the Milky Way, Blue-silver coins were the primary currency. 100 million blue-silver coins equated to only 100,000 black dragon coins, a negligible amount for Kinmu. After Li Xingtao's team negotiated with Cold Moon Star's previous administrators and signed the contract, the planet officially belonged to Earth's trade company. All subsequent management would be handled by the company's personnel. In the original timeline, Luo Feng had purchased a warehouse on Bay Island Star. However, a single warehouse was insufficient for Earth's trade needs. Compared to Bay Island Star, Cold Moon Star was slightly farther from Earth and had a harsher environment, but owning a transit planet made many tasks more convenient. As the group chatted, the spacecraft began to accelerate. Moments later, the spacecraft's eye announced, the spacecraft will reach light speed in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The spacecraft shuddered slightly. Transition successful. We have entered the Dark Universe. The 5 large spacecraft following the Black Dragon spacecraft also entered the Dark Universe. Compared to the C-grade Black Dragon spacecraft, these 5 ships were B-grade, with the 3 cargo ships accelerating much slower. The journey would take about 9 days, but the group wasn't as bored as they had been on the way out. Let's go explore the virtual universe, Kinmu suggested. In the virtual universe, on Black Dragon Mountain Island. Inside a spacious courtyard with a distinct Earth-style design, Kinmu's figure suddenly appeared in a room. After acquiring a trade company on Kaiyu Long Star, Li Xingtao's team had also taken over its virtual universe assets. As a trade company, having a stable base in the virtual universe was essential for conducting business. In other rooms, the figures of Lei Shen, Hong, and Jia Yi also appeared. The virtual universe company is truly impressive. Even in the dark universe, we can access the virtual universe. Hong marveled, looking around. On Earth, he had created the virtual palace of war gods. But comparing the warrior palace to the virtual universe was like comparing a candle to the sun. There was no comparison. Where are you all going? I'm heading to the killing field to try out what Kinmu mentioned, setting an opponent based on myself. I haven't tried that yet, Lei Shen said eagerly. His earlier gloom from the slave market had completely dissipated. With their mental fortitude, they had quickly adjusted, as if the experience had never happened. Let's go together. The killing field is indeed a great place, especially for newcomers like us. As long as we don't get addicted, it's fine, Kinmu said, his eyes glinting with a strange light. The virtual universe's killing field was monitored by the virtual universe company. Any exceptional talents would quickly be noticed and recruited. In the original timeline, Hong, Lei Shen, and Luo Feng had spent over a month in the killing field, catching the virtual universe company's attention. Although they declined to become core members, they agreed to join as external members, which still came with many privileges. For example, the 3 of them had each purchased a bloodline evolution agent from the virtual universe company for 100 million Ganwu coins. This was why Kinmu hadn't given Hong and Lei Shen the bloodline evolution agents he had developed. The virtual universe company's agents were far more advanced and effective. Kinmu had tasked Li Xingtao with investigating the virtual universe company's bloodline agent production, but so far, there had been no progress. Perhaps this was another avenue Kinmu could explore. Confident in his talent, Kinmu believed it wouldn't be long before he attracted the virtual universe company's attention. That would be his opportunity. After making his decision, the group headed to the killing field to train. In the killing field's blood-red hall, the atmosphere was bustling, with roughly 10,000 people present. After linking their bank accounts, the group prepared to enter the killing field. Thanks to Earth's financial support, each of them had opened an account with the Universe Star River Bank, with at least a few billion Black Dragon coins in their accounts. Otherwise, the daily expenses of millions would have been unsustainable. The killing field is expensive, but its effects are undeniable, Lei Shen said, his excitement palpable. With so many strong individuals drawn here, how could it not be effective? Hong replied with a smile. In the hall, besides Kinmu's group, there were many others, all of them powerful. During their conversation, Kinmu even spotted a 2-star mercenary, a domain lord level expert. For Kinmu, a domain lord was an absolute powerhouse, yet such individuals were common in the killing field, showcasing just how many experts gathered here. Let's go see how amazing this killing field really is, Jia Yi urged, the only one in the group who hadn't experienced it yet. At the end of the hall were several corridors. Walking down these corridors led to private killing field spaces for customers. As they walked, each chose a corridor and ventured deeper. Kinmu's surroundings suddenly transformed. He stood in a starry expanse and promptly made a request to the killing field. Set the environment to urban ruins. Opponent, Golden Horn Beast, star level 4, with mastery of the 2nd level of the gold domain and an understanding of the gold law. Weapons, 3rd tier spirit weapon Crescent Moon Disc. Defense, Cloud Vine Armor. The killing field shifted, the starry sky replaced by the ruins of a city. Kinmu stood on the crescent moon disk, facing a 420-meter-long golden horned beast covered in black scales. Begin the battle. A bloodthirsty grin spread across Kinmu's face as the crescent moon disk's blades flew out. 9 days later. Kinmu logged out of the virtual universe as the spacecraft Sai announced, approaching the coordinates of Cold Moon Star. The spacecraft began to decelerate, exiting the dark universe. Space rippled near Cold Moon Star as the Black Dragon spacecraft suddenly appeared. Shortly after, the 5 massive spacecraft following it also emerged from the dark universe. Is this Cold Moon Star? Kinmu asked, gazing at the silver-white planet, roughly twice the size of Earth, in the control room. The planet was almost entirely frozen, with no human structures apart from a few massive warehouses. Let's go complete the handover. From now on, this planet belongs to us. Chapter 114, Undercurrents in the Shadows outside the planet of Cold Moon Star. The Black Dragon spacecraft descended slowly. Awaiting its arrival were over 100 humanoid beings, each standing 3 meters tall, with blue skin adorned with intricate, otherworldly patterns. These were the original administrators of Cold Moon Star. During the transaction, these administrators had discovered that the account they were dealing with was registered with the Universe Star River Bank. Realizing they were dealing with a figure of immense importance, they dared not show any negligence. After all, the minimum requirement to open an account with the Universe Star River Bank was a staggering 100 million Black Dragon coins equivalent to 100 billion blue silver coins. This was an astronomical sum far beyond their wildest imaginations. In the Silver Blue Empire, where the strongest individuals were only at the universe level, few could boast such wealth. Thus, not only had the planet's warehouse managers arrived, but even the overseer of the entire region, responsible for hundreds of planets, had came to pay their respects. Their excitement peaked when they caught sight of the Black Dragon spacecraft, valued at over 10 billion Black Dragon coins. They were eager to establish a connection with the influential figure who had purchased Cold Moon Star. However, their hopes were destined to be dashed. Inside the Black Dragon spacecraft, Kinmu had no intention of meeting them. Instead, he dispatched a member of the elite team to handle the formalities. Once the transaction was finalized, a massive 10,000-meter-long armed cargo ship descended onto the planet's surface. Under Kinmu's command, a group of Star Level 9 spirit slaves, skilled in construction, began assessing the condition of several warehouses on the planet. Cold Moon Star was relatively close to Earth, less than a day's journey through the dark universe. As such, it was destined to become a crucial base for a long time to come. There was no room for error. After a thorough evaluation, it was determined that the 5 large warehouses on Cold Moon Star all had issues, ranging from minor to significant. Some required reinforcement, while others needed complete reconstruction. Kinmu assigned a talented specialist to oversee the repairs, granting him the necessary authority before stepping back. These matters were best left to the experts, who would handle them far more efficiently than he could. Kinmu's primary concern lay elsewhere. He had placed orders through the virtual universe for metals to feed the golden horned beast and flesh and blood from powerful creatures. To accelerate the golden horned beast's evolution, he had spent a staggering 30 billion Black Dragon coins on a specialized metal that could increase its growth rate by 51 times. This supply would last the beast for a year and a half. Under normal circumstances, it would take the golden horned beast a year and a half to progress through the first 3 levels of the star stage. Breaking through to the 4th, 5th, and 6th levels would take 2 years each, while the 7th, 8th, and 9th levels would require 12 years each. Advancing from Star Level 9 to Universe Level 1 would take over 50 years. But with the specialized metals, the first 3 levels could be achieved in just 10 days. The 4th to 6th levels would take a little over a month, and reaching Star Level 9 would require only 9 months. It was as if the golden horned beast's growth had been supercharged. However, Kinmu had no intention of feeding all the metal to a single golden horned beast. The second golden horned beast's incubation was already underway, though the cost of nurturing a star-level golden horned beast was exorbitant, so much so that even the swarm was feeling the strain. In recent days, Kinmu had revised the swarm's energy calculation system based on the inherited knowledge of the bug race. Using the Star Level 1 bug as the baseline, he established a standard unit of energy consumption: Star Level 1, 1 unit; Star Level 2, 4 units; Star Level 5, 160 units; Star Level 7, 500 units; Star Level 9, 1,000 units; Universe Level 1, 1 million units, 10,000 times the energy required for Star Level 9. However, the energy required to incubate a single Star Level 1 golden horned beast was a staggering 100 million units. This was an absurdly high cost, compounded by the need for rare metals. Even with the swarm's expansion beyond the solar system, such a burden was difficult to bear. Currently, the swarm could harvest only 1 million units of energy per day, meaning it would take considerable time to accumulate the necessary resources. Yet Kinmu believed it was worth it. With 2 golden horned beast fleets, one could remain on Earth as a defensive force, while the other could accompany him, greatly enhancing his mobility and flexibility. There was another benefit to incubating a golden horned beast. A portion of Kinmu's consciousness had been residing within the golden horned beast, allowing him to experience its growth and cultivation firsthand. As one of the pinnacle species of space beasts, the golden horned beast's innate connection to the gold element was unparalleled. Through it, Kinmu had already grasped the gold domain and was beginning to sense the gold law. In just a few months, his progress in the gold domain had nearly caught up to his mastery of the fire domain. In addition to the metals, Kinmu had spent another 10 billion black dragon coins to purchase the flesh and blood of powerful creatures, ranging from planetary to universe level. While these creatures were valuable when alive, their worth plummeted after death. The swarm would analyze their genetic material, extracting useful traits. Unlike the insects, these creatures could be openly displayed in the universe without raising suspicion. In times of crisis, Kinmu could summon them from the golden horned beast's core, embedded in the cloud vine on his chest, and pass himself off as a beast tamer. Unbeknownst to Kinmu, while he quietly awaited the delivery of metals and flesh on Cold Moon Star, an investigation into the Earth Trading Company on Hyuga Star had already begun. In a lavishly decorated conference room within the virtual universe, a burly man with a rhinoceros-like horn on his head sat at the head of the table, his voice thundering with rage. "What's the situation with this new force that's snatching orders from us? Their weapons are of high quality, and their prices are lower than ours. They have a significant competitive advantage." A subordinate stood up and replied respectfully, "Lord Horn, we've investigated the force. They're called Galactic Trade Company, a long-established firm on Hyuga Star. They deal in a wide range of goods, from clothing to military hardware. However, the family behind the company fell into financial difficulties and sold it. We're still investigating the new owner, but preliminary information suggests it might be a scion of a major family. The specifics remain unclear." Hearing the name Hyuga Star, the horned man frowned. Hyuga Star was the central trading hub for over 100 galaxies, overseen by a domain lord. Anyone who could establish a foothold there was not to be trifled with. A scion of a major family? The horned man, known as Horn, was momentarily uncertain. However, with trillions of black dragon coins at stake, he was unwilling to back down. After all, he was a Universe Level 3 powerhouse with his own connections. In the universe, those who dared to engage in the arms trade were never without backing. Send someone to probe them. But don't use our own people. Hire some pirates from the chaotic star zones. Horn ordered after some thought. While he couldn't be sure of the Galactic Trade Company's backing, a cautious approach was wise. The universe was vast, and there were many in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire he couldn't afford to offend. By using pirates as proxies, he could test the waters without risking direct confrontation. Almost simultaneously, 3 or 4 other arms dealers competing for the orders took similar actions, launching covert investigations into the Galactic Trade Company's operations on Hyuga Star. In the universe, peace was a luxury. To thrive in the bloody, high-stakes world of arms dealing, one needed either power, influence, or both. The notion of a peaceful rise? That was nothing more than a beautiful fantasy. Chapter 115, Secluded Cultivation. With the arrival of Kinmu and his team, the once desolate atmosphere of Cold Moon Star was now bustling with activity. Across the planet, large groups of planetary level 9 spirit masters, under the direction of specialized personnel, had begun construction projects. Outside the planet, spacecraft frequently descended, delivering the metals and construction materials Kinmu had purchased. According to the plan, Cold Moon Star was to serve as a crucial transit base, and as such, it required robust defensive measures. Without them, the planet would be vulnerable to raids by space pirates or adventurers, making development impossible. In the universe, the line between adventurers and pirates was often blurred. Fortunately, with the inheritance from Yunmo, Earth was not lacking in advanced weaponry and equipment. Once the necessary industrial machinery and raw materials were transported back to Earth, mass production could begin, and the weapons could be shipped to Cold Moon Star. A spaceport was also essential. Currently, the conditions were rudimentary, and landing a 10,000-meter-long interstellar cargo ship directly on the planet was impractical. To meet these needs, Cold Moon Star had become a nest of activity. The sheer volume of orders placed had even stimulated the economies of neighboring planets. 10 days later, all the metal materials for the golden horned beast to consume had arrived, along with the samples of life forms. "Everything is here," Kinmu announced in the control room of the Black Dragon spacecraft, where he was finalizing arrangements for his departure. To ensure Cold Moon Star's safety, Kenmu assigned a warship to remain stationed there. The warship was manned by a Star Level 8 Spirit Master and a Star Level 8 Warrior, both transformed by the Swarm. Additionally, a guard unit of 100 Star Level 1 slaves was tasked with patrolling the planet. This level of defense was more than sufficient for Cold Moon Star's surroundings. In case of emergencies, reinforcements could be requested through the virtual universe. Kenmu, meanwhile, led the remaining 3 armed cargo ships and 1 warship into the Dark Universe, heading back to Earth. Hours later, in the vast expanse of the solar system, space rippled unnaturally as a pitch-black, disc-shaped spacecraft materialized out of nowhere. Moments later, a massive warship and 3 10,000-meter-long armed cargo ships emerged from the Dark Universe. "We're back!" someone exclaimed. Somehow, seeing Earth fills me with excitement. No matter how good things are out there, it's never home. In the control room of the Black Dragon spacecraft, the group, having been away from Earth for over a month, felt a surge of emotion as they gazed at the familiar blue planet. It was only after leaving home that they truly understood its value. "Let's go home." The black spacecraft accelerated through the endless void, swiftly approaching the Azure planet. Capital of United Government, formerly Kyoto Base City, you've returned from space and brought back 4 massive spaceships? Along with 10,000 planetary level 9 spirit masters and star level experts. An authoritative elderly man had just received a communication from Jia Yi. Good, good. I'll make arrangements immediately. After ending the call, the man, unable to contain his excitement, quickly dialed several numbers, mobilizing the entire nation. A large military base was cleared, creating enough space to accommodate the 4 enormous ships. As the military personnel withdrew, they witnessed a sight they would never forget. In the sky, an unimaginably massive interstellar spacecraft descended through the atmosphere. A 10,000-meter-long ship. How big was that? Mount Everest, the tallest peak on Earth, stood at only 8,848.86 meters. The shadow cast by the descending ship engulfed the entire military base. The soldiers on the ground stared in awe, a mix of fear and wonder gripping them. Are aliens invading Earth? One soldier muttered, his scalp tingling and sweat dripping down his back. Look! There's more than one. Another shouted, pointing at the sky. Calm down. These are our ships. An officer who had received prior instructions barked, silencing the growing panic. The soldiers froze, then erupted into cheers. Our ships? Since when do we have this kind of technology? No wonder they had us clear the area. Where else could something this massive land? I knew it. The rumors about alien ruins must be true. It's alien tech, definitely alien tech. The atmosphere shifted from fear to jubilation, though disbelief still lingered. When had Earth acquired such incredible technology? As the 4 colossal ships landed one by one, star-level and planetary-level experts emerged, their powerful auras sending sinistrous through the onlookers. While top officials rushed to the military base, Kenmu and his team had already left, leaving Jia Yi to handle the logistics. Compared to Jia Yi, Kenmu, Hong, and Lei Shen were less adept at such matters. For them, improving their strength was the top priority. Kenmu first visited a nearby star-level nest, where he deposited the biological materials into the nest for analysis. He then returned to his villa in Yangzhou City, located in the former Jiangnan base city. Despite his status, Kenmu preferred the simplicity of his current residence. For serious cultivation or genetic research, he typically worked in the nest or military research facilities. Uncle King, having received resources from Kenmu, had advanced to the planetary level and now held an important position in the military, rarely returning home. However, the 2 children still lived in the villa. Upon learning of Kenmu's return, Uncle King made time to visit, and the 2 shared a drink, catching up on recent events. After a pleasant meal and a day of rest in Yangzhou, Kenmu spent some time guiding Miu Miu and Zhao Wu in their cultivation. He also left a team of slaves to protect them before returning to the Bug Queen's nest. With ample resources at his disposal, Kenmu planned to focus on his cultivation and restructure the swarm. The most critical unit in the swarm was the Golden Horn Beast. Although its genes had been fully analyzed, many mysteries remained. For instance, the patterns on its golden horn, body, and core contained profound power. Kenmu's rapid comprehension of the gold domain was largely due to his study of these patterns. In the original timeline, Luo Feng had only grasped the domain after the Golden Horned Beast reached the universe level. The Golden Horned Beast's genetic structure was far superior to that of humans, embodying immense power. As a tenfold gene life form, it was inherently much stronger than humans. Similarly, the analysis of the Blaze Beast, obtained from the treasure point, was nearing completion. While not as powerful as the Golden Horn Beast, the Blaze Beast was still a formidable creature. If the Golden Horned Beast aided Kenmu in comprehending the Gold Law, could the Blaze Beast do the same for the Fire Law? The answer was yes. Compared to humans, space beasts had an innate advantage in understanding domains and laws. In addition to these two star beasts, Kenmu had invested 10 billion black dragon coins in purchasing the flesh and blood of other powerful creatures for analysis. The swarm's analysis capabilities were operating at full capacity, consuming vast amounts of energy. Fortunately, the swarm's continuous expansion provided sufficient resources to sustain this growth. Unlike the Golden Horn Beast, which could grow by consuming metals, the swarm's evolution required the absorption and integration of superior genetic material. There were no shortcuts. Kenmu's role was to expand the swarm, increasing the number of nests for analysis. During Kenmu's time in space, the swarm had grown significantly, exploring beyond the solar system. Over the past month, the strongest nest had reached star level 3. At the current rate of analysis, reaching star level 6 would take about 3 months, while breaking through to star level 9 would require just over a year. While this seemed slower than the Golden Horned Beast's growth, it wasn't the case. The swarm's expansion and improving analysis capabilities would reduce the time needed for breakthroughs. To optimize the swarm's development, Kenmu streamlined its structure upon returning to Earth. Most of the hundreds of nests on Earth were converted back into energy, as sustaining so many star-level nests was impractical. Only 5 star-level nests remained on Earth, with the total number of nests across the swarm reduced to 86, spread across planets, moons, and asteroid belts in the solar system. The Earth's monsters had been nearly wiped out by the swarm, with over 90% of the marine creatures eliminated. The 2 emperors had been devoured by the swarm shortly after the Golden Horned Beast's arrival. To prevent Earth from being overwhelmed, Kenmu recycled most of the swarm's planetary level and below combat units. As a result, the swarm's numbers had decreased. The current swarm consisted of 100 million planetary-level units and 8 million star-level units, with no further production of planetary-level units. However, the number of worker units had soared to over 1 trillion, tasked with collecting resources across the universe. This restructuring marked Kenmu's efforts to adapt the swarm to its new environment. Kenmu also dedicated himself to his own cultivation. The 2 core techniques, Heart of the Swarm and Primordial Insect Cannon, were his top priorities. He had also made some progress in space control, thanks to his study of the Golden Horned Beast's innate inner world. However, true mastery of spatial manipulation would take time. With no distractions, Kenmu immersed himself in his training. The 3 major techniques of the bug race, the Golden Horned Beast's inherited methods, the human cultivation techniques from Yunmo, the study of the 2 space beasts' bloodlines, and the research into gene evolution agents, Kenmu had much to accomplish. When fatigue set in, he would either engage in battles in the virtual universe's killing field or spar with Hong and Lei Shen. Through this relentless dedication, Kenmu's strength continued to grow at an astonishing rate. Chapter 116, The Ambush. Io, Moon of Jupiter, Solar System. Io is the most volcanic bodies in the solar system. According to records, there are over 400 active volcanoes on its surface. These volcanoes frequently erupt, spewing volcanic ash that forms umbrella-shaped plumes reaching heights of up to 450 kilometers. This moon, with its rivers of lava and fire eruptions, is a hellish satellite, a place where life seems impossible. Yet, today, towering over this infernal landscape is a 700-meter-tall, crimson-red nest, its tendrils plunging into the molten lava, extracting energy. Within the boiling magma, beetle-like insectoid creatures swim and thrive. Some die in the harsh environment, while others evolve and adapt. But the most striking sight is a 500-meter-long, fire-scaled, lizard-like beast that roams freely through the lava, devouring it with ease. This is the Blaze Beast, a creature born of the swarm. For most life forms, Io's environment would be a death sentence. But for the Blaze Beast, it is a paradise. Unlike the flame space beasts, which grow by consuming stars, the Blaze Beast thrives on magma. It is a natural master of fire, capable of controlling and manipulating flames with ease. While it is a relatively ordinary space beast, reaching only the universe level at maturity, it possesses a unique ability called the Furnace Heart. To Kenmu, the Blaze Beast is an excellent addition to the swarm. The Furnace Heart allows it to grow rapidly by consuming fire and magma, eliminating the need for expensive metals like the Golden Horn Beast. Additionally, the Furnace Heart grants the Blaze Beast formidable fire control abilities. Through studying its talents, Kenmu's comprehension of the fire domain reached the 3rd level in just 3 months. Moreover, the Blaze Beast is far more cost-effective than the Golden Horn Beast. While incubating a star level 1 Golden Horned Beast requires 100 million standard units of energy, a Blaze Beast of the same level costs only 1 million units. In terms of combat power, Kenmu once pitted a Blaze Beast against Lei Shen, who had already comprehended the Thunder domain. The result? Lei Shen was utterly defeated. This is the terrifying potential of space beasts. Currently, there are 10 such blaze beasts on Io, significantly bolstering the swarm's high-end combat capabilities. The swarm is no longer just about numbers, it now possesses quality as well. Beyond Io, the swarm has spread to Jupiter, Venus, and Mars, thriving in even the harshest environments and evolving new species to adapt. Outside the solar system, within a 1,000 light-year radius centered on Earth, the swarm has begun to appear in certain areas, gradually expanding and collecting resources and energy. Near a towering pyramid-shaped nest, a massive 600-meter-tall egg is in the process of hatching. This is the swarm's second golden horn beast. Nearby, a towering tree, 289 meters tall and 12 meters in diameter, sways gently in the wind. This is the Earth Spirit Treasure Tree, a rare treasure Kenmu acquired from the Treasure Pavilion. Its seeds alone cost 10 million black dragon coins, while a sapling could fetch 1 billion. After being nurtured by the swarm's energy, it has grown significantly and begun to exert its influence. Within a 10-kilometer radius of the tree, the concentration of cosmic energy is noticeably higher, creating a more comfortable environment and strengthening the swarm's units. Even underground, the tree's vast root system has formed crystalline deposits of cosmic energy. In the sky above, skyfire crows with 100-meter wingspans circle the area. These creatures, derived from the genetic material of powerful beasts Kenmu purchased, are now part of the swarm's combat forces. Native to the stars, they reach star level 6 at maturity, are incredibly fast, and excel at fire manipulation. They are also highly social and vengeful, making them a nightmare for space adventurers. When the swarm cannot act openly, the skyfire crows serve as excellent substitutes. Inside the nest, Kenmu stretched and took a break from his research. Time to rest for a bit, he muttered. With the bloodline samples he brought back from space and his deeper understanding of the primordial insect canon, Kenmu had improved the bloodline evolution agent to the apprentice level 9, the limit of the 7th tier bloodline. However, breaking through to the 6th tier bloodline posed a significant challenge. It was a qualitative leap. By studying samples of 6th tier bloodlines, Kenmu had gained some confidence and believed he could overcome this hurdle soon. Although Kenmu hadn't left Earth in 3 months, Leasing Dawan Kaiyu Longstar had been diligently collecting research samples for him. Every month, a batch of samples was sent to Earth, while Earth-produced goods were transported to space for trade. With ample research materials, Kenmu's progress on the bloodline evolution agent had been smooth. Kenmu decided to enter the virtual universe. "Let's head to the killing field for some combat," Kenmu said, relaxing. For him, the best way to unwind was through intense battle. The fatigue from researching techniques, domains, and bloodline evolution would dissipate in the heat of combat. Over the past few months, not only had the swarm grown, but Kenmu's strength had also increased at an astonishing rate. In the killing field, Kenmu appeared in a starry void. He quickly set the parameters for his opponent, a star level 8 spirit master with 3rd level fire domain and 3rd level gold domain, armed with a crescent moon disc and wearing 2nd tier combat armor. The battlefield was set in a desert. These parameters reflected Kenmu's current abilities. Thanks to the swarm's feedback and his study of the golden horned beast and blaze beast, Kenmu had reached planetary level 8. His progress in the fire domain and gold domain had been remarkable, with the latter catching up to the former. In the killing field, the environment shifted to an endless desert. Across from Kenmu, a figure with 70% similarity to him materialized. Both wielded crescent moon discs, their blades spinning around them. Whoosh, the two figures shot toward each other, their blades clashing thousands of times in an instant. Clang-clang sparks flew as the intense battle unfolded. Initially evenly matched, Kenmu gradually fell behind. In terms of combat experience, he was no match for his virtual opponent. Fire domain. Kenmu activated his domain, black flames erupting around him, distorting the air. His opponent, however, did not activate a domain. Instead, a golden glow enveloped them as they charged into Kenmu's flames, aiming to strike him down. Bring it on. Kenmu's eyes flashed with golden light as the crescent moon disc blades merged into a spinning golden wheel. Rainbow moon slash, go. A 1,000-meter-long crescent blade shot toward his opponent with terrifying force. Boom! Almost simultaneously, an identical attack erupted from his opponent, the two strikes colliding in a massive explosion. Huh? From the explosion, a figure emerged, charging at Kenmu. But just as Kenmu prepared to counter, he froze. Something's wrong. The killing field dissolved, returning to the starry void. Kenmu's expression turned grim. Through the surgified star-level slaves, he had sensed an attack on the Earth's transport fleet near Cold Moon Star. This was the first time such an incident had occurred. Since Kenmu and his team returned from space, Earth's development had skyrocketed. With the help of planetary level 9 spirit masters skilled in manufacturing, production had increased 100-fold. Factories across Earth and even the Mars base were operating at full capacity. Thanks to the advanced technology from the Yunmo inheritance, Earth's products sold well in the universe. The only limiting factor was production capacity. Despite the efforts to boost output, the demand far exceeded supply. The lack of skilled personnel was a significant bottleneck. Unlike warriors, who could be trained with resources, high-tech industries required time and education. But beneath this rapid growth lurked danger. On Kaiyu Longstar, Li Xingtao and his team faced increasing pressure. As they competed for orders, their business negotiations often hit roadblocks. Some of the Zergified slaves kept Ken Mu informed of these developments. Li Xingtao, however, bore the burden alone, not wanting to trouble Ken Mu. While Li Xingtao and his team were safe within Kaiyu City, their transport ships were vulnerable. This vulnerability had now been exploited. It's time to make a move. Ken Mu's eyes turned cold. He had anticipated this and was prepared. The universe was never peaceful. When Ken Mu authorized Li Xingtao to compete for orders, he knew this day would come. Li Xingtao had not disappointed him, successfully securing the orders. But now, the consequences had arrived. Chapter 117, Starry Battle outside Cold Moon Star. A massive platform frame, nearly 100 kilometers long, was under construction. Countless robots and workers toiled diligently on its surface. This was the starport being built by a construction team hired by Galactic Trade Company, under the management of Li Xingtao and his team. Funded generously, the construction team worked at an astonishing pace, completing more than half of the colossal project in just 3 months. In the distance, 2 warships escorted 3 10,000-meter-long armed cargo ships as they emerged from the dark universe, heading toward the starport under construction. Everything seemed normal, just like any other day. But then, the recently stabilized space rippled once more. A fleet of over a dozen 1,000-meter-long warships emerged from the dark universe. These ships looked battered, adorned with bizarre graffiti and skull motifs. To the untrained eye, they appeared dilapidated, but a closer look revealed advanced modifications, enhanced propulsion systems and high-powered laser cannons. These upgrades gave them superior speed and firepower. The moment these pirate ships appeared, they were detected by the Galactic Trade Company's escort fleet. But before the defenders could react, the pirate ships opened fire without hesitation. Hundreds of pre-charged laser cannons lit up the void with blinding flashes. Boom explosions erupted as the unprepared cargo ships and warships took the brunt of the attack. The hulls of the ships cracked under the onslaught. Pirate attack. Activate defense systems and return fire immediately. Pirate attack. Activate defense systems and return fire immediately. Inside the command center of the flagship, the fleet's commander wore a grim expression as he ordered the counterattack. Normally, ships didn't keep their defense systems fully active to conserve energy, operating at minimal power instead. This oversight had cost them dearly. One cargo ship's propulsion system was destroyed, rendering it immobile, while the others suffered varying degrees of damage. The pirates, experienced in such tactics, had targeted the propulsion systems first, leaving the defenders scrambling to respond. Compared to the battle-hardened pirates, the Earth's fleet lacked experience. As they turned to engage, their laser cannons fired, but the pirates easily dodged the attacks. A few secondary cannons managed to hit, but the pirates' energy shields absorbed the damage. The Earth's fleet was like a herd of water buffalo surrounded by wolves, large and powerful but outmaneuvered at every turn. Despite rigorous training, this was their first real space battle, and their inexperience showed. "This isn't working," a staff officer muttered, his face dark. The enemy fleet consisted of 13 ships, mostly B3 and B4 class, with a B7 class flagship. Despite their lower classification, the pirates' firepower far exceeded expectations. The Earth's fleet's 2 B7 class warships had a slight advantage, but it wasn't enough to turn the tide. The 3 armed cargo ships, though capable of combat, were too cumbersome, especially with damaged propulsion systems. The pirates clearly had the upper hand in both firepower and experience. The commander's expression was grim. The pirates had anticipated their movements, suggesting they had inside information. The fleet had departed from Kaiyu Longstar, a place where pirates wouldn't dare act boldly. Their only opportunity to strike was near Cold Moon Star. Fighting in the dark universe wasn't an option for B-class ships. The starport on Cold Moon Star was still under construction, its weapons and detection systems incomplete, making it more of a liability than an asset. Despite the dire situation, the commander remained calm. They might be outmatched in ship-to-ship combat, but they had other tricks up their sleeves. "Open the O1 cargo bay doors on all 3 cargo ships," the commander ordered. As explosions rocked the fleet, the cargo ship's massive doors slid open. From within, Skyfire crows, massive, crow-like beasts with 100-meter wingspans, emerged, screeching as they surged toward the pirate fleet. Pirate fleet, communications channel. The pirates erupted into cheers as their attacks landed on the Galactic Trade Company's ships. Haha. Just as we heard, these guys are nothing but upstarts. They bought fancy ships but have no idea how to use them. Such a waste of good hardware in their hands. Let's teach these rookies a lesson. Show them what real combat looks like. Let's take their ships. The cargo inside must be worth a fortune. In the command center of the pirate flagship, a 2-meter-tall, bat-winged humanoid with scaly skin laughed heartily. His powerful aura marked him as a star level 9 spirit master, a formidable figure among pirates. Move in, boys. Let's take everything they've got. The bat-winged leader roared. But their cheers died abruptly as the Skyfire crows poured out of the cargo ships. What the? Why are there so many Skyfire crows? How did they get those things on their cargo ships? The bat-winged leader's smile vanished as the Skyfire crows unleashed a barrage of searing plasma beams. The pirate ship's shields flickered under the assault, and some beams penetrated, melting through the hulls. Skyfire crows. They must have a beast tamer on board. Return fire. Take them down. Focus on the flagship. Cut off the head. But the pirates were quickly overwhelmed. The Skyfire crows, numbering in the hundreds and all at star level 6, were too much for them to handle. The pirates, accustomed to easy victories, began to panic. Their ships, modified for speed and firepower, lacked sufficient defenses. One by one, their shields failed, and their ships were torn apart by the relentless plasma beams. Retreat. Fall back. The bat-winged leader bellowed, his voice tinged with desperation. But escape wasn't easy. Ships needed time to accelerate to light speed, and the Skyfire crows weren't about to let them go. As the pirate fleet crumbled, the bat-winged leader made a desperate move. He abandoned his own men, using his abilities to hurl 3-star level 8 warriors at the pursuing Skyfire crows and the Black Ming clan warrior, Maruni Taliabu, who had been sent to intercept him. The 3 warriors, caught off guard, were quickly overwhelmed. Meanwhile, the bat-winged leader boarded his flagship and fled, leaving his men to their fate. The pirate flagship broke through the Skyfire crows' encirclement and vanished into the void, leaving behind thousands of stranded pirates. Abandoned and outnumbered, they could only watch in despair as their leader escaped. Chapter 118, The Expected Invitation. No need for me to intervene. Kenmu murmured with a satisfied smile in the virtual universe. The battle had been costly for Earth, but they had successfully repelled the pirate attack. The Skyfire crows, though formidable, were only at star level 6, and their numbers limited to 10,000 were insufficient to capture the pirate leader. With more crows, the pirate leader wouldn't have escaped. What a bold move, equipping slaves with third-tier force armor and spirit weapons. Kenmu mused, impressed by the ingenuity of Earth's team. Upon closer inspection, Kenmu realized that they had gone far beyond simply purchasing equipment for the Black Ming clan slaves. They had devised a secret contract, a revolutionary approach that redefined the slave status. Under this contract, the slaves were no longer legally considered slaves since Earth did not recognize slavery, but they were required to work for Earth until they repaid their debt. Yes, debt. The cost of purchasing them was treated as a debt they had to repay. After calculations, a star-level expert would need to work for 3,000 years to earn their freedom and become a recognized minority within Earth, joining the larger collective. For star-level beings, whose natural lifespan exceeded 10,000 years, 3,000 years was a small price to pay. Moreover, their children would be born free, not as slaves. If they earned enough merit, they could even gain freedom earlier or request that Earth purchase and bring their families to Earth. When this news reached the slaves, they were ecstatic. The possibility of freedom, something they had long given up on, was now within reach. Though their biochips ensured absolute loyalty, their consciousness remained intact, and they yearned for freedom. The announcement spurred them to work with unprecedented zeal. One such example was a planetary level 9 spirit master from the Mangekyō clan, skilled in mechanics. After solving several critical technical challenges for Earth, he earned enough merit to request that his wife and children be brought to Earth. The joy he felt upon reuniting with his family was indescribable. For the first time since becoming a slave, he felt respected not as a slave, but as a scientist and a warrior. This newfound dignity and the hope of freedom drove him to work even harder. This success story became a beacon of hope for the other slaves, igniting a fire within them. Even those without specialized skills, like the Black Ming clan warriors, saw the pirate attack as an opportunity to earn merit. To them, the pirates were walking rewards. I underestimated their ingenuity. Kenmu admitted, his expression a mix of amusement and admiration. The person who came up with this idea was a genius. Ordinary slaves, while obedient, were little more than puppets, following orders without passion. But with this contract, the slaves were now motivated to work tirelessly of their own accord. Even after gaining freedom, they would remain part of Earth, albeit as paid employees. In truth, most wouldn't leave even if given the choice. Outside Earth, they would still be slaves, their biochips ensuring their loyalty. Only in Earth could they truly be free. This approach allowed Earth to rapidly grow its strength while fostering a group of fiercely loyal experts. Once freed, these former slaves would become staunch supporters of Earth's development. However, this strategy was not without risks. If word leaked to the wider universe, it could provoke hostility from powerful factions that relied on slavery. But for now, it seems I don't need to worry. Kenmu thought. If Earth's leadership could handle the situation, he could focus on his own growth. As a precaution, he had used a Bug Queen's Nest's incubation function to create several universe-level units. These were his last resort, to be deployed only in emergencies. With his mind at ease, Kenmu left the killing field and entered the killing hall. There, he found Lei Shen sitting in a corner, sipping tea. "Kenmu, you're here too." Lei Shen greeted him warmly, offering a cup of tea. The two chatted casually. Unlike Kenmu, Lei Shen was a regular at the killing hall. Recently, he had been studying the Yunmo martial arts legacy while attending lectures at the Ganwu dojo in the virtual universe. His progress had been remarkable. "I'm planning to venture into the universe soon," Lei Shen said, taking a sip of tea. "You were right, only through life and death trials can one truly evolve. In the killing space, I improved rapidly at first, but now my progress has slowed." Kenmu nodded. "The universe is full of dangers. You'll need to prepare thoroughly." Unlike Lei Shen, Kenmu didn't need to risk his life to grow stronger. With the swarm, his power increased naturally. But for Lei Shen, staying on Earth would mean stagnation at the planetary level. As they talked, Hong emerged from the killing space, his black combat suit exuding confidence. "What are you two discussing?" Hong asked, joining them. "Lei Shen's planning to explore the universe and take the universe trainee mercenary exam," Kenmu explained. Hong's eyes lit up. "I've been thinking the same. How about we go together?" The two had been close friends since the Great Nirvana period, and their thoughts often aligned. "That sounds perfect. Let's conquer the universe together," Lei Shen said, glancing at Kenmu with an unspoken invitation. "I might join a bit later," Kenmu replied. For now, venturing into the universe didn't hold much appeal for him. He wondered if Lei Shen and Hong would still encounter the World of Thunder, a pivotal location in the original timeline where they had gained significant resources and Lei Shen had obtained an inheritance. But the world within a world wouldn't open for a few more years. He couldn't very well tell them to wait. "Fair enough. Just let us know when you're ready," Lei Shen said cheerfully, changing the subject. "By the way, have you heard about the two newcomers? I fought a swordsman today and got crushed." "Same here. There's also a female dual-blade warrior I couldn't beat," Hong added, laughing. "You seem oddly happy about losing," Kenmu remarked, though he was intrigued. The fact that both Hong and Lei Shen had encountered such formidable opponents suggested that the virtual universe company might have taken notice of them. Should he also test his skills in the battle space? Unlike Hong and Lei Shen, Kenmu had only recently started visiting the killing field, having spent most of his time studying secret techniques. "Of course I'm happy. Losing helps me identify my weaknesses and improve," Hong said, sipping his tea. "That's so like you," Kenmu said with a smile. Hong had been invincible on Earth for so long that only Kenmu could challenge him. If he remained unchallenged in the universe, it would be boring. As they chatted, a killing field staff member approached them, a lean man with a sharp nose. "Excuse me, gentlemen. A private room host upstairs has requested your presence," the staff member said politely. "A private room host?" Kenmu exchanged glances with Hong and Lei Shen. Private rooms in the killing field were expensive and typically reserved for universe-level experts or higher. While Hong and Lei Shen looked puzzled, Kenmu had a hunch. The virtual universe company had likely noticed Hong and Lei Shen's potential and perhaps his own, even though he hadn't yet showcased his abilities in the battle space. "Lead the way," Kenmu said, standing up with Hong and Lei Shen. Chapter 119, The Invitation. "This is the room," the staff member said, leading the three to the entrance of a private chamber. He knocked gently on the door. "Come in," a deep, resonant voice replied. The door opened, revealing a towering, muscular man with a metallic, bluish-black complexion, as if he were forged from steel. "Please, come in," the burly man said. Without hesitation, Kenmu, Hong, and Lei Shen stepped inside. The man before them was none other than Mingyu, an external executive of the Virtual Universe Company's Black Dragon Mountain branch and a domain lord-level powerhouse. Kenmu had done his homework in the killing hall and recognized him immediately. How powerful was a domain lord? A single punch from one could trigger a catastrophic flood capable of submerging the entire Earth and causing mass extinction. Even with the swarm's current strength, including the few universe-level units Kenmu had incubated, they might not be able to defeat a single domain lord. "Greetings, sir," the three said in unison, bowing slightly. Respect for the strong was a fundamental courtesy. Without the swarm, a domain lord could easily obliterate Kenmu in an instant. "I've been observing you for some time," Mingyu said with a smile. "You've been frequenting the killing field recently, and your progress has been remarkable. It's quite impressive." After returning to Earth, the three had been deeply impacted by their experiences. Initially, they had focused on studying secret techniques, so they hadn't visited the killing field often. But over the past month, they had been coming regularly to test their skills. A domain lord had been observing them. Hong and Lei Shen were genuinely shocked, while Kenmu feigned surprise. "I've watched your techniques evolve from rough to refined, which suggests your initial training was lacking. It was only after coming to the killing field that you began to improve. But you must understand that true transformation cannot be achieved solely in the killing field." Hong and Lei Shen exchanged glances, then Hong spoke up. "Thank you for the advice, sir. We've realized this as well and plan to embark on a universe adventure soon." Mingyu raised an eyebrow, relieved that he had approached them in time. If they had left for their adventure, it would have been much harder to recruit them later. "Wise decision. It seems your mentor also understands that the fastest way to evolve and improve is through life and death trials." Mingyu nodded approvingly. Between life and death lies great terror, but also infinite power. The fact that you've chosen to seek out such trials shows that you understand this principle. Hearing Mingyu's words, Hong and Lei Shen felt a surge of gratitude toward Kenmu. It was Kenmu who had first warned them not to become too reliant on the killing field. Without his advice, they might have wasted precious time before realizing this truth. Now, a domain lord had reaffirmed their decision, proving they were on the right path. Seeing that the three understood his point, Mingyu continued. "Let me introduce myself. I am Mingyu, an external executive of the Virtual Universe Company's Black Dragon Mountain branch. You may address me as Sir Mingyu or Lord Mingyu." "Lord Mingyu," the three said respectfully. "All three of you show great promise. Lei Shen, you've reached the star level 1 and comprehended a domain. In our Black Dragon Mountain branch, you would be rated as a third-tier elite. Hong, you're only at planetary level 9. Yet you've achieved third-level domain comprehension. You would be rated as a first-tier elite." Mingyu paused, then added, "The sword-wielding genius you fought earlier is a second-tier elite in our branch, and the dual-blade warrior is a special-tier elite." Neither Lei Shen nor Hong were fools. The moment Mingyu revealed his identity, they guessed that their recent opponents might have been arranged by him, though they didn't show it. "As for you, Kenmu, you're even more exceptional. You've comprehended both the fire domain and the gold domain, both at the third level. But what truly astonishes me is your spirit amplitude. If I'm not mistaken, it exceeds 80. Mingyu's tone was filled with awe. What did it mean for a star level 8 spirit master to have an amplitude exceeding 80? In the original timeline, Luo Feng had a spirit amplitude of 58 during the Genius Battle. Even after joining the Virtual Universe Company's core and becoming a member of the Primal Secret Realm, his amplitude only reached 78 during the Devil Mountain mission, thanks to the Golden Horn Beast. Yet Kenmu, still at the star level, had already surpassed Luo Feng's peak amplitude during his Primal Secret Realm days. Such talent was unparalleled in Mingyu's experience. However, Kenmu merely smiled at Mingyu's praise. A spirit amplitude exceeding 80? That was an understatement. As the swarm's ruler, Kenmu's spirit amplitude had surpassed 100 the moment he reached the star level. After cultivating the swarm's special technique, Heart of the Swarm, his current amplitude was 180. Normally, a spirit amplitude of 100 was considered the perfect limit. However, special techniques and treasures could allow one to surpass this limit. These were extremely rare and valuable in the universe. To avoid drawing too much attention, Kenmu had deliberately suppressed his amplitude to around 80 during his battles in the killing field. This was already the limit for many domain lords. Revealing his true amplitude of 180 would likely attract the scrutiny of powerful figures, risking exposure of the swarm. Until he joined the Virtual Universe Company's core and gained the recognition of the Primal Chaos City leader, he dared not reveal his full potential. Mingyu smiled. The Virtual Universe Company scouts for elite talents across numerous universe nations. You are the most exceptional genius I've encountered in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Would you consider joining our branch? As a special tier elite in our branch, you would receive the finest resources, including a top-tier bloodline evolution agent. With the serum's assistance, you could reach even greater heights. While life and death trials are crucial for growth, a solid foundation is equally important. Different bloodlines have varying evolutionary efficiencies. Some races evolve easily under pressure, while others struggle. Some races naturally reach star, universe, or even domain lord levels upon maturity. This is the power of bloodline. Take a look at this chart. It divides human bloodlines into 10 tiers. Identify where your bloodline stands, and I can help you avoid unnecessary detours in your evolution. Mingyu gestured to a screen, which displayed a detailed chart. The human race in the universe is vast, with millions of subspecies, but they can be broadly categorized into these 10 tiers. First tier human bloodline, matures to domain lord level. Second tier human bloodline, matures to universe level. Third tier and fourth tier, matures to star level. Fifth tier and sixth tier, matures to planetary level. Seventh tier and eighth tier, matures to apprentice level. Ninth tier and 10th tier, matures below apprentice level, with varying potential for producing strong individuals. Which tier does your race's bloodline belong to? Mingyu asked. Kinmu, Hong, and Leishen exchanged glances. While Hong and Leishen were unaware of their bloodline, Kinmu knew that Earth's human bloodline was 9th tier. In fact, his research on bloodline evolution agents had already reached the 7th tier limit. 9th tier. Kinmu stated. What? 9th tier? Impossible. Mingyu exclaimed, his eyes filled with astonishment and excitement. A 9th tier bloodline meant a weak foundation, making it incredibly difficult to achieve high levels of power. Yet Kinmu, with a 9th tier bloodline, had achieved a spirit amplitude of 80. If he were to use an evolution agent to reach the domain lord level, how powerful would he become? Mingyu was well aware of the upcoming genius battle. If he could recruit such a prodigy, the Black Dragon Mountain branch might produce a genius capable of ranking in the top 100 or even the top 10 of the tournament. That would be an extraordinary achievement. Chapter 120, Pharmacist. Unlike the original timeline, Hong and Leishen had entered the universe earlier with Kinmu, learning about the hierarchy of bloodlines in the universe even before purchasing slaves. They were also aware that Kinmu himself was researching bloodline evolution agents, which he had provided to Earth for sale. Thus, they understood the importance of bloodline better than most. A top-tier bloodline could allow someone to reach the domain lord level without even cultivating. Just moments ago, Mingyu had promised Hong an S-grade agent if he joined, while Leishen would receive a standard bloodline agent. The process of cultivation for ordinary humans was akin to building a house. Bloodline was the foundation. A poor bloodline meant a weak foundation. Cultivating with a weak foundation was like constructing a skyscraper on unstable ground. As the building grew taller, the foundation would need constant reinforcement, making the process exponentially more difficult and costly compared to those with superior bloodlines. Earth's human bloodline, classified as 9th tier, was a weak foundation. Consuming a bloodline evolution agent could instantly transform this weak foundation into a medium or even high tier 1. For any cultivator, this was an irresistible temptation. Do you know who developed the bloodline evolution agents? Mingyu asked, sensing their hesitation and deciding to push further. The Virtual Universe Company. Kinmu ventured. Correct. The Virtual Universe Company, the pinnacle of technological advancement in the human universe, is the creator of these agents. Mingyu declared with pride. As one of the 5 strongest human factions, the Virtual Universe Company had every right to be proud. These agents are extremely rare outside the company. Even if you could buy them, the price would be astronomical. But if you join us, as internal elites, you can receive them for free. Kinmu sighed inwardly. The Virtual Universe Company's reputation as the leader in technology was well deserved. Its virtual network alone, which allowed instantaneous access from anywhere in the universe, even the dark universe, was a marvel. The network could perfectly simulate domains and even laws, a feat beyond imagination. This was one of the reasons Kinmu had always wanted to join the Virtual Universe Company. The company offered far more than just the virtual network. Bloodline evolution agents were just one of its many products. Seeing that the 3 were intrigued, Mingyu smiled and asked, would you be willing to join the Virtual Universe Company? Though tempted, the trio knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. The more one received, the more would be expected in return. After exchanging glances, Kinmu asked, Lord Mingyu, if we join the Black Dragon Mountain branch, how would the company arrange our training? In the early stages, while your strength is still developing, the company will focus on nurturing you. This means strict management. You'll need to follow company orders, undergo training, and face life and death trials. However, as your strength grows, so will your privileges. At the universe, domain lord, and overlord levels, your authority will expand, and you'll only need to act during critical moments. Mingyu explained. Moreover, in a few years, the new genius battle will be held, jointly organized by the Virtual Universe Company and the 1008 Universe Nations. With your talent and the resources of the Black Dragon Mountain branch, you have a strong chance of ranking within the top 1000 and entering the company's core. If Mingyu could nurture a genius capable of ranking in the top 100 or even the top 10 of the tournament, his future resources would be secured. But during the training period, won't we have any freedom? Hong asked. Lei Shen also looked at Mingyu. There are scheduled vacations. Mingyu replied seriously. But during the training period, the discipline is very strict. You must understand this. With a virtual universe network, you can still meet and chat with family and friends, so vacations aren't as significant. Kinmu, Hong, and Lei Shen all shook their heads. This level of restriction was unacceptable. Thank you for the invitation, Lord Mingyu. Kinmu said, but my circumstances are unique. I cannot accept such strict training. To be honest, while my innate spirit amplitude is strong, I am actually a pharmacist. The bloodline evolution agents you mentioned are a major focus of my research. Mingyu was stunned. A pharmacist? You're researching agents? Who is your mentor? I was about to tell you that comprehending both the gold domain and fire domain at the star level is already a significant drain on your energy. If you focused on just one, you might have reached the 5th or even 6th level of domain comprehension, possibly touching the laws. Specialization is the key to going further. And you're dividing your attention with pharmacology? Human time and energy are limited. You're wasting your talent. Mingyu was visibly upset. Such a prodigious talent, squandered on unrelated pursuits. While he could understand geniuses rejecting strict management, many were prideful and unwilling to submit to rigid control. Kinmu's reason was rare. What Mingyu didn't know was that, as the swarm's ruler, Kinmu's consciousness could be divided. He could simultaneously research multiple techniques and bloodlines without issue. His rapid domain comprehension was a result of studying the Golden Horned Beast and Blaze Beast bloodlines. Without this, it would have taken much longer to grasp the domains. In the original timeline, even Luo Feng, with his Golden Horned Beast body, only comprehended a domain after reaching the universe level. Facing Mingyu's reprimand, Kinmu remained silent. Under normal circumstances, Mingyu's advice would be sound, but Kinmu couldn't reveal his unique circumstances. Very well. If you insist. Mingyu sighed, though he didn't give up. If you wish to advance in pharmacology, you can join the Virtual Universe Company's pharmacology department. But I must warn you, joining isn't easy. You'll need to pass rigorous assessments. As long as Kinmu joined a Virtual Universe Company, Mingyu's mission would be accomplished. His task was to recruit geniuses, regardless of their field. Pharmacists were one such field. In the universe, besides mainstream warriors and spirit masters, there were puppeteers who controlled armies of puppets, beast tamers who fought alongside powerful creatures, and pharmacists who studied the universe's myriad substances. These were professions that allowed the weak to challenge the strong. For example, taming a powerful beast could grant immense strength. However, these paths were narrow and fraught with challenges. Many who lacked talent in comprehending laws turned to these alternative routes. Pharmacists were essentially universe researchers. They studied the universe's various substances, analyzed their properties, and conducted intricate experiments to create agents tailored to their needs. These agents could enhance bloodlines, aid in combat, or assist cultivation. In battle, a pharmacist's agent could take the form of a flower, a tree, or even a blade, its effects unpredictable and often devastating. However, creating agents was incredibly complex. Even with a formula, replicating an agent was difficult, and some agents were impossible to recreate even by their creators. In short, pharmacists were research-oriented warriors who crafted agents to manipulate the universe. For Kinmu, agents were not for combat but for bloodline research. In fact, he didn't believe in using agents for battle, as high-level warriors possessed immense vitality, making it difficult for agents to harm them. However, for studying bloodlines and enhancing genetic potential, the pharmacist profession was ideal. Could you recommend how I might join the pharmacology department? Kinmu asked respectfully. Very well. I'll recommend you. I don't understand pharmacology, but I have a friend who is a pharmacist. I'll have him test your proficiency. If you meet the standard, I'll arrange an assessment for you. However, even in the pharmacology department, there will be training, though it's more flexible. Alternatively, you could reconsider joining the Black Dragon Mountain branch directly. I can offer you the best conditions, including a top-tier bloodline agent. To better prepare for joining the pharmacology department, Kinmu had done extensive research. Unlike warriors and spirit masters, pharmacists relied more on knowledge and innate talent. High-intensity training couldn't produce a pharmacist. Thus, while joining the Virtual Universe Company as a pharmacist offered more freedom, it still came with rigorous evaluations. Thank you, Lord Mingyu. I still wish to join the pharmacology department, Kenmu said firmly. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Kenmu, Mingyu turned to Hong and Lei Shen. If you don't want strict management, you can join as external members. What I described earlier applies to internal members. Internal members enjoy many benefits but face strict management. External members have more freedom but fewer perks. For example, I am an external executive, Mingyu explained. As external members, you won't receive free agents, but you can purchase them. The first agent costs 100 million Ganwu coins, while the second costs 1 billion. The price for a bloodline evolution agent is 100 million Ganwu coins for the first purchase and 1 billion for the second, Mingyu said. These agents are rare and expensive outside the company. Additionally, the virtual universe company strictly prohibits reselling agents. If you're caught doing so, death. These are some of the rules for becoming an external member. See if you can accept them, Mingyu said, pointing to a screen that displayed the regulations. Chapter 121, Research Breakthrough. After carefully reviewing the conditions for becoming an external member of the virtual universe company, both Hong and Lei Shen decided to join. Compared to internal members, external members enjoyed far more freedom. The only restriction was that they couldn't join other superpowers of the same caliber, such as the Hyuga's dojo, which operated across multiple universe nations. However, organizations within the Ganwu universe nation were exempt from this rule. Lord Mingyu, could I also join as an external member for now? I'd like to purchase a bloodline evolution agent to study, Kenmu asked. Mingyu nodded. That's fine. You can join as an external member first. If you pass the pharmacist assessment, you can transfer to the internal department later. Such minor adjustments were within Mingyu's authority. Geniuses like Kenmu often received special treatment. 5 minutes later. Welcome to the Virtual Universe Company. You are now external members of the Black Dragon Mountain branch, temporarily under my jurisdiction. Feel free to contact me via email if needed, Mingyu said with a smile. Kenmu, please wait a couple of days. The pharmacist I contacted hasn't responded yet. As you know, pharmacists often immerse themselves in research and ignore external distractions. Once he replies, I'll arrange for your assessment. Understood, Lord Mingyu. Kenmu, Hong, and Lei Shen replied with a slight bow. Kenmu had no objections to Mingyu's arrangements. Since he had never demonstrated his pharmacological skills in the virtual universe, it was only natural for Mingyu to verify his abilities. If Kenmu's skills were subpar, it would reflect poorly on Mingyu. After leaving the killing field and returning to their residence, Lei Shen couldn't help but smile. Being an external member is great. We have freedom and can purchase bloodline evolution agents and other treasures. Indeed. Hong agreed. In critical moments, we can also leverage the virtual universe company's influence. This should provide some protection for Earth's development. If Kenmu can officially join the pharmacology department, it would be even better. Joining the virtual universe company, even as external members of the Black Dragon Mountain branch, carried significant weight. Few organizations would dare provoke them. The funds for the bloodline evolution agents will be transferred by the Galactic Trade Company, Kenmu said. Earth had recently secured several large orders, so the funds were available. Since entering the universe, Earth, with the Yunmo inheritance, had experienced rapid growth in wealth. However, the expenses were equally high. With the surge in orders, Earth had to purchase equipment, raw materials, cargo ships, and warships, among other necessities. Despite having access to advanced technology and a large number of slaves, Earth still focused its resources on nurturing a few key individuals. Moreover, with the swarm's presence, Kenmu had loyal agents on Kaiyu Longstar and the transport fleet. On Earth, the number 9 Ruins Crystal Man monitored the entire planet, and Kenmu's elite operatives were embedded in key positions across the government and military, ensuring that core power remained firmly in his hands. Now that we've joined the Virtual Universe Company's Black Dragon Mountain branch as external members, once I pass the pharmacist assessment, I can provide some protection for Earth. This will allow us to sell more valuable items, increasing our revenue and ensuring ample resources for our cultivation. With Mingyu's help, Kenmu had resolved the issue of joining the pharmacology department. Due to limited access, Earth's intelligence department had been unable to figure out how to join the Virtual Universe Company's agent production division. But for Mingyu, it was a simple matter. Li's Inkdo is handling the funds. Most of our money is in Black Dragon coins, which need to be converted to Ganwu coins. He'll transfer the funds to you. Once the order is placed, the agents should arrive at Cold Moon Star in 3 to 5 days. We can head there and wait. The exchange rate between Black Dragon coins and Ganwu coins was 1,001, though the black market rate was higher. 300 million Ganwu coins equated to at least 300 billion Black Dragon coins, a significant sum for Earth. It would take some time to gather the funds. However, once Kenmu officially joined the pharmacology department, Earth could take bolder steps. Previously restricted items, such as B-grade weapons or cloud vine saplings worth hundreds of billions, could now be sold. Kenmu was confident about joining the pharmacology department. After all, he had already independently developed a 7th-tier bloodline evolution agent. With a virtual universe company's agent, he could potentially reach the 6th tier in a short time. No matter how stringent the assessment, it wouldn't be insurmountable. In a corner of the killing hall, an elderly green-skinned man sat with a cup of water. His wrinkled forehead and cloudy eyes occasionally scanned the surroundings. He was Mangekyō, the head of the Black Dragon Mountain Island's killing field, a well-known figure. At that moment, Mingyu approached him respectfully. "Sir," Mingyu said in a low voice. "How did it go?" the elderly man asked, his cloudy eyes focusing on Mingyu. Mingyu bowed slightly. "As you predicted, none of them wanted to join as internal members. They only joined as externals. However, Kenmu surprised me. He is also a pharmacist and wants to join our pharmacology department." "A pharmacist? That's quite the twist." The elderly man's expression turned peculiar, and his previously dull eyes sparkled with wisdom. In front of this man, Mingyu, a 2-star mercenary, was utterly respectful, his deference genuine. Very well. Discovering a special-tier elite was already a pleasant surprise. Now, he's also a pharmacist. I'll arrange his assessment to see if he truly has the talent. The elderly man said with a nod, his eyes returning to their cloudy state. "Yes, sir," Mingyu replied respectfully. The Black Dragon spacecraft picked up the group and headed for Cold Moon Star. "How bad were the losses from the pirate attack on our transport fleet?" Hong asked in the control room. "The losses were significant. One cargo ship needs major repairs, and the others suffered varying degrees of damage. Several hundred personnel were killed or injured." Kenmu replied. "That bad?" Lei Shen frowned. He had heard about the pirate attack but had been too absorbed in his training to intervene. Yes, the pirates were strong. Their leader was a star-level 9 spirit master, and they had over a dozen warships. However, apart from the leader and their flagship, the rest were eliminated. "Overall, we didn't lose out," Kenmu explained. "If we suffer such heavy losses from a single attack, frequent assaults could be disastrous," Hong said, his tone grim. "Without overwhelming force to deter them, Earth's newfound wealth would attract many greedy eyes. That's why I need to join the virtual universe company," Kenmu said with a smile. While external membership might not deter all threats, official membership would. After all, this was the virtual universe company, indeed. "It's up to you now," Hong said, smiling. With the backing of a major power, Earth's path in the universe would be much smoother. Currently, Earth was only dabbling in universe trade, handling peripheral businesses. But with strong backing, its development could reach new heights. For example, Earth had already gathered the planet's top financial talents, including Luo Feng's younger brother, Luo Hua, to venture into the universe financial markets. In both Earth and the universe, strength and connections were essential for success. Cold Moon Star, the Black Dragon spacecraft, landed on the spaceport under construction. Defense platforms were being hastily erected, and B-grade laser cannons produced on Earth were being installed. Expensive detection systems were also being deployed across the planet. After the pirate attack, Earth was determined to transform Cold Moon Star into a formidable military base. 3 days later, a disc-shaped, deep gray spacecraft bearing the Virtual Universe Company's emblem docked at the port. 3 individuals in black combat suits stepped out, carrying a case. Identity confirmed. Proceeding with the handover. "Kenmu, Hong, Lei Shen, these are your bloodline evolution agents," a pale-skinned woman said coldly, opening the case to reveal 3 slender, glowing vials of colorful liquid. She snapped the case shut and handed it to Kenmu. After the handover, the 3 boarded their spacecraft and departed without a word. Kenmu, Hong, and Lei Shen each took an agent and retreated to their respective cultivation chambers. Unlike Hong and Lei Shen, who immediately injected their agents, Kenmu placed his agent into the golden horned beast's core embedded in his chest, within the Cloud Vine combat suit. Inside his inner world, a massive metal continent spanned over 70 kilometers in length, width. A colossal golden horned beast lay atop a pile of metals, surrounded by 3 smaller blaze beasts and 5-star level nests. Around the nests, countless skyfire crows and other beasts slumbered, creatures that could openly appear in the universe. Kenmu's figure appeared above the metal continent and flew into one of the nests to study the agent's composition and effects. Several days later, Kenmu lay inside the nest's first modulation chamber, slowly injecting the agent into his body. tendril-like threads connected to him, monitoring every change within. As the agent entered his body, it acted like a frenzied cancer, devouring his cells and unleashing excruciating pain. But Kenmu ignored the agony, focusing instead on the changes in his cells and genes. He had undergone similar transformations twice before, having used his own bloodline evolution agents. The nest recorded every detail of the process. I see. I understand now. Kenmu's eyes gleamed with realization. His own 7th-tier agent had reached its limit, but with the Virtual Universe Company's agent, many previously unclear aspects became clear. Haha. I've got it. Chapter 122, The Test. Cold Moon Star. Kenmu was deeply engrossed in his research. The bloodline evolution agent provided by the Virtual Universe Company was far superior to anything he had developed himself. After using it, his bloodline had evolved to the planetary level, a significant leap forward. Thanks to this experiment, Kenmu's self-developed bloodline agent had broken through the 7th-tier limit, skipping the 6th tier entirely and reaching the 5th tier. This breakthrough left his body in a state of extreme hunger, requiring him to absorb several Muya crystals to recover. I've broken through. Kenmu exclaimed. As the life-rich energy from the Muya crystals infused his body, his cells, which had undergone a fundamental transformation, began to devour the energy. In his sea of consciousness, 9 miniature stars rotated, and his strength naturally advanced to star level 9. From now on, my main body will stop cultivating. Kenmu said, his eyes shining with determination. Only star-level individuals could participate in the genius battle. In the original timeline, Luofeng had stopped cultivating his human body after reaching star level 9 while his golden horned beast body advanced to universe level. Of course, this only applied to his human body. The swarm would continue to develop, and his comprehension of the laws would not be neglected. Kenmu wasn't the only one who had broken through. Hong and Lei Shen had also made significant progress. Hong had successfully advanced to the star level and, through the insights gained during his breakthrough, had reached the 4th level of domain comprehension. His talent for law comprehension was truly terrifying. Lei Shen had also reached star level 2. Haha, this feels amazing. Lei Shen laughed heartily. In the sky, 2 figures clashed. Hong and Lei Shen, now both star level experts, were sparring. Normally, bloodline evolution agents were only effective the first time they were used. Subsequent uses had minimal effects. This was one reason Kenmu hadn't given Hong and Lei Shen his self-developed agents. As for Kenmu, his situation was different. As the swarm's ruler, he had used his innate genetic modulation abilities twice before, modifying his genes through the nest. These modifications were almost indistinguishable from natural evolution. This time, while using the bloodline evolution agent, he had the nest monitor and fine-tune the process, ensuring a perfect evolution tailored to his body. Kenmu, you're here. Lei Shen called out when he saw Kenmu emerge. Though he was eager to spar with Kenmu, the vast difference in their strength made him quickly abandon the idea. Sigh, even after breaking through, I'm no match for you. This is so frustrating. Lei Shen lamented, feeling like the eternal third wheel. Kenmu, Lei Shen and I are planning to venture into the universe. Staying on Earth isn't helping us improve much anymore. Hong said, ignoring Lei Shen's theatrics. That's a good idea. However, I won't be joining you just yet. I need to pass the Virtual Universe Company's pharmacist assessment first. Kenmu replied. I've reviewed the privileges of external members. There are some training planets you can access. I suggest you start there and further improve your strength before attempting the trainee mercenary exam. The exam takes place in Insector Lord's inner world, and most participants are at star levels 8 or 9. While you could rely on slaves to pass, I don't think that would be meaningful. Seeing that the two were eager to move forward, Kenmu offered his advice. In the original timeline, Luofeng, Hong, and Lei Shen had taken the exam when Luofeng was only a star level 3 spirit master. They had relied heavily on 2 star level 9 slaves and later a universe level Cloud Vine to pass. While they had been lucky to encounter the world within a world and gained immense wealth, the experience hadn't done much for their personal growth. Relying on slaves to pass the exam would mean entrusting their lives to others, which wasn't true self-improvement. It was better to find a suitable environment to train step by step. You're right. We plan to explore first before considering the trainee mercenary exam. Hong agreed. The training planets available to external members of the Virtual Universe Company were indeed suitable for him. As they chatted, Kenmu's auxiliary computer vibrated, signaling an incoming message. Lord Mingyu has sent a message. His pharmacist friend has scheduled a test for me. If all goes well, I can proceed to the formal assessment. Kenmu said, his eyes lighting up with excitement. You better prepare well. I'm counting on you to make it big so I can freeload off you. Lei Shen joked. Don't worry. I'll make sure to get you some good stuff. Kenmu replied with a smile. After bidding farewell to the two, Kenmu returned to his residence and logged into the virtual universe to prepare for the upcoming assessment. During his research on the primordial insect canon, Kenmu had also studied some pharmacological texts from the Yunmo inheritance. While these texts were far inferior to the swarm's knowledge in bloodline research, they offered unique insights into human pharmacology, providing valuable references. After reviewing those texts, the time for the test arrived. Kenmu was led by a staff member to a private chamber in the killing hall. Inside the chamber, besides the burly Mingyu, there was a tall, thin man with fine scales on his face. Kenmu, come in. Let me introduce you. This is my friend, Ronnie, a member of the Virtual Universe Company's Pharmacology Department. He'll be testing you today. Mingyu said, standing up. Lord Ronnie, thank you for your time. Kenmu said respectfully. Mingyu then turned to Ronnie. This is Kenmu, the special tier genius I mentioned. Please test his pharmacological abilities today. Ronnie, who had a gentle smile, nodded. No need for formalities between us. I'm curious about this special tier genius's talent in pharmacology. Kenmu, tell me, what areas of pharmacology are you skilled in? Ronnie asked. Without hesitation, Kenmu confidently replied, I specialize in bloodline evolution agents and the genetic modulation of certain creatures, such as the Skyfire Crows. Ronnie raised an eyebrow. Bloodline evolution agents? That's quite rare among pharmacists. What level can your agents achieve? And what about the Skyfire Crows? What level can you modulate them to? Pharmacology was a broad field, with many specializations. Different pharmacists excelled in different areas. In terms of bloodline agents, I can create 5th tier agents, though I'm still some distance from the 4th tier. As for the Skyfire Crows, I can modulate them to star levels 6 or 7. Kenmu answered respectfully. Indeed, after obtaining the Virtual Universe Company's bloodline evolution agent, Kenmu's research had made a significant leap, directly advancing to the 5th tier. What? You can create 5th tier bloodline evolution agents? Ronnie was shocked. He had expected Kenmu to be talented, perhaps capable of producing 7th or 8th tier agents, but 5th tier was beyond his expectations. Pharmacology, unlike combat professions, required extensive knowledge. Bloodline evolution agents were among the most challenging areas of pharmacology. No amount of resources could produce an excellent pharmacist. How old are you? What kind of talent is this? Ronnie marveled. The Virtual Universe Company's elite bloodline evolution agents, which often reached the planetary level, were the result of the company's vast resources and the expertise of its master pharmacists. For Kenmu to achieve such results on his own was extraordinary. Who is your mentor? Ronnie asked. Pharmacists were a small community, and most renowned pharmacists knew or had heard of each other. I don't have a mentor. I learned through inherited knowledge and self-study. Kenmu admitted after a moment's hesitation. What? No mentor? Ronnie's expression turned to one of disbelief, followed by excitement. Alright, let me test your foundational knowledge of bloodline evolution agents. What is the principle behind them? Kenmu answered confidently. The principle of bloodline evolution agents is essentially the optimization of one's genetic code, allowing the body to reach a more perfect state. As Kenmu elaborated, Ronnie nodded. These were basic concepts that most pharmacists knew. He then proceeded to ask more advanced questions, only to find that Kenmu could answer them all, often providing unique insights. The more they discussed, the more excited Ronnie became. Eventually, their conversation shifted from a test to a deep discussion on bloodline evolution agents. After waiting for a long time, Mingyu finally couldn't help but ask, Ronnie, how is Kenmu's talent in pharmacology? Ronnie glanced at Mingyu and said, we're in the middle of a discussion. I'll tell you later. I've already contacted my mentor. He'll be here soon. With that, he continued his conversation with Kenmu. Ronnie was amazed to find that Kenmu's ideas often provided him with new insights. When he brought up problems he had encountered in his own research, Kenmu offered solutions and even new approaches. What kind of genius was this? Ronnie, a domain lord-level pharmacist specializing in bloodline agents, could only produce 4th-tier agents. The fact that Kenmu, with no formal mentor, could achieve 5th-tier results was astounding. A pharmacist capable of producing planetary-level bloodline evolution agents would be highly respected in any organization. Initially, Ronnie had considered taking Kenmu as his disciple. But the more they talked, the more he realized that Kenmu's understanding of bloodline evolution agents surpassed his own in some areas. This was unbelievable. Abandoning the idea of taking Kenmu as a disciple, Ronnie immediately contacted his mentor. Your mentor? He is coming here? Mingyu was stunned. Ronnie was a genius in the virtual universe company's pharmacology department and a domain lord-level expert. His mentor was an Undying level powerhouse. An Undying level expert was coming personally. This was huge.